13,000. AG Almighty Head Gang, pull up and get your shit splat, gang. Pull up, hop out and scramble your shit, gang. On their computers.
Baller alert.
They on computers talking shit offline, they losing it. 10-year legacy on life support, now the Patreon hit. The mod's a bitch, I'm being goofy just to send some hits. I ain't a snitch, but third out of third, he ain't never call a hit. Mimology, Mr. Hustler, Vanilla on speed dial. My niggas wild, can't forget Theo when he the golden child. Who else on kicking swaggers and DSP on some goofy shit? KG a bitch, trips to Japan, he get finessed by a chick. He a trick, I just made a brand new socket. What we do, huh? We just trolled a brand new op, bitch. AG Almighty Head Gang, what up? Get your shit scrambled, gang. You can't get played like Rambo, Howard or the pack. Your girl a snack. She gon' get swipe right to see how you react. DSP is how you don't play. He failing games every day. Buying fast food with the tips is why he gaining weight. We troll a chiller, socks is real, man, it's been the drill. Subcount went up a few days ago, bro, you know that ain't real. The streams ain't chill, you yawn and complain about your bills. Cackle be gon' damn near every night, you need some gin for real. You diss Ninja, PewDiePie, and the Almighty. What the fuck? How you gon' feel when them Twitch cops not on your side? That ass back. Kicking the furries, sweaties do sweet just like some McFlurries. Chat put on sub, only mode the mouse don't have to worry. Do them dirty, X pull up with the shit, they get super nervous. What's the purpose? Praise be his name, Almighty at your service. Pull up, they log in, what's up? No tips, no bits, they talk tough. Let me change up the style. Hey, game we go wild. Hey, what? We hooligans, coolin' and bullin' and fuck next, we up now. Ha! Hey, game we go wild. Hey, what? We hooligans, coolin' and bullin' and fuck next, we up now. Hey, shout out to Susan and big ups to Porsche for holding it down. Hey, niggas out here trolling with a couple grand? What the fuck? To me that sound like you a fucking fan? Hey, do them dirty, X pull up with this shit, they get super nervous. What's the purpose? Praise be his name, Almighty at your service.
It's Tevin's Fall.
I'm not here to tell. I'm not here to get shoutouts. It's just me and my gang. AEG, Almighty Head Gang, what up? Baller alert. Yeah, I got my vids on me. I ain't tryna tip right now. And if I'm not being me, I got a sock right now. Just yo, you was leaving on sight. If I turn on the stream right now, on a stream. Me and Ed Gang, we ball. Y'all free gang right now. Gang. Yeah, I got my bits on me. I ain't tryna tip right now. And if I'm not being me, I got a sock right now. On a sock. Yo, you was leaving on sight. If I turn on the stream right now, Me and Ed Gang, we ball. Y'all free throwing right now. I'll talk tips. I don't know what y'all cheering about. Matter of fact, as we stream, I'm counting tips right now. If a nigga play with my channel, he can get banned right now. Team no troll, so you know I got my motherfucking mods right now. Just yo, you was all on my dick like they tryna sub right now. Said he gon' give some silver, said I couldn't go and clock out. You need to get out. They sent me tips on their own, cause you was checking on their accounts, checking all their account while you was with no subs. I was checking on my mouth, was just count the Egg Gang, bitch. You know, we got model, we got clout. I go crazy with the trolling till they learn, man, all my niggas rolling up on streams to see what they about. What? It's follower only mode, so I had to change my route. I got 17 socks on the couch right now. And 500 bits from ads right now. Bits from ads. I got whispers all on my main. How you doing? People know I'm safe, even when I'm not around. Yeah, I got my bits on me. I ain't tryna tip right now. And if I'm out there me, I got a sock right now. Yo, viewers leaving on site for turn on the stream right now. Me and A gang, we ballin'. Y'all free throwing right now.
There's a sick motherfucker on the internet called Tevin.
Hello, or should I say, whoa, buddy? Or am I right, folks? Thank you all for showing up this morning. As some of you may know, I tried to schedule this stream a bit further out in September on the 15th, but some fucking mouth-drooling idiots were talking about how that was too far away and how they couldn't wait. So here we are today. You're welcome. I hope you whiners fucking showed up. Come on. But real talk, there has been a lot happening with DSP this week, and I don't really want to dilly-dally too much because there is so much to watch, and I don't want to keep y'all here all day. But to set the stage and remind you all of the time that this first clip that we're going to be looking at takes place, because it is important, this was the pre-stream on Wednesday. That was after Tuesday, obviously. But there was no pre-stream on Tuesday, and he also didn't beg all Tuesday. So if that is confusing or seems not important, I hope it'll make sense as we go on. Again, thank you all for showing up. It time started indeed. Very big ups. I hope you guys enjoy the stream today. Let's get straight into it. There's so much to watch. There's so much to say, and there's things I have to show you.
There were two distinct differences in my content.
Sorry. Yesterday,
there were two distinct differences in my content.
You guys are talking about a bunny. Fill me in real quick. What's up with the bunny? Did some information get disclosed on Kino Casino last night? I didn't watch it. I went to bed instead. Or did he tweet something? Or what's going on with the bunny? Please let me know. Bunny information is new to me, other than he had a bunny and it's been dead. Bunnies don't live that long, so I don't know why this is even a topical thing. But supposedly he has a secret bunny. He has a secret bunny? What the fuck? Bunny died, and that's why the sad boy stream. Big if true. That might be the dumbest fucking thing I've heard, but big if true.
Okay.
Yeah, I seen Triple P absolutely eviscerated Phil on Kino Casino last night. Yeah, I had that pulled up before the stream. I only made it like 11 minutes into the 50-minute clip or whatever it was. I just didn't wake up early enough, and I wasn't staying up late for that. I didn't think it was worth my time as an individual, but here we are, and I'm left out of the loop. Very cool, very cool.
So let's address them.
Let's address
distinct difference number one.
Very important.
There was no podcast at all. So there really was no
and I do have to speed this up.
Where it was just us talking. There was interaction and talking during Call of Duty, but it was between games. There was some interaction and hangout during Kiosk, but it was a little different than just say, hey, here's the podcast.
Kiosk?
Every morning, covering topics, discussing what's going on. It was different, right? For sure. And the fact that there was no podcast, some people distinctly were saying they felt like there was something missing. That's a staple piece of my day.
Yo, and I can tell you, as somebody that watches the pre-stream almost exclusively and doesn't watch other DSP content if I can help it, when I tuned into the show late and he wasn't doing the pre-stream, he had already started a gameplay, I was actually thrown through a loop. What the fuck is happening? I was rewinding the stream, wondering why, if he ever explained why that was the case, and I never got one. I don't know if I just missed it at the beginning. I didn't go far enough back,
Hey,
but it
and why
definitely
did I
was
not do
missing
one?
something.
Okay. So that was number
The
one.
gameplay is worthless.
Okay?
It's fucking
Number
awful.
2, you may have noticed that the other
we'll
major
get there. We'll
difference
get there, 'cause
all
it is
day
important.
long was that not once ever during the course of my entire full streaming day did I ask for a contribution. Not once. I shouted out contributions. I updated the leaderboard. I mentioned if we were like halfway to the goal, but I absolutely not once did I ask for anything. Okay? That
Very
was a
cool.
distinct difference. And I think people noticed. Some people didn't, actually. Some people
I'm pretty sure that he mentioned it. Yeah, like in between the pre-stream and then going into the gameplay, I think he did absolutely mention that he hadn't begged yet today and that he wasn't going to, and that he was going to continue with the gameplay. I wanted to say that that was explicitly said. And if you ask me, on a very technical note, I think that that's a form of begging. Now, I might be playing semantics here, but I think that bringing up, support in any capacity should qualify for at least this experiment.
didn't at all. But
Yeah,
then some
his
people
social
noticed and started
experiment.
talking about it and stuff like that. Okay? So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the two distinct differences, all right? And let's talk about directly what the result was. So,
I'm gonna speed him up a
result
little
is,
bit more,
no real
or we will
hangout feeling.
actually be here all
Instead,
day,
it's just Phil playing
and it'll be
games,
my fault.
right? And that's very different, okay, than the usual feeling, then vibe that you get around here. A lot of people have said, I come by because I want to hang out with Phil. I don't necessarily care about what he's even doing today, okay? Now, if you didn't notice, yesterday, during the entire ginormous Call of Duty stream,
It was a normal sized Call of Duty stream, except for the fact that he, filled in some of the talking with gameplay. I mean, it's not like he did a marathon of Call of
Didn't hit
Duty
my
or
goal.
anything. Don't let
right?
him
In
gaslight
fact,
you into thinking
I
something
only
else.
got about halfway. It was around, and I think, again, I'm just off the top of my head, I didn't really count it or anything. It was around $80 of support. Not a bad stream. All right, and it's Call of Duty, and Call of Duty always is hit or miss. Sometimes with Call of Duty, I've done really, really well, and other Call of Duty streams have been on the slower side.
Do I
This
think
one,
he would tell us if Cat died? Yes, dude. Could you imagine the pity bucks he would be raking in if literally his spouse died? Come on, you don't let a tragedy like that go to waste. I mean, he managed to fly across the country and get pity bucks for his parents that didn't die. Could you imagine if somebody really fucking did? Come on now.
I got more than halfway, but we didn't hit the goal, right? There you go. Now, there's many things that can be surmised from this. There was no podcast. And typically, in a podcast, I get some support, and that support is tied to the podcast.
Yes.
Like, look, we already have, $14 of support, and undoubtedly there will be more that will come by the end of the show, right? And that is definitely tied to the podcast. Since I didn't do a podcast, likely there were people who said, oh, well, since he's not doing his podcast today, I'm not interested, and they didn't come by and they didn't support. Right? So I think that's 100% got to be a factor in that. Okay.
So then the entire experiment should be thrown out the window and was a waste of everybody's time. The fact that the conversation we're about to have happened after such a shitty experiment like that, where he's changed 2 factors and they're like, I don't know, changing 2 factors in this way, I think invalidates any sort of actual study that was being done here. I don't think that that's actually indicative of the money. And not to mention, he made what, $1,200 on Monday? I wouldn't be surprised if he made fucking $0 on Tuesday. How can you make over $1,000 and then still expect people to show up the next day giving you money? That's just an insane ask. For most people, I would venture to say that's more than they're making in a week. And you wanted them to show up the following day and continue to give? What an insane ask. Insane ask.
So maybe if I did do the podcast and then I had done the Call of Duty stream, maybe I would have hit my goal.
Maybe you would have, but you'll never know because you suck at science.
When I'm doing the podcast, I say things like I'll talk about the goals and say, hey, look, guys.
Yeah, exactly, Full Letter Dark. He should have ran 2 experiments. He should have run one without the begging and then one without the pre-stream and the begging. And if he really wanted to, he could have ran the normal fucking pre-stream and the begging. I don't know. Well, that's a normal day, I guess. The control setup.
We're at 58 out of 60 goals hit. And remember, the big reward that's coming up when we hit 60 goals is DSP Tries It Girl Scout cookies, where I'm going to be trying 3 different kinds of Girl Scout cookies. Now, I haven't had these since I was young.
That's probably really
It'll be
loud.
interesting to see what I remember of these cookies versus what they are today. I'll tell you the price. I'll tell you the flavors. And it's going to be an interesting one because it's not fast food, right? Usually I hype it up. And I didn't do that yesterday at all. Okay, that didn't happen.
You shouldn't have to hype it up. If the event is interesting, if people really wanted to see him eat these Girl Scout cookies, there would be no hype required. At least I think. When people really want to see a type of content, they watch that type of content. They pay for that content. It really should be that simple.
Right?
And if it's not, it's not worth
without
doing.
that hype factor, Definitely, I think there's people who like aren't going to contribute because they contribute when the hype hits. Oh, we're almost close to a goal. Oh, that goal sounds interesting. Oh, I want to be a part of
DSP
that.
profiting
right?
off of
And that
hype
didn't
beasts
happen yesterday.
then.
So there's many factors. Factor number one, there was no podcast. Some people just didn't show up because there was no podcast. And normally they would have supported during the podcast and there was none. Number two, there wasn't a lot of interaction because I was just sitting here playing Call of Duty all day. Okay. And number three,
Right.
I wasn't asking for contributions. I wasn't hyping up the goals. Instead, I just kind of let it ride to see how it would go. Okay.
So that was the most boring stream on the planet then, and it's no fucking wonder he didn't get any money. I mean, if the guy's not interacting with chat because he's playing a game, he didn't do the pre-stream where he interacts with chat and actually sometimes has something to say, and he wasn't begging, he has nothing to talk about. There had to have been almost no vocals on that entire fucking stream coming from the guy. So again, a useless experiment that proved absolutely nothing other than exactly what DSP wanted to hear, which we're moving into here.
Now,
right
this
now.
all applies
Which
basically
is that he has
to
to
the first
beg, of
stream.
course.
Let's talk about the late stream.
Yeah, he
So the
was
late
really
stream
low energy because
last
he's
night was
not
this unique indie game
interesting.
kiosk.
Not without
Now,
those
when
things.
I play indie games, it's definitely going to be hit or miss as well because it really depends on what's the game that I select. Is it something that people know? Does it catch on with the viewer? Some indie games that I've played have done a lot better than others, depending on levels of hype and things. So it's always all over the place, right? It is. So again, last night on that indie game stream, I didn't ask for anything whatsoever during the course of the stream. I didn't really bring up the goals or hype them. I think at one point I did mention,
the
hey,
duck
we're
did
like
make a
halfway
great
to the
clip.
goal,
I didn't finish that
didn't
either,
really
but I
bring
did
it
see
up.
he
Instead, it was just me
responded.
talking with you guys and
so.
playing the game. And how do we do? I think by the end of the night, I think we got to like 70 something in support. So about halfway. All right. So there you go.
There you go.
Now,
So what is that? $150 the following day after making $1,200. So in 2 days he's made $1,350. That's it. Again, an insane amount of money for any normal person. But yet here we are continuing to talk about money. Speaking of, Wesley H, thank you so much for the 5. All this experiment talk wouldn't be needed if he actually polled his audience / donators and asked them what they want so he can get that 150. I agree with your logic there, but with so many LARPers, something that is kind of exclusive to DSP, at least from what I've seen, I think that's really difficult to pull your audience in any genuine way, given the position that he's in. I don't know if that is actually the solution anymore, and he wouldn't be able to tell. So I would agree if it was anybody other than DSP.
what can be surmised?
The
What can be
LARPers have
taken away
infiltrated,
from
and there's
this?
no way to get
All
them
right,
out.
that's really what we got to ask. What is the end result of yesterday? And by the way, why did yesterday
Just pull the
even
whales?
happen?
Yeah, in your
All right.
super secret
Well, I'm gonna
Discord.
tell
That's the way.
But first,
Yeah, email the whales. You're right. You're right.
I got to see if this is a troll or not. No, it's not. It's a dollar tip. Someone says, as an addendum, the scary part is when we create a mental disorder in society, it can persist for generations. The mental disorder in some way rubs off to your children who act upon the impressions when grown up. If it's a societal wide, then it can persist and recreate itself.
All right.
I'm really interested to see
This guy's
you know,
schizo tipping,
in
I think.
the next few decades when people start to see the impact of being on the internet 24/7, being involved with this world group thing, these memes and all this shit. Like, how does it affect human society? How has it changed us? Right? Because right now I think we're all in it, but we're not. No one's really analyzing it.
Awesome.
Anyway, thanks for the dollar
Great.
tip.
Philosopher
Okay,
Phil over
so-
here. How will the internet impact society as a whole, guys? Nobody's looking at that. Nobody's running the numbers. Nobody's observing anything. It's only the greatest minds like DSP that are over there pondering. He should go and find his orb. That's how you properly ponder, of course.
There's two things, all right, going on here.
Mustache
At the
rub. Yeah,
same
you could tell he
time-
was thinking hard because he rubbed his
And
face.
Basically, they both really got to me. And my family really hard. Today's content was different. Okay? One thing is very personal, something that has happened this week that has hit myself and my family really hard. And basically, yesterday was a horrible day. All right? So, that being said,
Got
I
of
didn't
course.
even want to do a podcast. I just wasn't in the mood. Like, I felt like I needed to come to this stream and distract myself as much as I possibly could with gameplay so that I could keep my mind off of stuff. Okay? So the moment I came on the stream, I just said hello, and then we went right into Call of Duty, and I'm going to be honest, it worked. Like, it actually legitimately worked, where while I was playing Call of Duty, I didn't really give a thought to anything else that was going on in my personal life outside of Call of Duty being played at that moment. So absolutely, positively, 100%, it helped a lot. It did. I needed it. I just needed to get my mind off of stuff. Because a lot of the time,
So you guys are saying this is when a bunny died. They had a super secret rabbit and it died. And this is what we're coping and seething over? Okay. Now, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't care when your pets die. I'm not, that would be rude. But what I am going to say is that if you're genuinely this affected as about it as a 42-year-old on the internet, so much so that you cannot get on stream and talk without, I guess, crying and coping the whole time, maybe we should have taken the day off. I don't think that putting up an incredibly low energy, low TS stream was the answer. And I don't think that using that as an experiment to see whether or not you should beg was ever really a good idea. Again, just going to show you how useless this experiment was, given all of the factors that went into it. It's definitely not a man of science over here, but that shouldn't surprise anybody.
People say stuff like, then why don't you just take time off? Why don't you just walk away from streaming?
And you're right, Iwamoto. He was turbo miserable and looked like he didn't even want to be there. The second that I got back into the gameplay after rewinding the stream to see why there was no pre-stream, which, by the way, he just sat there waiting for people to show up, which makes for great content, I immediately tuned out. Because, again, he didn't say anything. He just looked shitty the whole time. It's just bad content.
Take a few days or a week. Well, number one, I couldn't take a whole week. Maybe I could take a couple days. Like I said, thankfully, thanks to you guys, I'm not in like horrible financial difficulties anymore. If I need to have an emergency and I really need to take time away for something like that, I can. Thankfully, I used to never be able to. I literally used to have to be here every day, all day. And now I don't have to anymore, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, you guys give me enough money all the time.
In reality,
now I don't have to show up to work,
been on stream
stupid.
Distracting myself yesterday.
In the goddamn?
I really feel like it would have actually been worse. Okay, just being honest, so it worked, and thank you to anyone who was here yesterday and enjoyed the gameplay in the stream and everyone was having a good time. I really do appreciate you because it was a bad time for me. All right. And so that's why a lot of people could tell. They were like, his demeanor's different. This is weird. You're absolutely right. 100%. You guessed correct. Definitely stuff was going on. Okay.
You didn't have to guess. He told you 100,000 times during the week that everything was going awry and he was miserable. I don't know what this is. And his shitty attitude and the way that he is in a very roundabout way using this as an excuse to continue to beg and as an excuse to get shitty with his audience, which we'll see, it kind of takes any sort of genuineness out of this and makes this all the more detestable, right? If your pet really did die, if you really are this sad, then do something real about it as a normal adult would, and don't just utilize it as, again, a tragedy to make money off of. It comes off way more disgusting this way.
So there you go.
So there you go.
Now there's another part to this as well. All right, there's two halves to this thing that went down yesterday. And the other half is that it was an experiment to some extent. And it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. And as it happened,
I got to check out the Truth Seekers or Kino streams. I did watch the Truth Seekers one. I didn't see the Kino from yesterday, so I'm most of the way caught up. I just got to do that. Demi Fiend with a 5 saying, I want to say big ups for the content. Been having a fun time listening to this while doing some quantitative reasoning homework. You should talk to DSP about quantitative reasoning. Continue the razzing. Well, thank you so much, Demi Fiend. Really appreciate it, brother.
And I was like, well, this is fascinating because now what we can do is actually take this data to try to see how it affected things. And,
take this data
as a positive for
crunch these numbers,
like
DSP.
So let's talk about yesterday. So first off,
he was plugging it into the Excel spreadsheet, of course.
Right? With no podcast and all gameplay, immediately you could tell some people were turned off, didn't tune in or saw there was no podcast and left. All right. If anything, this is direct, actual evidence that people have adopted me as a podcaster, as someone who does content other than just gaming, that there are distinct groups of people who come here just to hang out with me rather than it being me play a game. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a good thing. Why? Because I'm getting older. Okay?
Okay.
In just a few weeks, I'm going to be 43 years old.
I'm getting older. Therefore, I have to do a podcast, idiots.
And I'm at the point in my life, they call it you're over the hill. I think we all got to accept this. I am more than halfway through my...
Is he over the hill at 42? I know he's like, look, as a young person, I think anybody over the ages of 30 is old as shit, right? That's just the way that it's going to work until I hit 30, and then I'm going to move the goalpost, obviously. But is 42 over the hill, legitimately? I don't know. Old people in chat, let me know.
At this point. Okay? I'm not going to get any faster, any stronger, any more viable. All right? This is not going to happen. At this point in my life, I can maintain, and then there's going to be a decline. This is just the reality of human existence.
Acting like he's playing sports. Right.
All right?
DSP is like what, almost the same age as fucking LeBron James. Is LeBron James over the hill yet? Hang on, how old isn't he 40 now? He was born in 1984. What does that make him? I'm not doing the math. Yeah, he's literally 40. LeBron James is about to be over the hill. Well, in his field, he probably is, but gaming?
Many people can't face it. I am. I'm trying to do this gracefully, age gracefully, and understand my limitations and the fact that I'm not 20 years old anymore. Okay? I can't just sit here playing games all day, every day, and expect that, number one, I'm going to play them at any kind of level that's going to be entertaining. That, number two, my stamina is going to keep up with all of that.
Stamina keep up with gaming? I'm sorry? What the fuck does that mean? Brother, you're sitting down for hours at a time only moving your fingers. You don't even talk when you play video games. What do you mean stamina?
And at number three, I'm going to be able to continue to make a living working like that. Okay? The reality is thus, I need to change and make new kinds of content. I need to change and do different things and not just be Phil the gamer. Okay? I need to have different aspects.
This whole fucking conversation was pointless anyway. This was just to, again, prove exactly what he wanted to hear, is that people want to hear him talk. And people have been telling him that for ages. I can't tell you how many times I've made a video where I've been on stream and I tell you guys, the gaming is fucking terrible. Nobody cares about it. Only true diehard dents like fucking Jade care about the gameplay. Real legitimate DSP viewers, which is essentially just detractors and LARPers, show up for the pre-stream and any segment where DSP is essentially left alone to his own devices, because him rambling, him ranting, and getting upset and throwing himself into a tizzy, that's what people show up for. That's why when there's no pre-stream, people don't fucking show up. Because if he's not gonna get himself all worked up and talk about detractors or talk about somebody online or give his shitty takes on something, if he's gonna sit there and be a bump on a log playing games, of course nobody's gonna show up. But he knew that. He's been known that. How long has he been doing the fucking pre-stream now and been saying essentially that? It's not that complicated. I don't know why we needed to do this at all. It was a huge waste of time for his own ego, I guess, which he desperately needed after his rabbit killed itself.
Whether it's as a podcaster, as a commentator, making different kinds of content. This is what has to persist as I get older.
Jade can't leave. Well, he is bound to that chair. He can't spin it around.
Out?
He's just suffering.
No. I feel like I will want to be a gamer, all right, for a long time.
Jade is the definition of ride or die. This is true.
I
this is true.
love video games and gaming in general. It's been a part of my life. It's part of culture. It's everything that I love to share with the internet. But you get to a point where you got to be realistic and understand that's just not what I can do all the time. It ain't going to work. Okay? It's not.
It's not going to work, guys. I can't just game. It's
there
too
you have
hard.
It.
It's
the
too
podcast
taxing.
Is the way that
Not
I get
money.
daily to do stuff that's not just sitting here playing video games all day. And that's a good thing. I love this podcast. I'm so glad that we experimented with the pre-stream years and years ago, realized there was an audience for it, turned it into an official podcast, and now we have this content every day. And I'm incredibly appreciative to all of you who come by and hang out with me, talk these topics, hash this stuff out. This podcast has actually helped me improve my content so much in the last couple of years. I am so grateful. And for those of you who come by every day to hang out and support the podcast,
not a podcast,
as opposed
folks.
to the gaming, I really am thankful, because this is where my future lies. This kind of content, not just play games, play games, play games. Now, I want to keep playing games. Again,
This is where the future is, you guys. The thing that we've been doing for years at this point happens to also be the future, which will be a constant in this stream. Because as believe it or not, the three paths that we're going to be given, we also managed to continue down the same path we've been on. It is the future. So just not a lot of changing is going to be happening here. Jordan Fadeaway with the 2 saying his wheelchair is his prison and DSP is the warden. Talking about Jade, of course. It's true, Jordan Fadeaway. Even if he wanted to get away, sometimes I'm not convinced he could if he wanted to. And then Conqueror of Iberia with the 11 months saying big ups for the 11 months last month as a Green Hatter. Indeed, leveling up next month. And I think I missed one as well, which is my bad. Skycrow with the 13 months. Thank you so much, Skycrow. A real one since pretty much day one. Almost as long as Thack. Big ups, Thack.
I don't want to get the wrong idea.
And
so this
Skycrow,
means Phil's just going to stop playing games. He's done. No, I want to keep playing games. Look at what I've been doing recently with things like fighting games and stuff. It's been great. But we do have to have variety of content, and the podcast has become a critical part of that content. And the day I didn't do the podcast, we saw a decline in viewership. People left. They didn't support. It's cause and effect. Okay?
He also props himself up as Mr. Reliable, Mr. Professional, always here, always doing the same thing, yada, yada, yada. When you advertise yourself as that and then you change the schedule and then you don't do what you say that you were usually going to do, of course, people are going to be turned off and they're going to go somewhere else. If you're on bullshit today, so are they. And they're just going to go elsewhere until tomorrow. It's pretty self-explanatory. Again, this experiment was fucking stupid and a waste of time. I can't say it enough.
there's another factor here that I need to bring up. Okay, and this is going to be a big one. So hold on to your butts. But I need to do a quick shout out, okay?
Quick shout out. Got to. Right in the middle of what we're talking about, obviously. No segue either. No way to tie it in. We just move. We just stop dead and say nothing.
Someone tipped $1.50 and says, I feel like you did it because August the Duck's video on you went viral. It didn't go viral. It's doing exactly the same as every other documentary about me.
Was it even a documentary?
The same kind of content, the same kind of stuff. It didn't
even
go
long
viral.
enough?
Would have been if it had like 10, 20 million views. It's not viral. You don't know what the word viral means. Okay, it's basically the same drama content. Okay,
You fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. You don't even know what viral means. What do you know about the internet? You're not a professional like the guy, dude. Come on. Let's see how many views. That video now has 367,000 views. It was posted 7 days ago. Yeah, it was an 11-minute and 22-second documentary, according to DSP. You know, given all of DSP's extensive lore and all of the nuance that you actually kind of have to know in order to really nail down DSP in any concrete way, I don't think that 11 minutes and 22 seconds is going to be enough. And the fact that DSP would even give it the time of day to talk about it, even if somebody else did mention it, is kind of silly, if you ask me. But 367,000 views is still more than DSP. He might want to stop throwing rocks from his glass house. Now, Penitent Sin with the 12 months saying, I like my podcast with minutes of dead air, punctuated by tactical snorts, dude. 100%. And the reason that this will never be a podcast and will always be a pre-stream is it's him rambling to himself and constantly being derailed with minutes upon minutes of dead air collectively. One of the worst audio experiences of all time. If you genuinely listen to this with no video, you will think that your video is buffering about every 30 seconds because he either talks too slow or he says nothing at all, which is crazy. So I agree.
Now,
thank you for the 12
the other
months, of
factor
course,
involved in
Penitent
all
Sin.
of this, all right, is very simple, okay? I wanted to do a test to see what would happen if I had an entire day where I did not ask for contributions, where I did not mention goals and hype them up, where instead I just let the gameplay content
This shouldn't
speak
be
for
a
itself.
talking point, by
Now,
the way.
it's a little difficult to judge because perhaps if I had done the podcast, it would have been different. Maybe there would have been people who showed up to the podcast and supported it. I don't know. This is all hypothetical. You never know, right? But the
You
results
could have
are the
conducted the
results.
experiment better,
I
but
didn't
okay, you'll
mention
never know. There's
contributions. I
nothing
didn't
you
ask for
could
contributions.
do.
All I did was shout them out as they came in, mentioned where we were with our running tally, okay? And all day long, I did not hit a goal. In fact, I only got about halfway to my goals on both streams. Okay? So
But
I'm just going to make
$1,200
it
the day
known
before.
for those out there that say, hey, Phil, if you just sat around and played games and made it all about the games, and that was your focus, you would have been fine. The problem is that you don't just focus on the games. You have these other segments, you have this other content, you talk about it. Just go games like you used to. Okay? Well, I'm just going to be honest with all of you. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't. All right? It's incredibly hard in this day and age to make a living just focusing on video games. This is a bad take. All right? I tried for a very long time to stick to my guns, to be who I was, just gaming. It doesn't work anymore.
No, but he hasn't done that in ages. There's pretty much since he's moved to Washington, he hasn't been focusing on gaming the same way that he used to. It's always been about the detractors since then, right? It's always about this. It's about begging. It's not just about gaming, and that's why again this experiment was so fucking stupid. Of course, you're not gonna get people to show up and give you money for the games like they would for the pre-stream plus video games because that's not the audience that you have now. You can't just throw out a piece of content or half of your fucking content that you're putting out and then expect the exact same audience to show up and support the exact same way because a portion of your audience isn't that anymore. They don't give a fuck about the games. But that doesn't mean that playing video games doesn't work. It just doesn't work for you, and that's your own fault. And if you don't want to work at it, that's fine. But you don't get on stream the next day and say that it's fucking impossible. People do it all day long, every fucking day. And there's countless pieces of proof to that.
Right? Seriously. It needs to be a situation.
Yeah, sandwich shop selling steak,
where
essentially.
Basically, there's got to be variety. There's got to be a mix. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be an understanding that it's not just about me sitting here playing games all day. It doesn't work anymore. The era of long-form playthroughs and making a living just doing them ended a decade ago. arguably, because people had to start changing. There had to be sponsorships, partnerships, getting the games early, getting exclusive access, click this referral code, do that. That's how those kind of people are making a living today. It's very rare, and I'm not saying there's no situations, but it's very rare where you would find a situation where people are going to be able to just play the games,
What in the goddamn?
put out playthroughs,
Right.
and make a full living.
Okay.
All right? Just being honest. I don't
Guys, please inform me whether or not the Rad Brad does or does not do all of these sponsorships and nonsense. Because from looking at his channel, getting over 100,000 views per video and uploading upwards of fucking 5 or 6, 7 videos a week, some of which getting 900,000 views. I don't know that he needs to take sponsorships. And if there was ever an instance of a like straight gamer, straight meaning only doing gameplay, making money and making a living to do it, I think Rad Brad is the answer. Right? So there's the shining example. If anybody is more informed on the milquetoast content creator, the Rad Brad, please let me know. Wesley H with the 5. Imagine working on the same job for 16 years and being unable to figure out how to make your work easier / get paid more. He'd be fired any other place. And this is why I constantly say the DSP could never work in the real world. It just wouldn't work. He does not have the mental capacity for it. So 100% Wesley H, thank you so much for the 5. It would be insane.
see that moving forward, unless you are someone who plays that game, meaning you do the promotion, you do the sponsorship, you take the payback, the payback,
Gotta
you
take the
bag and run with
payback.
it, right?
There's
Those are the
also
people who are making a
the
living
Northern
doing it.
Lion has been showing up in my Twitter feed recently. Does he only do straight gameplay and get paid for it that way? Is he also another shining example? I don't know. I don't watch the Northern Lion
like that. Okay. So, in that regard, excuse me. In that regard,
The also one saying
I
yes,
think that
that
was
is the Northern
definitive
Lion. All right, there you go.
evidence
2
that
examples.
just doing the games doesn't work anymore. Okay, just being honest. I got a couple more shout outs to do, and then we're gonna continue on with this train of thought.
Oh my god. I hope these shout outs are worth the fuck. I forgot. I hope they're not something really
Beaver
lame
Bother
and
with a $1.50
unrelated.
tip says, "Hope you have a good stream." Thank you, Beaver Bother.
All right, thanks, Beaver Bother. Keep it short. All I can ask for.
And then
Dr. Detractor saying that
There
the
was a
Northern Lion
$5
doesn't
tip.
take donations, have a donation box.
No, we have not covered gaming
and he has super chats disabled and only does gameplay for a living. Well, what a
someone says,
fucking
"Have you covered gaming
baller,
news
dude.
today yet?" No, I have not.
Living every 13-year-old's dream if you were born the
But we
same
will
time
get
as
to it.
me.
There's one Ubisoft
Which I
story.
won't
Then again, maybe we
disclose.
won't get to it today, and we'll cover it tomorrow because it looks like we're going long on this segment. Okay, I do feel like this is way more important. The Ubisoft story can be covered on any day. Okay.
I don't think that he's covered the Ubisoft story to this day. By the way, something that I find fucking hilarious is this guy tried to cover the Assassin's Creed Shadows news story for 3 days in a fucking row and couldn't manage to talk about it not one time. If you ever needed to see a guy who couldn't manage his own time, it's fucking DSP, dude. It takes 5 minutes to talk about what's going on with AC Shadows and he couldn't find the time.
So Sin did a $10
Holy.
super chat and says, "Being honest, when you begin your stream answering detractors and drama and engaging with negativity, I hate it and leave. I was hoping you woke up. Sorry, this is my last Dono King." We didn't do that today. I have not addressed a single detractor
He typically does.
at all. We're not addressing drama. We're talking about what happened, why my content was different yesterday. So if it's your last Dono, I can't stop you. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I think you need to cool the hell down, cool your jet somewhere else, because
cool the
obviously you
hell
don't know what
down,
we're talking about
idiot.
on my stream. Okay, but thanks for the super chat. If it is your last super chat, it's much appreciated. And thanks for ever contributing. Sorry you feel that way. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Okay.
Indeed, indeed. XJS with the 2 months saying, woke up to the smell of burnt bacon and rabbit. LOL, what the fuck? Real. I feel you, XJS. Me too. Thank you for the 2 months.
Continuing on.
Continuing on. We've been continuing on,
So number one,
on the whole time.
I can't
huh?
just play games anymore and expect some kind of success. I can't. I can't just play the games. It's not enough. All right? There's got to be change moving forward. So that's number one. Okay? Number two.
Right.
The other factor here.
The other
okay?
factor.
I literally did not ask for support yesterday at all.
The way it
And as
should
you know, it's
be.
become part of my routine. It's part of my shtick. We hype up the goals. We hype up getting excited over who's going to be the next super chatter, who's going to be the first tipper, who's going to do a sub over on Kick. And it works. It does. It legit works. People get excited when you hype stuff up in a positive manner. And as long as people understand that you're hyping things up in this positive manner and that it's to hit goals, to get rewards, to get excited, then I don't see there's anything wrong with that. All right? Where I do think that there's stuff wrong with it
But so many people don't view it as positive regardless of how he says it. Either because his demeanor is inauthentic, or just because they don't like the words that he's using, or they know his shtick and they know that this has, progressed from raw begging because he literally couldn't pay his bills or whatever to, obfuscated begging in the form of these goals. Like, it's the same shit. You've already rubbed all of these people being detractors and whatnot the wrong way, right? So to say that you don't see anything wrong with it simply because you're doing it in a positive way now is nonsense. It's actually just a smokescreen. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Suck on D's nuts for the 5. Thank you so much. Fun fact, once Phil canceled Smart Guys, Phil will be back to where he was in 2023. The regression is real. Absolutely. He even went back to saying that he's a one man on an island bullshit, dude. You remember when he said he didn't want to do that after he explicitly said that he did? I remember. It's almost like if you follow these arcs, they're all bullshit, nonsense, and cyclical or something, huh? Thank you so much for the 5.
Is, for example, if I get back to my old bad ways of saying things such as, oh, I'm desperate. Oh my God, I can't pay my bills. I can't afford my groceries. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff was extreme.
Yeah, it was.
Okay?
I agree.
To the point where I'm embarrassed.
You should
I know
be.
I did it for years.
Yes, you
I'm
did.
sorry I did. It was because I was desperate. I was really in a bad way.
That's not a fucking excuse. It'll never be a fucking excuse. To the day that DSP dies, begging was never acceptable. If you were literally going to lose your fucking your house and you weren't going to have anything to your name, you should have got a fucking job and quit being a bum. It really was that simple the whole time. If you couldn't make streaming work without begging, get a job. Just get a job, DSP. There's a reason they held all those signs at the WWE events that you were watching, okay? It's because that's what you needed.
There was a few years there where I had no money, no credit. Everything was falling apart because of the bankruptcy, and everything was destroyed.
Everything was destroyed.
Now I'm in a better place. So I'm not doing that shit. And, I would hope I never, ever do it again. So, I'm hoping to improve for the better over time, and I hope that I am improving for the better over time.
You're not.
Instead of saying, hey, I'm desperate, I say, hey, let's get hype. Right? Let's get this moving. Let's get momentum. Let's hit the goal. Let's do a big reward, an exciting thing. I mean, if I hadn't hyped up all of our goals over the last couple of weeks, we wouldn't have had a Ninja Turtles pizza party. We wouldn't have done the 5 Nights at Freddy's Torture-thon like we just did on Monday. That probably would have been much later in coming, right?
That sucked, by the way. That absolutely sucked. And this is just confirmation, by the way, to exactly what I was saying earlier, which is that he just managed to smokescreen his begging from, I can't pay my bills, I need to buy groceries, to let's hit the goal. It's the same beg. The context around it has completely changed, but the actual definition of what he's asking for and what he's doing here is the same.
I mean, hell, we're almost to the next reward right now. I don't think that would have happened either. We're getting accelerated.
If I hit you in the back of the head and I said negative things to you before, it's the same thing as if I said, positive things to you before and still hit you in the back of the head, if that makes any sort of sense for a comparison. XJS with the 10, Ron, thank you so much. 42-year-old functional adult, y'all. Absolutely. I don't, functional being in quotes, I think, but real.
Rewards and special things. The Lego night, that was something special a couple of weeks ago that we did specifically because we're hitting goals. And that was something you guys told me you wanted. You said, don't do a DSP tries it, do a Lego night instead. So we did. And now there's people who are legitimately really enjoying that content, correct?
Who are those people?
So the way I see it,
I haven't
as
seen
long
them.
as it's being done in a way, okay, where basically I am not being irresponsible, then it's okay. But if I am getting to the point where it is irresponsible and I'm begging hard because I'm saying, oh, I desperately need it and all of that, that's messed up. Okay,
Yeah,
it is.
I agree.
So,
but where's the line? Is DSP the one who's drawing this subjective line in the sand so that he can move it all of the time? Because if that's the case, again, this conversation is fucking pointless and stupid. And just another shining example of DSP wasting everybody's time, which it will be anyway, but like just doubling down on wasting your time, I think.
that's just another take.
Because
from
anybody
yesterday.
in his chat that says that shit, that says, oh, DSP, you're begging too hard. Oh, I don't like that you're pushing so hard for these goals. They're either just going to be banned from the chat or they're going to get a stern talking to and publicly humiliated until they're silent again. That's how this always fucking goes.
With 0 asks. 0. Not once did I say, hey, contribute. Hey, let's hit the goal. Hey, let's do this. Not once. Did I get support? I did. I did get support. Did I hit any of my goals? No, I did not. Not at all. Okay, so there's your evidence.
There's your evidence.
I'll still do all right if I'm never asking for support. But likely what'll happen is you'll have incredibly slow days.
Okay.
And that will hurt me, to be frank. Okay, you know, you don't want to have a series of incredibly slow days. It would be much harder to hit goals, to do celebratory rewards, to get hype for marathons. Like, that all goes hand in hand. Okay, it does.
If I don't beg, my
So,
streams don't
I'm
progress,
just going off the
stupid.
evidence as presented to me. All right? Something completely different was tried, and it had to be done organically, meaning I didn't announce ahead of time that I was doing an experiment. Okay, really, it had to be done with the right timing, and it was. It was a day when things were horrible for me. I just needed to take my mind off of everything. I wanted to immerse myself in the games. I didn't want to sit here doing an interactive stream where I felt like shit. I didn't want to be shilling all day. I just wanted to sit here and be focused to get through the day, and it worked.
So he, again, openly fucking acknowledging that there was no interaction on the stream, something that he advertises himself as a streamer and as an entertainer. If you're openly admitting that there was not the fucking core feature of your streams in your streams, how could you ever expect these people to give you the same amount of money? That's such a fucking asinine way to think. I cannot believe this guy wakes up every day like this. It just seems so elementary and common sense, and yet this guy gets on stream and acts like he's the fucking highest IQ individual out there. It's crazy. Thank you, Wesley H, for the 10, saying an addict can't be the person that defines when they've gone too far. He'll justify in some stupid way that it's okay for him to beg, lie, and scam until he's dead or his channel gets nuked. Absolutely. And that's exactly what the point I was trying to make, and you put it way better, obviously, because it's in text, Wesley H cheating. But absolutely. Absolutely, that's the way it'll go.
Okay? So all those factors combined.
Yes, Happy Lula, he did do this after 1K on the stream before. $1,200 on the FNAF
and here it is,
stream
because I'm
on
going to present
Monday.
it to you now. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Got to take a sip first. Thank you. Fuck off. I'm busy for the 2, saying his life is so bad. I feel self-deletion is close. I don't know, man. If DSP's is proven anything, it's that he's willing to tough through his shitty life way more than anybody else would be willing to. I think that anybody given DSP's situation would have jumped ages ago, but DSP is the only person who manages to stick it out. That's the one thing you can actually give DSP credit for, is that he didn't jump when everybody else probably would have.
Moving forward,
jump in the bathtub,
Darkside
of course,
Phil,
for
have
a nice
three ways
shower.
that I can continue. And I think all 3 ways I can be successful. Okay? I feel like if I don't take one of these 3 paths, I see 3 roads before me. One goes left, one goes right, and one goes right up the middle. Okay? And I see all 3 roads, and I don't know what the right course of action is. And to be quite frank with you, I don't actually believe there is a right choice. But allow me to present to you the 3 paths based on my observations recently. Okay?
So here are the 3 paths forward, and this is when I knew I wanted to watch this pre-stream. I couldn't have foreseen everything that happened after, including the following day. But this is when I was like, guys, I'm going to stream on Saturday, you know?
Path number 1 would be a path.
These are the 3 wolves that are
creators
inside you. They all
changed
smoke crack,
to,
by the way.
Course corrected to, all right, over the years. What do I mean by that? Something smells in here. Look, something smells. What's that? Anyone smell something? Oh, did someone cut the cheese? Oh, a fart that smells just did a super chat. That's what it is. Well, I'll shout that out in a minute. I'll shout that out in a minute.
Are you guys hacking right now? Are you living it up? And
course number 1
Comedy Genius
is a
over here?
simple course, but it's a course that would mean a lot of changes for me. All right? Sell out.
Okay.
Just give up on the fact that I've been this stubborn asshole for the last 10 to 15 years of my life and career, and say, I give up on trying to be different. I give up on trying to do things in a different way. I should just do what's best for myself and my family.
Yeah.
And say, fuck all this. Stop standing on my own laurels, my own values, my own loyalty, my honesty. What is
my own loyalty? Loyalty to who, motherfucker? You done did everybody that's ever interacted with you fucking dirty. Where is their loyalty? You don't take care of your fucking wife. You let her get obese as shit and give her DoorDash every fucking day, right? Who are we being loyal to? I'm so confused.
does it all really mean anyway? Right? At the end of the day, does any of it actually matter? Or does what matters is that
Iwamoto, him phrasing it this way, you know, when he's like, oh, and do what's best for my family, does kind of indicate or imply that he's been saying fuck my family the whole time, I guess, which is kind of a crazy thing to insinuate, but sure.
I have the ability to provide for my family, okay? So when I say this, what do I mean? I mean, immediately I start reaching out to every major company that makes games, all those PR managers in between, indie game companies, game peripheral companies, every single fucking
loyal
company.
to the beg gods.
And I say, hey, Let's make a deal. Send me your game. Send me your product. Send me this, and I will shill it. Right? I will shill everything possible. I'll use your referral code. I will play your game early, and I will not break the street date, and I won't say a negative word about your game. I'll kiss its butt. I'll do exclusive stream previews for my audience so they'll see games ahead of time, and I'll get everything early, and I'll do advanced reviews and sneak peeks, and you can fly me out to events where you can schmooze me in person and fluff me up so that I can get hype for your game and say your game is the best game ever. Everyone should be excited for it. Everyone should buy it. And you, in turn, will give me money, or you will give me exclusive access to that, so that then I will benefit from it. And then it'll be you pat me on the back, I pat you on the back, unspoken rule that we will keep this in the loop, and we'll all just keep helping each other in a circle, and that's how we all make bank, and that's how we all get by. Ladies and gentlemen, any content creator that you see.
Okay. I'm really glad that he includes all of the hand gestures, or I'd have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Obviously, I'm a visual style learner, of course. But this is never going to work for DSP. This path forward was an automatic no from the world, because nobody's gonna deal with DSP. There's not a company on this fucking planet that has any sort of legitimacy to it that is going to want to touch DSP with a 10-foot pole. If the dossier of hate was enough to get him kicked out of payment processors, I don't think that any gaming company is going to want to work with DSP. His numbers are too small. He's too fucking stupid. You can't trust him to not shit on your product as soon as the contract's over or whatever. It's just not worth your time, and it's not worth your investment. So this is a nothing burger in and of itself. And this also kind of just goes to show you that for DSP, everything, again, despite what he says, is black and white. It's all or nothing. It's immediately jump to an extreme. It's not path forward as I can start taking some of these deals. I can start reaching out to these companies, and maybe I can find one here or there that can kind of supplement some of these streams, and we can, we can do some of these streams intermittently to kind of fill in where the tips aren't coming in or whatever. No, it's immediately I'm going to reach out to every company. They're all going to reach back out to me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go full bore shill. There's no in between for this guy. And it just goes to show you how disingenuous he really is when it comes to everything. Everything has to be fucking shown off in one extreme or another. That's just the way that he works. And it's purely to support his narrative every time. Fuck off, I'm busy with another 2. Thank you so much. Won't ever get to he thinks every email is a scam. It's true. I didn't even think of that. You're right. He does think that every email is a scam. So you're right that this would immediately go out the fucking window as well, because he can't trust anybody. He's got trust issues like a motherfucker. I didn't even take that into consideration. You're right. You're right. Just another reason it can't happen.
That is a gamer or influencer who abides by everything that I just mentioned has sold out. They don't make content because they're passionate about it. They don't make content because they care about what they're putting out. They make content because they want to make money, to make a living, to support their family, to make bank, to get rich, and to essentially take the bag. That's it. Now, is there anything wrong with that? That's up to you to decide.
Okay.
That's your own choice. Many people don't see any issue with it. And they go watch these big creators who get thousands and thousands of viewers on their streams, who get all the access, who get all the extra stuff. I could have done that and done that over a decade ago. I was in that group.
But why is it he now saying, like, right now, this instant, he's saying that's up to you whether or not you agree with that. But how many fucking times throughout the years has he told you that anybody watching that content's a fucking idiot and they're supporting bad content that's actively ruining the YouTube landscape and ruining the content creation landscape as a whole, yada, yada, yada. But now that it's on the table, quote unquote, because he doesn't realize it'll never happen, now it's up to you, now it's just a path that he didn't take before, but that he could have. And it would have been fine, you guys. We're really downplaying this now, huh? Thank you, Joseph Moy, for the 5, saying, no one would give him a deal. Not only is he regarded and widely hated, but he gets like 200-ish views daily. He is a genuine pathetic drop in the puddle. Absolutely. You could go and reach out to any other content creator, and they'll not only shill your product better, but they'll give you a better image because of it, as opposed to the guy. So thank you so much for the 5. Right on the nail with that one.
I chose actively to not do it, but I could. It would mean a complete shift of focus. It would mean a complete and utter change from the content that I have put out for the last 16 plus years. There would be no honesty. It would be all fluff. Now, the streams would be way more positive.
You see what I'm saying? There could be no honesty if DSP did this, right? There's no honesty with these other content creators. It's all or fucking nothing. They can't express one genuine thought because they make money off of somebody else,
You would never hear me talking about detractors ever again.
What?
I actually mean
goddamn.
like it would mean I have to never be honest again about any of that stuff. I have to pretend like it's all white noise and doesn't exist and doesn't get to me. It would just be me talking about games, game news, and all these promotions. Here's a referral code. Please click it. Please buy this merch. Please buy this game. Here's, it would be very different from who and what I am today and always have been. It would be a complete change of take.
Mm-hmm.
All right? That's path number one.
Except
going to the left.
Except for all of those sponsorships that DSP has taken throughout the years, guys. Forget about the beanbag, forget about Loot Crate, forget about Hell or whatever the fuck he was trying to play. Just forget about all of that. It would be a complete departure from anything he's ever done before, obviously.
Hey, good morning,
Kyle. And thank you so much, Battleborn NDN, for the 5, saying it's annoying as fuck that he thinks he has integrity and that he's on some moral high ground. I agree. One of the worst things about DSP is that he speaks from his high horse, and the only reason he's got a high horse to begin with is because he's made her so fucking fat. He has no morals to stand on. He's a fucking clown. Thank you so much for the 5, of course. And Adam Corona with the 4.99 saying, video game donkey dunks on AAA games all the time, yet look at how successful he is. You don't have to shill on YouTube to make a living. You never had to. Entertaining people can make a living with entertaining content. The fact that DSP can't just says something more about his content.
I feel.
Thank you so much for the 5, of course.
Now,
Adam Corona.
There is another path going to the right. And that path, ladies and gentlemen,
this is the second path now
of drama. The path of hate. The return of the old school classic, no holds barred, no punches pulled, say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want, because I'm the big dog in the yard and no one's gonna fuck with me. The return of the king of hate, Darkside Phil. I shit on everything,
so
I make fun of everything, I razz everything, and I cause drama. I talk shit, and everyone hates me, and I hate them back. So I'm constantly arguing with people. We've got arguments, we've got fights, I'm going on podcasts, and I'm fucking tearing people a new asshole, but then they're tearing me a new asshole. And we got people at each other's throats, and I'm appearing on Lolcow Live and Kino Casino, and I'm screaming at the host, and they're screaming back at me, and we're going crazy. And there's just drama left, right, up, and down. Darkside Phil always causing problems for everyone. He just won't keep his fucking mouth shut because he bothers everyone, and he talks shit about everyone. Why can't he just shut the fuck up? But it's very entertaining when he opens his mouth, and you always want to hear the next thing he's going to say because you don't know how crazy it's going to be, and you don't know who he's not afraid to piss off next.
Absolutely delusional fucking take. If the guy ever thinks that he was that, it's because he lives in his own pignosis. It never was the case. People have been laughing and clowning on him for over a decade at this point. He's been the laughing stock of the entire fucking YouTube gaming community for ages. This guy's ego is fucking huge. Absolutely massive, and he has no idea what he's talking about. And also, this is what he does now, right? This is what he does on a regular basis. To pretend like this is any sort of deviation from the normal course is actually kind of crazy. I don't know. He doesn't do it all day, every day. Don't get me wrong. He's not Kino Casino, but this is already a part of his content. This is part of the variety. We felt RTU whenever we're feeling bad, I guess, which is a weird thing to do, but whatever. Copa, you got to. We talk about detractors all the fucking time, or at least we were. You guys remember how many fucking duty streams we did? How much did we talk about Super Crazy, right? This is actually shit that we already do. So how is this any departure? I don't know. I don't know. But he's pushing it as if it is. It's like he just needed a second option or something.
That's the right-hand choice, okay? Complete polar opposite of the left-hand choice. Because I'm not playing the game. I'm ignoring, I also play video games, sure, but this would be leaning completely and utterly into the drama.
Oh, Sugar Baby made a stream. Big ups, brother.
I'm coming at all these motherfuckers who've come after me for the last 10 to 15 years. I'm going to destroy every single fucking one of them. And then when I'm done with them, because it won't take long to go through these fucking schlubs who shat on me for so long. When I'm done with every one of those fucking losers, and they're just a pile of broken fucking bodies at my feet, then I'm going after everyone else. No.
So DSP couldn't even talk to Steve Cambion, a guy who was, before doing the interview and doing the research for it, was completely unaware of who DSP was, right? He couldn't even fucking talk to him and explain himself coherently then. What is he got to do against detractors who have been watching him for over 10 years and documenting all of the things that he said and all of the little mini arcs that he's taken, and they go on Pig Go and they can find all of these clips and they could pull up ALT's timeline? What is he gonna do then? Is he gonna shit all over them and break their bodies on the fucking concrete or whatever? I highly doubt that. The guy can't hold his own in a normal conversation with people who don't even know who he is, right? Again, it's just a delusional take that he thinks that he could even stand in the same room with some of these people and actually hold his own. Completely asinine. His own logic cannot be followed from A to B by anybody, let alone in an actual conversation in regards to drama. But whatever, go off, King. You're the best. Fuck off, I'm busy with the 5, saying went through old videos with Panda. He stood up for her, but not for Cat. Unreal. Well, if you look at Panda and then you look at Cat, understandably so. That's all I have to say on the matter. No, I muted the clip. Heck.
Break the street date, and I won't say a negative word about your game.
Yo, when I ran it way the fuck back. Hold on, wait a minute. Distract yourselves. I gotta figure out where we were now. 51-32. I'm too good. None of that ALT style fuck ups over here. I know where I'm at.
Else. No one is fucking safe from the king.
Nobody's safe from the king, he says. Yeah, he's really gonna show him. But again, he already does that. Nobody's safe from the king, because he'll talk shit about Mr. Beast, Mr. Fucking Mercury. He talks about, I'm drawing a blank. He talks about Stuttering Craig. He's talked about Dr. Disrespect in the past, talks about Ninja. Like, the only difference is nobody gives a fuck when he talks. He said earlier that, I'm so entertaining when I do it and I razz everybody and they're going to be left a pile of bodies and you're going to want to hear what I say next. Except nobody gives a fuck now. So how are you going to make them care later? You're already doing this and nobody cares now. Where's the hype going to come from? Again, only the detractors are going to be into this and they're not going to pay you. So once again, the first path, awful, terrible, not even an option, couldn't happen even if he wanted it to. And the second option is going to make him no money and only appease the detractors. It kind of seems like, we don't even know the third option yet, but that's the only one that will legitimately work for DSP in any way that he deems meaningful.
Now, what's hilarious about that is that everyone is going crazy right now. Everyone is going nuts.
Yeah, a very meaningful voice crack, indeed. It is what it is.
Well, it's funny because the first option I mentioned, the left road, going towards gaming and butt kissing and selling out, some people were like, we would like that. We're okay with that. Now I go to the drama side, and people are like, oh my God, yes, drama. Do it, Phil. Change, rip everyone, rah, 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 right? But you have to understand something, okay?
Okay.
Just like the left turn goes into selling out. When you go left and you turn that direction, you have to understand something. You can't go back. Once you're a shill, you're always a shill. It never changes. You will always be that shill, and you can't stop it. You will have to be that for the rest of your career.
That's not true,
no one's
though.
going to believe you after you've sold out and lied for so long.
If you
go to the right.
No, stop. Wait a minute. Because if you just stop taking deals and you just start playing video games again on your own accord, you're not a shill anymore. You're not contractually obligated to say anything, and you can give your own opinion. Well, what do you mean you can never go back? Huh? What? Doesn't make any fucking sense, stupid. Yeah, and if that's the case, the DSP shilled those gaming chairs, he shilled Loot Crate. He's already a shill. We should have never have came off fucking option 1 if that's the case, because we're already there. But you're supposed to retcon that. You're supposed to forget the lore. It's absolutely vital that you don't remember yesterday.
Come ultimate drama, the return of the king of hate, and I'm here to destroy the internet and fuck everyone, right? That also is an irreversible change. Because now, once you go down that vortex,
shout out the vortex, of course.
Which I have not done. I have been incredibly resistant. And I keep telling you guys, I don't want to go down that vortex. I think that it would be destructive. To be quite frank,
you wouldn't make it
in some of the most interesting, most entertaining content the internet has ever seen. And also it would destroy people's fucking lives.
His almost exclusively. You want to talk about destroying somebody's life? If the entire internet and all of the drama communities and all of these big names actually took a notice of DSP and wanted to tear him asunder, he wouldn't. I don't know that he would make it out with his channel intact. At least, I'm not convinced.
Okay, I'm just being honest.
He's trying to kill his own channel with this option
at the same time. I see people losing their jobs. I see people losing their livelihoods. I see people getting completely destroyed. Really. All right. So there you go.
There you go.
That's that direction.
That's
if I
that
do
direction.
that, that's the end of me seriously covering games. Every once in a while, maybe I'll pull a game out and play it, but it's going to be drama all day, every day, drama, drama, drama. And by the way, I fully believe, truly believe, that either of those paths, which are the easy paths, would make me more popular, more financially successful, and secure a future for my family. I firmly and utterly believe that.
That's not true. Nobody would pay DSP for drama content. It really is that simple. He's just not entertaining enough. He's too soft. He's not willing to say anything controversial. He's not willing to call anybody a slur, which I'm not saying that that's absolutely vital to drama, but you know what I'm saying. There is an aspect to being entertaining when it comes to drama, and you have to be willing to do one thing or another to entertain, and he's not willing to do any of them. He's a fence sitter through and through on pretty much everything. And I think in order to tear somebody apart, you have to stand somewhere, and he can't.
But then there's the third row. Okay? There's the third row. And the third road is the hardest. And the third road is the most challenging and the toughest. All right? Because the third road is the road that no one travels.
Uh-huh.
It's the road, don't sell out, but don't become a drama queen, person here. But the third road is the road where I listen directly to my viewers. And I do my best to take constructive criticism and change for the better in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But I be my own person.
Right.
I don't become the shill sellout. I don't become the drama queen, king of hate.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, I'm just me.
Right.
I sit here every day and I hang out with you and we have honest, fun conversations about gaming, about news, about other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I do branch out from time to time and do different kinds of content, but it's not always my major focus. If new hot games come out, we can go back and enjoy them. If a chill indie game's out, we can hang out and
well, before it scrolls off the screen, I want to see it.
I
want to point it out.
Content.
Sheesh in his own kick chat at 12:55 saying the way of the fence sit. That is really option 3 here. This is the road nobody travels. This is the hardest road to travel, but this is also the road that we're traveling right now, and we have to change nothing in order for this to continue to be the way forward. But yet it's the hardest one, guys. Doing nothing truly is the hardest thing you can do in life, I think. Or the guy thinks, rather.
But it's not always my major focus. If new hot games come out, we can go back and enjoy them. If a chill indie game's out, we can hang out and like it. But we can also adjust and pivot on the fly. I'm not going to be the king of hate or the king of anything. I'm not going to be the shill king where I make a ton of money. But I'm still going to be me. And I won't lose myself. And I won't have to change and take the easy way out like everyone else has. All right? But there is a caveat to all of it. All right. And here's the caveat. Here's the caveat. Here's the catch. Here's the trick. Here's the thing that so many people seem to have issue with when I take that third road. All right. The road far less traveled. I have to do things differently. And because I'm doing it differently and I don't have sponsor money and I don't have drama money, I have to ask my viewers for money because I'm asking you daily if you like the third road, the road that's the hardest out of all of them, where I'm not going to get big corporations backing me and a bunch of people who like internet blood sports throwing their money at me. I'm going to need those who want that different kind of content to actually come and support it. And I'm going to be asking you every day. And I'm going to be asking you, Jasper.
Nice.
Are you okay?
Jasper over there fucking shit up.
He jumped in the window and he slipped. And
classic detractor move.
Right? I think
Idiot.
he got caught up in the curtains.
ESP's probably wishing that the bunny was Jasper instead at this fucking point. God damn.
Poor guy. Okay,
Poor guy.
Let's continue. Because this is the road less traveled, because this is the one that no one does.
Right. Nobody
Everyone
travels
makes
this
bank
road.
one way or the other.
Nobody begs on the internet other than the guy, by the way. Everybody's either a shill or a drama hound. Nobody begs on the internet. Nobody, just makes their amount of money through super chats or whatever and just moves on positively being themselves. Only DSP's him. He's always been him, 100% Himalayan.
And everyone wants me to go one way or the other. I keep getting told, go this way or go that way. Go this way or go that way. But what about my way? And what's wrong with my way? All right, honestly, what's wrong with my way? Because the major complaint everyone says, you just ask too much.
It's true.
Well, when I ask, I receive. When I say, let's get hype for an event, let's get hype for this and that, people actually support it because they like it. If they didn't like it, why would they support it? When people say things like, oh, your reward is you're going to eat fast food, how is that a reward? Well, why don't you ask the people who supported to get it? Because obviously they saw it as such. Did they not? Did we not just do an entire day of me playing a series of games that I never would have played on my own, but because you guys asked for it, I did. And now we've got an awesome outcome where now I might actually play these games in the future and check them out because I understand them better. So how is that not a good outcome from me asking for contributions to get there?
Because you irritated and made everybody annoyed with you along the journey. That's why it's not okay. Just because it worked, just because the begging did mean that you received money, doesn't make it a positive, you know? It kind of an extreme example, right? I've decided I'm not going to go with this example. No, it really just, it is that simple. It's bad because people don't fucking like it, and they've explained that. It shouldn't be any more complicated than that. It really shouldn't. Thank you, Jack Tangway, for the 5, saying, please stop making fun of this blue-collar king. He's working harder than anyone else on the job site. Big ups, contractor side Phil. I can't even argue with that. You're right. You're right. I should be nice.
What in the goddamn?
Thank you, Wesley H, for the 5, saying he never explained why taking corp money is worse than begging. If he wants to say he'd have to lie, he already does lie to his donors, so why not do it? Absolutely a fantastic point. You're right. He never explicitly stated why shilling out is worse than begging, and he can't, because it's just not. You can't justify it to these fucking dents that on a daily basis taking $150 out of their bank account is any better than taking out of EA's bank account, which has millions and billions of dollars in it. There's just no way that I think you could justify that to a normal person, so why would he bother or bring it up? Right. And Quasar 953 for the 2, saying the ends justify the means for Phil, and they always will, which kind of goes into the example that I'm not going to give. So do with that what you want.
And another question that I have to pose, okay? Me sitting here on a stream all day saying, let's hit the goal, let's get some super chats, let's get some subs, right? Who is that hurting exactly? Was I running a large-scale crypto scam where I lied to my viewers about their investments, making them rich, and then I just pulled the rug out from under them and pocketed all their money? Did it ruin any of their lives?
I mean, he did ask for $2,000 telling everybody that it wasn't a cat when it was indeed a cat. So, you know, it's not nearly on the same scale. It's not necessarily crypto, but I don't know, man. That seems like a scam to me. Seems like a small time scale that a DSP would be able to pull off given his audience at the time. He did the best with what he could as far as the scam was concerned.
Right? Did I run an entire giant corporation based on giving your children unhealthy candy and Lunchable knockoff meals that actually are going to make them like sick and not healthy? But because I'm some big guy who's like the Pied Piper to children on the internet, it's all okay. So I ruin an entire generation of kids who watch garbage on the internet. Did I do that?
I mean, he did have a lot of child audience styles back in the day, and it definitely wasn't content that they should have been watching, and probably did ruin their comedic talent to some, you know, to some extent when this is what you find funny, when this is the examples you have of comedy. So would I prefer that kids eat mold out of a fucking Lunchly thing? Probably not, but I don't know that I would subject them to watching old DSP content either. To me, they're kind of on the same rung there.
Did I fake cancer for money?
Nobody faked fucking losing his house and all the fucking, you know, fucking WWE champions and all that, right? Like, Boogie thinking that he legitimately had cancer, which I'm going to be honest, I'm going to assume that Boogie really is that fucking dumb. He thought he had cancer, right? He doesn't know how to read paperwork. But I would still say that's more genuine than DSP begging every day and saying you can't pay the grocery bills while spending it all on fucking mobile games. Say what you want about Boogie and he's a liar, he's a scammer, this, that, and the other, and all that nonsense. I do still somehow think DSP is worse. You can come at me for that if you'd like, but it is the way it is.
Did I do any of these horrible, horrendous things that other content creators who are big and prominent just get off doing every day and never get held accountable for? No. What I said was, let's eat some fucking pizza. Send me some money so next week we can order pizza, which you will help me to order, and we'll have a fun pizza party together. And then we did it. And then it was fun. So what's wrong with that? We've got actual creators on the internet making documentaries about me saying I'm the greediest creator. Are you fucking kidding me?
11 minutes does not make a documentary, folks. I hate to tell you, if you watched an 11-minute documentary, it wasn't a documentary. Sugon D's Nuts for the 5 saying, Pig Roach used Pignosis. It's super effective to a select few of special individuals. And those special individuals are the only reason he's alive today. Big up, Sugon D's Nuts for the 5.
Have you ever watched anyone else, you pathetic fucking schlub? You are so lame because you take the low-hanging fruit, the easy target that everyone's already targeted, to make a worthless fucking video that rehashes the same shit and just ignores the fact that there are people 47 times worse than me who actively hurt people on a fucking daily basis to get ahead. but somehow I'm the greediest person on the internet.
Right.
Get fucked, you disingenuous fucking loser who has no idea how to actually make a documentary.
Well, it
What
was
a
11
fucking
minutes.
loser schlub
So
to pull my name out of the hat and say I'm the greedy guy. You're nuts.
all right. You know, and one of the things that I think is the reason that you can call, you know, DSP the greediest streamer on the internet or whatever the fuck you want to call it is because despite him not being the richest, despite him not going out of his way necessarily to make the most amount of money possible in all of the different avenues in which you could make money, he is objectively like he has the worst attitude towards money. You can see it in his content on a moment to moment basis how this was always about the funds and it was always about the support, regardless of how you feel about Mr. Beast. I don't think that most people see even Lunchly like that, right? Even though it is obviously a way for him to make money and all of the collabs with KSI and Logan Paul and all that shit is clearly for the money. Like DSP still has a more grating and obnoxious view on money than even those people do. So it doesn't fucking matter whether or not they actually have more money because you're still so much more unlikable and the greed is so much more prominent. Exactly, Strider. At least Lunchly has a product, albeit a shitty one, but it has a product that you can like tangibly buy. There is a reward for your purchase. There isn't one for DSP, and there never really has been, unless you count him eating as a reward, of course. And some Gator with the 5 saying, Boogie's bad deed is one singular gut punch. DSP's system of dishonesty is death by 1,000 cuts and nicks. I think Boogie's got a lot more than just one gut punch, but I do agree. I think Boogie... he's got a couple things here or there that are detestable, but DSP's system of dishonesty is really a death by 1,000. And that's why you have to know the lore. That's why you have to follow the guy for so fucking long and know the arcs and know the things. Because it puts it into the context.
Is different. The third path means I need your support every day. And it means that every day I'm going to ask for it.
Stupid.
It means every day I'm going to hopefully get it. And I will be disappointed if I don't.
And this is what I'm fucking talking about. You're never going to hear another fucking content creator say something like that. And if you do, they don't make it, as they shouldn't. I'm going to be disappointed when you don't give me money is a fucking crazy thing to say to your audience. Especially 2 days after, or especially the day after making $1,350 over the course of 2 days. That's crazy. Like, and you... Never mind. Shade Axor for the 5 saying, rip Bun Bun. Sadly, the tip goal and the pizza party won't bring back the bun or Jasper's claws. Really is a shame that it wasn't. Were it so easy? Thank you, Shade Axor for the 5.
But it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy because it's not get paid to kiss butt and get paid to basically hurt people. Instead, it's get paid to be me and ask for the payment because it's willing. Because I'm giving you the content for free. And then hopefully you guys will help to keep it coming by supporting me moving forward. It's different. It's definitely a different model. And these people, oh, these fucking,
it's a different model. That's a light way to put it.
You tell me, what's the better path? The sellout, the bully, or the person who says, let's get positive and please send me some support so we can do some fun stuff together? What's worse? Nothing's perfect. I'll be honest. I don't think any 3 of those choices is perfect. I don't. And to be honest with all of you, okay, I don't think that it's my right to sit here and say that any of those paths are absolutely incorrect. I may morally disagree with some of those paths. All right, I might.
Then it's well within his right. But how you make money and how you operate it on a day-to-day basis and how you conduct yourself is entirely up to you and how you want to do it. If you don't agree with something, if you disagree with it rather, then don't do it, because that's I would say that's the right thing to do. I don't know why he's throwing his hands up in the air right now and acting as though he has no control over the direction in which his streams go. He's the only person who has control over this in any legitimate way, because even if the money stopped, he should be able to continue to do his stream, not all the same because he would have to go get a job, but he would be able to continue his streams nonetheless, right? It's only on him to make a choice. It's saying that there's nothing he could do in this instance is asinine.
That doesn't mean that they're right. It just means that they're different. Okay? I think too many people on this planet think that the world is black and white. So either that was the right path or it was the wrong path. That's not true. Everyone can live to coexist and do their own thing and not have to fuck with others and not have to destroy the things of others. You know what I'm saying? I've learned this a lot over the last 10 years, that it's more about live and let live. I mean, I had a lot of issues with Keemstar. and the kind of content that he puts out. I did. I really like strongly disagreed with it and thought that it was wrong. And I sat here and I crapped on him because I was jealous of his success, and I didn't like that he was getting over with the kind of bullying, lolcow kind of content that he was making. Okay?
So all those years of DSP saying that he wasn't jealous of Keemstar had nothing to do with it, that he just morally disagreed with his drama blood money or whatever. It was all a front. It was all because DSP was seething and coping and fucking upset that he wasn't making money like everybody else was, because they actually had half decent ideas to entertain and he had nothing the entire time. It was the same thing with PewDiePie and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and Tobuscus and all of those people that he hated in the past. It's always about who's making more money than DSP, and that's the person that he hates, and he's gonna rag on till the end of time. Until, of course, it fits his narrative, and in which case he will immediately flip-flop and suck their cock to oblivion. Sound good? Sounds good to me. And by the way, trust me, Kat's agreeing. She's got health bills to pay for or something. Octocom with the 5 saying, how would you describe the good ending for DSP versus the bad ending? Love the content, keep it up. Hashtag justice for Jasper. The good ending is Chris Chan good ending-esque. He comes out and says that he was a character the whole time. You're all idiots and felted. He was funneling everything into an offshore, and he's actually a secret millionaire, and you fell for the ruse. Ack. Sure, he scammed. Sure, everybody's out that money. But at least I would feel better knowing that this guy isn't actually this stupid living in the real world. The bad ending, and I guess it depends on what bad means to you, is that DSP does this till the day he dies on stream, and dying on stream is against TOS, and his account gets taken down, and his legacy's gone forever. And the only thing that's left is raw fill content, in which case everybody can go watch raw fill, and it'll be robust and meaningful. That's the bad ending, depending on who you are.
And then we sat down and we had a conversation together, very man-to-man, very respectfully. And now I think my eyes have been opened, and I realized I really don't think it's my right to criticize that content if everyone who's involved in it is willingly involved in it. It's different if someone's forced into it, coerced into it. There's a difference. But everyone who's on those shows is willingly on them. They're actively engaged in it. They're making bank doing it, and it's their right to. It's not my place to sit here and crap on that way. You know, on the flip side of that,
and that's exactly what people were telling him when Keemstar offered him the $50K to go on the show, was to utilize his lolcow status to actually make a bag instead of fucking floundering all day, every day by himself. And he didn't listen to anybody, and he thought he was better than that. And now it's too late. There's no signing bonus for him, even if he fucking wanted to. And the opportunity is gone. Imagine that. Another opportunity passed by Phil. Some Gator with the 5 saying, another knock against the shill path. This is the same guy who used as a common person idiot in the God of War demonstration. You're right. I don't know that they would pick up on that as something to, hold against him. But you are right. I think anybody who knows that would look at that company a little different. So it wouldn't be worth their time.
The sellout stuff, I know I rag on those people all the time. I know I do. 100%. I don't like sellouts. I don't like you turn on someone's stream and you've got referral code here, ad over here, click here to buy merch, click here to do this. Where's the content? You're literally a living billboard at that point, and a lot of people have done that, okay? They've become sponsor-centric streamers. I don't like that.
What does that mean,
at the same
sponsor-centric?
Is it really my place to be crapping on that? Maybe I should have been a lot more respectful when it came to, what was it, Woody's Gamer Tag and that show that they run, which I don't remember what it's called anymore.
PKA.
Painkiller or whatever it is. Where I shat all over them, and I said, man, that's fucked up. Look, their show's terrible. I mean, yeah, that was kind of me making fun of them, lampooning them, but at the same time, if they're making a living doing it, and they're not hurting anyone by doing it, then I don't know why I'm shitting on them, except, of course, jealousy. Because I'm jealous that they're successful.
So again, just more confirmation that everything that DSP shits on, regardless of who it is or what it is simply because he's jealous. And this needs to be remembered by his dents moving forward. Every negative opinion that DSP has is because he's an envious piece of shit and has nothing to do with the actual quality of the things around him. The second that they realize that, though, is the second that they're no longer fucking dense. Because I don't know how anybody could support that kind of behavior. It seems goofy.
While here I am over here, the whipping boy of the internet, and I'm, scraping to get by and shit like that.
Right? The
so
whipping
again,
boy.
It's jealous, it's the same thing. Same thing that I had with Keemstar, right? So there's really nothing wrong with any of the paths, all right? But I want you to understand why I've tried to do things different, why I feel like my path can work, but it requires people to actually have some independent thought. To not listen to fucking morons who are constantly just crapping on stuff, using it for personal gain. Phil's the worst guy on the internet. Dude, there is no one who can legitimately look at me and my content and say that I am the worst guy on the internet, period. It's just not possible.
I would argue he's one of the most unlikable as far like before you start getting to actual criminals and terrorists and like PDF files and shit. Like as far as a normal human being goes, you know, guy who plays video games. Yeah, DSP is one of the most unlikable, disagreeable people on the internet. Period. I think there's well within, you know, an argument to make there.
To anyone who is a disingenuous liar who has no content and relies on trying to make fun of memes on the internet to make content. I want you to think about that. I sit here and I grind every day to put out content for you, whether it's gaming news, a podcast, just hanging out, having a conversation, playing a game, doing other things outside the box, whatever it is. It's definitely content. All right? I don't just make my content talking about other people's content. I make original content. That's way harder.
Is it though? Is playing video games in almost complete silence with minimal commentary, is that the harder thing to do when you're pulling in a sub 200 fucking viewers and getting sometimes no money? Like, is that harder to do? I'm pretty sure that there's people all over the world right now who have sub 200 viewers and make $0 playing a video game. Are they grinding it out and fucking making the peak content like DSP is? I guess by that parameter, but whatever.
Because if you don't make your original content, you just suck on everyone else. You're a fucking parasite. I don't need anyone else to exist. I exist in the center of this weird universe, and this parasite vortex exists around me. If I turn off my camera and never broadcast again, 1,000 people have nothing to do tomorrow.
Well, they have other hobbies, I would hope. I would hope.
So every one of them can get fucked. None of what you say matters. None of your criticism is valid. You're a bunch of fucking loser.
Why is criticism immediately invalidated? I'm confused as to why that's the case. I didn't hear anything in there that would invalidate criticism. I'm confused.
Lives, and you don't mean anything.
It seems like the only people that ever seem to invalidate criticism are the people being criticized, which is a really weird thing because that's the last person that's able to do that, right? The person who is being shit on is the last person that's allowed to tell you what you can and can't shit on them for.
To me, what does mean something to me are the people who are here day in, day out, hanging out with me on stream, supporting me in moral ways and financial ways to allow me to do what I love. Those are the people who are going to support me, or they're the reason that I'm still here. After 17 years and so many other people who become irrelevant, or they quit and they ran away and tapped out, I'm still fucking here. There's a
all these other people who ran away and tapped out, you mean they literally they went and got jobs and they became productive members of society, or they found a different hobby that they would rather do than listening to you all day? I'm not surprised. As somebody who watches the pre-stream over the every day, his content has been incredibly fucking awful as of late. You want to know why Atlas videos don't exist? Why Atlas streams less and less? It's because this guy fucking sucks. Real talk. He's done nothing worth of note until this week for the past like 3 weeks in a row.
What?
I went and found other things to do. I have other hobbies of playing games. I'm volunteering more at work to go get some overtime hours. Like, brother, I got other shit to do. I'm watching movies with my girlfriend. It is what it is. Thank you, Sugon D's Nuts, for the 10. So the guy who just said not 5 minutes ago that he needs his supporters so that he can exist now says he doesn't need anyone else to exist. Right. I'm glad you're following that. Yeah, I'm glad you're following the logic. Thank you, Sugon D's Nuts, for doing what everybody else should be.
For that. And yes, it's a lot of my determination, but at the same time, it's a lot of you and your determination, and you're putting up with the bullshit and sticking with it and supporting me through the people all these times with everything. It's amazing. All right, it is. So thank you for that. But this is the path that I have: the sellout, the drama king of hate return, or my path, which I've been doing, but understanding that we're just not going to put up with this bullshit from these fucking losers anymore.
Okay,
yes,
so those are the three paths.
To make money. I am going to ask for contributions, and you're going to like it because I'm successful and you're not. Because success doesn't mean you steal success from someone else. It means you make it for yourself, which is what I have always done, and you could never do because you don't have talent.
But he's playing video games that other people made. Like, if we're going to follow DSP's logic here, he's just as much of a parasite on the gaming industry as detractors are to him. So no, he hasn't made anything himself. He hasn't made his own success, because without the video games, without all of these other people that supposedly he doesn't need to exist, he has no content. Period. That's it. Argument's fucking stupid and felt it, I guess. Way to waste everybody's time, dipshit.
Get it? Anyone who relies on me to make their content has
Filing
no
for
talent.
bankruptcy is not success. True, true.
Sorry, it's just true.
That "you're gonna like it" is giving grapey vibes. Yeah, it's that "you're gonna like it" is definitely a sentence that you shouldn't be saying. It just, you know what I'm saying?
Everyone wants to argue with that.
You know.
Why don't you make some content for your own and show me how fucking successful it does? Like some of these no-loads who actually did try. Oh, I'm going to play games like Phil does. Oh, I'm going to do a stream like he does. Oh, I'm going to do this.
Right,
And then
right.
you fail, you fail,
Sure.
you fail, you
Right.
fail.
Okay.
Why doesn't July the Cuck make a fucking piece of content for himself that's not making fun or deriding or trying to bring down someone else and see how it does? Because it ain't going to fucking work. Get it? The talent are the ones who have the parasites sucking on them at all times.
Does he not understand that people show up to these videos, you know, from July the Cuck or whatever, of people shitting on other people because they are more entertaining than the original content creator? Does he never understand that? Is that always going over his head the entire 17 years he's been on the platform? It's a genuine question, because I think you'd actually have to be like, you'd have to be Jade status in order for that to be the case, or willfully ignorant, which is, again, disingenuous and another reason not to like Phil. Speaking of not liking Phil, this frame, punchable face, boss. And these are aplenty in every stream.
Anyway, at this point, I think it's time to do some shout outs, and then it's time to actually get into some real content, because this has been a very dramatic,
don't worry, we won't.
dramatic stream. That's for sure. All right. Let's go ahead and do some shout outs. All right. And thank you, because so many people are giving me very positive messages right now in the chat and everything. And I appreciate that. And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. You know, here I am. I'm going through shit. All right. I'm going through real shit.
Which nobody cares about.
That is
no
so
one gives a
separated
fuck
from any of this fucking bullshit on the internet. And then I gotta go to the internet. I gotta hear about this motherfucker did this, and this little loser did this. Another one's sucking on you, Phil. Another one's sucking. I think it's time to start flicking the leeches off one by one. Right? Grab them by their fucking balls and start crushing them for the fucking life losers that they really are.
Why is it he's incapable of talking about detractors on the internet without talking about their loads or their balls or sucking on him? What is going on? Like, Jane, like, I'm not even, it's not being facetious. I'm not fucking playing around. It's not a joke. Bro is genuinely on the gayest shit possible every time he talks about people on the internet. I have no idea why that's the case. Like, I know that the joke is DSP secretly closeted and he's got boyfriends and ramble, but genuinely talks about male genitals more than anybody I've met before. Not that I've met him, but you know what I'm saying. It's crazy. He needs to work on his vocabulary. I don't think it's doing it for him.
Because they don't deserve any popularity just because they bring up my fucking name. It's time to start getting real with these fucking losers, because they don't deserve a lick of time.
Because he was being fake before, obviously. The insinuation.
Okay. Let's do some shout outs.
Let's do some shout outs. Hell yeah, dude.
So Jalen, $2 super chat says W accountability. Yeah, and I have accountability. Listen, man. I fucked up in the past and I know it. But the thing is, people don't want to act like I've changed at all. They want to act like Darkside Phil in 2025 is Darkside Phil from 2020, who was begging for contributions and saying, I'm going to show you my cat and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's couldn't be further from the truth.
2020 wasn't that fucking long ago. Why? Maybe I haven't been on the planet long enough to think that 5 years is an incredible amount of time, because I can still remember it. But it wasn't that fucking long ago, and he still fucking begs all the time. Literally nothing has changed. I don't know what he's talking about. Again, he just uses the smoke screen for tips instead, you know, with the goals, instead of asking directly to save his house. It's the same shit. But he's different now, you guys.
You know what I mean? How can you say that? It's completely different. A fart that smells with a $10 super chat, and man, I smelled it when it came by. I think you're doing great. As someone who used to regularly watch all the people who hate you, it got old fast. I enjoy your content now, and streams really do help to relax the mind. Thank you.
Wow. Imagine falling for the pignosis after being
Adam Theory with a $2
blatantly explained to how it works and like not being in it. You'd have to be a dev.
Saying, I vote for the King's Return.
Yeah, fake person.
Listen,
probably true, actually.
It's a viable path, but it means the path of pain, the path of drama, and the path of hurting people. You know?
Path of pain
It means
real.
that I have to actively start seeking out targets and shooting fucking Scud missiles at them. And every day it's a new target. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be bloody.
And you can see the people in his chat throughout this entire stream just screaming option 2, option 2. I don't know that I've seen anyone saying any other option than option 2 since we fucking mentioned it. But guys, we're going to continue down the path of begging, of most resistance, of course.
It's going to be ugly. It's going to be bad. People are going to get hurt. And in the entire time, in 17 years that I've made content, all right, I feel like I haven't done that. And I'm happy for that. That's why I'm able to, like, sleep at night. Because I feel like I'm not hurting anyone with the content that I'm putting out there. Do you understand? Now,
if online internet content creation is keeping you up at night, get off the internet, period. That's it. Log off. Don't get back on. You weren't meant for it. It is that simple. None of this shit is that serious. You're a clown.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I would much rather be
go
my own
outside.
guy. And yeah, if that means having to ask for contributions on a stream of people who are willingly giving them because they like the content, then so be it. At least I'm not lying, I'm not cheating, I'm not hurting, I'm not shilling. Instead, it's honest content.
Say that to Lex, brother.
Foggy Bottom with a $2
She's
super
out
chat.
here
King of
getting
Fate, they drew
doxxed
first blood,
because
do
of
it.
you.
Well, they all drew first blood. They did. They absolutely did. The whole fucking internet took their shot. And they're still taking their shot. You would think they would have fucking learned by now, but I guess not. I guess some people still need to be taught a fucking lesson. It's like they just don't fucking learn. That I don't die. That when you take a shot at me, it comes back at you. It's happened again and again and again, and these morons keep doing it. They're just not smart.
What? Where are the DSP's endless line of victims? Can you point me to one person the DSP has felt that has actually suffered any sort of repercussions? I genuinely can't even, like, even RTU is still somehow making content, and it's probably getting more fucking views than anything DSP is doing in a legitimate capacity. Obviously, Raw Phil and Kino Casino are doing numbers. I'm sure TBS is going to be doing numbers as well. But, like, I can't think of a single person DSP's had any sort of beef with that has resulted in him coming out on top and making them look dumb. I can't think of a one. So, complete delusion. Does he mean Pro Jared? Even Pro Jared's probably still fucking more popular than him. Let me go check Pro Jared's numbers right now. Let's see. He's still got more subs than the guy, I believe. Stop playing that bullshit. I don't want to hear that. Come on. Pro Jared is still getting over 5,000 views on every single video. Some of them even hitting 10,000, 30,000 views. So is Pro Jared infinitely felted? I'm not convinced. I'm not.
I spilled some seltzer on my keyboard.
The only way that anybody comes out negative from DSP is if they make themselves into a fucking laughing stock and show everybody just how dented they truly were the whole time. That's the only way you get felted by the guy. As long as you conduct yourself with any sort of, you know, I don't know a way to put it. As long as you conduct yourself well on the internet and just shit on the guy for the guy being shitty, you're pretty much in the clear. It's not the hardest thing to do. Yes, decorum is a way to put it. Yeah, conduct yourself with an amount of decorum. Yeah, the Fred Fucks owned himself. The Sons of Kojima fell apart because they were cringe and lame. All right, I don't need to see this fucking idiot clean his keyboard. Stupid.
All right, I think we're all right.
All right, anyway.
I didn't destroy my keyboard. So I think we're supposed to be with that. What was that? That was... No, we're good. Okay. Okay, crisis averted. I spilled some seltzer on my keyboard. I had to clean it. No, before we continue, because I do have a lot more...
I did say keyboard. Stop it. Don't notice those things. Just move past positively. I'm just going to say this, because a lot of you don't know this, all right? I'm going to say it publicly now while I got attention on me. Okay, right. Back in the fall, when I was getting this big boost of popularity because I had been involved with Kino Casino and been on their show and done this interview with Keemstar and all of this, okay? Mm-hmm.
I made myself available, okay, to many people who would be considered some people who had called me out over the years.
But sure. I made myself available.
And their shtick was always, well, Phil always hides. Phil doesn't want to talk. Phil runs. So, you know, we're going to crap on him, and then that's that. Well, I made myself available. I reached out to quite a few people behind the scenes, all right, who all had been crapping on me and said, hey, I'm ready to do a collab. Hey, I'm ready if you want to do an interview, whether it means that we together appear on the casino. Remember, I did it with Josh Moon, the owner of Kiwi Farms. So after that happened, there was several different people who I said, we got to do this. Because these people have been so fucking talkative all this time about me. Now it's time for them to actually step up to the plate and say something to me in person or, you know, in one of these, in a public forum, rather than it just be you screaming at me, let me scream back.
Then scream back on your own fucking channel. Watch the videos, bozo. I don't know why anybody is inclined or obligated to talk to DSP or give him the actual time of day, you know, voice to voice or face to face over webcam or whatever. No, nobody is obligated, and honestly, they shouldn't. I think everything you have to say to the DSP should be in your stream, should be in your videos, and if he wants to respond to them, if he has anything to say about the things that you said, he can watch the fucking content. And nothing about the things that you say or the way that you feel about DSP should be changing from talking to him. And if they are, I'm convinced you're falling for pignosis. I think you're letting him change the subject or give you the rigmarole or whatever. That's what talking to DSP does.
Or at least give me an opportunity to talk back and answer and counter for myself, right?
You can do that on your own fucking content.
They all
Trust
ran
me,
like
we'll
pussies.
watch it.
Every fucking one. Every fucking one ran away. You know about some of them, like Review Tech, who was going to be on my show, and then
What
he
up,
pussied
Panko
the fuck out.
breadcrumbs?
But
It's
for every
definitely
one
toxic.
Review Tech, there was like 10 more of people who I reached out. I said, let's do it. Since you had a big fucking mouth all this time, where are you now? Let's go. Now that people actually want to hear my responses and are actually giving me a chance to defend myself and are listening, let's go. Run away. Why? Because all these people who have crapped on me for the last decade only did it because they wanted a one-sided, easy win argument. They thought no one cared about DSP, no one would listen to his responses, no one would give two shits about him. So therefore, take the shot, make the quick money, laugh about it, and then move on, and then bring him up again whenever we want another quick win, and that's it.
Did he ever think that maybe it's because it makes for better content that way? Has that ever really crossed his mind? Has he ever thought that maybe talking to him and doing the rigmarole and all of the nonsense yelling and bickering and him not understanding the basic concepts that people are saying just makes for bad content, and therefore people, you know, talking about the things they dislike about DSP in a solo video is just more comprehensive and entertaining due to the editing or the subject matter itself? It really, it can be that simple. It has nothing to do with being a pussy or even giving him the time of day, but simply that these people have they have a higher, you know, standard that they hold their content to, and DSP just doesn't make the cut. Has that ever occurred to him? I don't think that it has.
But the moment that it all changed.
But you guys are right. He's running away from PPP right now. He's ran away from Keem. He's ran away from Duty. He's ran away from PPP. The only reason that at any point he was confident enough to talk to these people or even to talk to Josh Moon or whatever the case is because he had Kino Casino on his side. He thought that they would go to bat for him if anything went awry, if he couldn't hold his own. And now that that's not the case, you'll notice that he's isolating himself and going back into his snort fort and retreating because he's a fucking pussy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Bro cannot hold his own in a conversation, period. It doesn't even have to be an aggressive one, just a conversation at all. It doesn't make sense.
They ran for the fucking hills and they shoved their heads into the fucking sand like an ostrich. And they have not been heard from since. Crickets. And my camera just turned off again. Crickets. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I have to get my camera working again. But yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. They're just, but that's what it is. You know, for so long, I've been the whipping boy. Anyway, let me get the camera working again. That's the second time it malfunctioned during the show, if you can believe it.
It's almost like we don't need 9,000 fucking cameras for the pre-stream or something. We could just go with we could just go with the one and hope that it works consistently instead of having all fucking 3 of them plugged in all the time. There's just no need for it. If you're not doing a stream that requires these cameras, you just unplug them and leave them unplugged. So much more hassle than it should be.
I don't know. It could be that, though.
Also, we're still not restarting our PC or shutting it down. That's very cool. Very cool. Oh my god.
That turned off, right?
Okay.
All right, well, I got it working temporarily. Let's see if it keeps working or not. Anyway, all right, continuing on. We got a lot of shout-outs to do.
So many shout-outs.
We've got...
Which he needs to hurry up with, because we still got another hour's worth of fucking clip to watch after this.
Announcing this doesn't seem authentic. I worry if you go the drama route, you will eventually have to embrace lolcow status. What would matter? You understand that it doesn't matter what I do. They say that anyway, right? No matter what I say and do, they always say, hey, you're a lolcow, whether you like it or not. So I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Right? Like,
you don't get to pick. That's true.
Then why not make bank on it? I mean, literally, isn't that exactly what they did with LolCow Live? They took a bunch of guys who were considered lolcows, giant lolcows on the internet.
Yes.
Right? And they said, you know what? If you're going to already do this to us and embarrass us and make us look stupid, then we might as well just do our own content out of it and make bank on it. And now they do.
And
People
they do.
literally throw them endless amounts of money every stream, and more power to them and good for them.
But DSP was too fucking stupid and short-sighted to hop on that money train when it was time, huh? Isn't that so funny? Now, again, I'm not going to say that that would have been a good idea for him. The shit they do over on LolCow Live is honestly not entertaining to me. I don't give a fuck about these fat losers going to fat camp. Doesn't make a difference. But there was money to be had, and absolutely capitalizing on their already terrible reputations. Yeah, that made sense.
If that's the route they want to go, if that's
They
the
made
hand
money,
they've been
and
dealt
they will
want
make
to take
money.
advantage of it, and they want to milk these idiots who throw them money to embarrass themselves, then they should be able to do it and be prosperous and have a good life. I am not jealous in any way. In fact, I congratulate them on that. Adam Theory with another $2 super chat. No matter what the king decides, I'm here for. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Adam.
He should be picking option 2, which you can
You're gonna
still
ride with me
see
no matter
in
what I
his
decide
chat.
to do. Well, there you go. I don't, who knows what the future holds? I don't know. I don't. I legit don't know. But man, it's been a wild ride so far, and it continues. Gabriel the Blessed, $5 super chat. While seeking revenge, dig 2 graves, one for yourself. You're right. That's what I've seen, at least when it comes to this internet blood sport bullshit. Okay, no one really wins. Yeah, there's temporary boosts
except for all the people that win and make money.
Support, but at the end of the day, everyone's a loser. Everyone loses it. When this happens.
Do they? Where is Kino Casino losing? Even all of that nonsense with the fucking Vegas drama and all this shit about all of their past and what they've done and this, that, and the other. They're still making fucking money. They're still showing up on stream, and they're still making content that people are tuning in for. So where are they losing out? With the nonsense shit with Keemstar, where was Keemstar losing out? Where did Keemstar dig his own fucking grave? This just isn't true. You can absolutely get your fucking revenge and not KYS in the process. It's not, I don't think it's that complicated. Iviga, thank you so much for the 14 months. Hey, Skeleton Man, time raid, beware the chicks. I'm seeing the chicks, I'll be cautious. Thank you for the raid,
Princess
of
Luna
course,
with the $10
and the
super
14
chat.
months,
Thank you.
Iviga.
You are
Big ups everybody showing
unapologetically
up.
yourself, and there will always be an audience for that, no matter what path or paths you decide to take. Thank you, Princess Luna. I appreciate that. And that, in reality, I truly believe that. And the reason I truly believe that is pretty simple. I have been on YouTube. I have been on Kick. I have been on Blip TV. I have been on Twitch.
Shout out Blip
I've
TV.
been on demand. I've been live. I've been in person at events. I've done all of this, right? And I still am successful. It doesn't matter where I go, what I do. Everyone follows.
Okay, guys. For brevity's sake, I think that we got the point on this. I'm gonna see if I can find the section where we talk about Ashton, because specifically I missed this live. I tuned out of the pre-stream for the last 3 minutes or something, and the guy decided to address Ashton.
Illness. It's about still making fun of me somehow in 2025.
And that's what I want to see.
Let's go for the low-hanging fruits.
I don't care about low-hanging fruit, Girl Scout cookies.
I've spoken with him about it.
Okay, all right, here we go. Yes, I cut this clip and I left in too much. It's a classic Atlas strategy. Yes, Ashton. Of course. Are the 3 paths over? Yes, the three wolves inside him are all currently smoking crack, and we can move on positively. I'm sorry for the wait, Red Bird.
I don't know what's happened over on Kick this last week. Just take a look. Typically we're more than halfway through the week, and usually we get a bunch of subs and stuff. And it's been a slow week on Kick, so I don't know.
No blow New Jersey up on Sweet Papa Stovepipe. There's I think it's for 300, not 333. But speaking of the 333 from Sweet Papa Stovepipe, speaking of making money, here's some lad. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't play the notification that you were looking for.
What happened over there? At all? The thing is with Kick,
we're gonna have to come and blow New Jersey up
sometimes
later.
People will come by and be really supportive.
Rest in peace, New Jersey.
Be really slow. And this week, yeah, I mean, it's really been affecting stuff. So I'm hoping that we will get some more.
Okay, all right, okay. I don't give a fuck about your support anymore. We're moving on. I wanted to talk about triple bypass.
You will tip me $40 right now if I properly address Ashton berating my wife again. All right, you ready?
Here we go.
Ashton is fucked up for ever bringing up my wife. He should never have her name in his mouth. And I've spoken with him about it. And if he continues to bring her up in his content, whether it's his show or mine, smart guys, I will no longer work with him. We've had it out. I talked to him about it. It's fucked up that he would ever bring her up. It's one thing if he brings me up and he wants to razz on me because he's helped me out tremendously. All right? My wife has nothing to do with him or his content. And I swear to God, if he fucking brings her up again in a negative way in his content, I will cut ties with that man.
Big man. Big man. Where was this, where was this ferocity the first time that he did it? And everybody made all of the videos, and I even did a stream talking about how it's the most disappointed I've ever been in DSP, yada yada yada. You guys remember that one? Where was that then? We just let that shit slide.
So there you go.
There you go.
I don't care
Base
about your $40
husband
tip, 'cause I know you weren't going to
DSP.
send it anyway. I know you were full of shit. But it's about time that I said that because it needed to be said and everyone's been talking about it. Okay?
And I think that's the main point, is that everybody's been talking about it. That's what matters to DSP. That's why he threw it in there. That's why he explicitly said it the way that he did, because everybody's been talking about it. This is what we care about. It's never about my wife, and only about the people that hate me the most. And shout out Orphan of Costco. What a fucking tremendous name for becoming a member. Big ups, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, if PPP insults my wife 345 more times, I'm
They're
going
not
to
gonna
start
pay up.
getting
They were told.
serious, man.
No one's going to pay $40 for me to say
real.
that, but it needed to be said. By the way, Worcester says, I love the content, Phil. Thank you, Worcester. I appreciate that.
All right. Do we have anything more to say on the subject, or can we move on to the actual, the meat and potatoes?
Yes, I've spoken with Ashton since Monday's Keno Casino. 100%. I've spoken with him about it. I told him this is not acceptable. It's not right. It's messed up that he does that. And he knows how I feel. So, it's one.
But that's already such a cucked fucking response. Yeah, I talked to him behind the scenes, guys. He knows how I feel on the subject matter. You know, I let him know. Did you really, though? Or this wouldn't have been a conversation that you had to do publicly, you know? It wouldn't have continued to happen multiple times after that if you would have really made him aware the way that you should have.
Thing for him to bring me up, make fun of me. They've done a lot for me. Go ahead and make fun of me. Say I'm a loser, whatever you want to do. I don't really give a fuck. I've got thick skin. But you don't bring my wife and family and other people into it to have no.
Yeah, she doesn't have thick skin. She's got thick fat,
period.
Dumbass. She can't take it.
That's when you've gone over the line. Okay?
All right. So that's the end of that one. Obviously, PPP went on to the night stream, the Keno Casino style stream afterwards, and he let Phil's wife have it, call her fat multiple times, you know, throughout the stream. Just continued to dig the hole deeper and deeper. The hole, of course, being DSP's bad graces. Now I have a couple of tweets here. From PPP himself in between that I want to show you guys. I'm going to pull it up here. Give me one second. Ignore the dead air. It doesn't matter. You guys are being haters and I'm ignoring the fucking trolls. Okay? Sound good? Sounds good to me. Here's the worst screenshot presented ever. Okay, so here's PPP. This is the morning of Thursday, I believe the 13th. PPP was on a tirade on Twitter before the guy went live. This is at like 5 in the fucking morning, saying, I just want to point out the following. DSP actually didn't give a single fuck about me joking about his wife. He allowed me to do it to his face over and over. He never said a word. Only when detractors made fun of him for it did he care. It's all he cares about. He will say I'm the bad guy and the villain in this, and he's just an innocent little victim who didn't do anything wrong. But as I said, he's no victim. He didn't want to hear me tell him the truth anymore. I was too real last week, and this ultimatum was his way out to save his ego. Finally, this isn't about his wife. It's about respect. Phil showed zero respect for me or Andy or Steve or anyone else who tried to help him yesterday. He threw it all in my face with his third path lazy bullshit and refusal to ever try or put in effort. It's a waste of resources. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's great to hear PPP finally acknowledge all of the things that people have been saying to him since the beginning of this arc, and he gaslit everybody into, you know, believing that it wasn't the case and that he genuinely liked DSP for the content, blah, blah, blah. You guys know how the arc went. It is kind of refreshing to see him say otherwise now. He also went on to say, fat is not an insult. It's a descriptive term, described biological reality, and was used often on the playground as kids, not offensive. Some people need to harden up and not be such sissies about the things that they choose to share online, which is almost exactly what DSP said when it came to him defending his use of the word retard. Very, very based, obviously, coming from the guy, and it's very funny to see it get thrown right back into his face. I think... yeah, that's the tweets for now. We've got more tweets for the ending style, but we got to get into the second clip, which is also an additional fucking hour, because breaking up with your boyfriend is hard, folks. I don't know if you've ever gone through a breakup. I don't know if you've ever suffered from a betrayal, but sometimes you just got to get on live and cope about it. And I have to make sure that I launch the fucking video through the actual application so it can show up on the stream.
Good morning, everyone. On today's show, I would love to talk about some awesome positive stuff coming up, including our idea for the next DSP Tries It, because we did one last night. The idea for the next Lego set build, because we finished the succulents yesterday. But sadly today, we have to take a different course. Today on the show, we've got to address drama, which, as you know, I don't really like doing, unless I find it entertaining, like if I'm razzing RTU or something. But that's not what we're doing today.
So we don't like drama unless it's us having the upper hand on somebody that we think is inferior. Does this not sound just like the way that the guy describes detractors? And doesn't this go immediately in the face of everything that he just said in the pre-stream we just watched from the day prior about how he could absolutely make a living and go crazy doing drama content? Doesn't that fly directly in the face of all of that immediately the following day? I would think so. And really just goes to show how big of a waste of time that fucking was. You're welcome.
It's going to be a lot more serious because, yes, there is a big thing going on.
And I'll be right
and
back.
Of course,
Don't
I have to bring it up because it directly
affects
affects myself and my content. In fact, it affects content today. So we got to do it. All right. If you're not into drama, if you don't care, then I actually highly recommend that you just skip today's podcast. But if you want to know what's going on, then stick around for a very exhausting, annoying, boring episode of the Level 1 podcast.
LOL, that's so funny. You guys had to sit through the intro. What a good time for me to walk away.
My camera froze on the most embarrassing frame you could possibly see. My camera issues persist, and what's weird about it now is that it's only this camera. If you guys haven't noticed, this camera is working. How bizarre, because it used to be this camera that used to malfunction.
Who gives a shit about the fucking camera?
And now that camera just constantly malfunctions.
Every day with this shit, dude.
If not, we'll have to mess with it. I probably got to unplug, replug.
And again, this is why DSP's fucking pre-stream podcast bullshit is the worst audio experience on the planet, because you spend so much time talking about a visual aspect that you potentially will never see and does not make a difference.
I just don't get it at this point. It actually worked the entire time until I went live.
It's amazing how much of his content is fucking around with these cameras at this point.
So I don't even know. I will give it a second here, but we'll do it. Oh yeah, there it goes.
Eating and camera fucking is about all we do.
All right, well,
we being
let me see if I can get it working
DSP,
briefly.
obviously.
Unplug it again.
All right, gotta
unplug and replug it.
Basically
just
start
try to get it to work
skipping.
again. I don't get it. Like I really don't. I don't understand what's going on with it, that it's doing this repeatedly over and over. And I don't think anyone has an answer besides you need a new PC.
Yeah, pero we're camera fuckers here, obviously.
I'm not buying a new PC right now. I don't think that's the correct course of action. So let's give it another second. I know you prefer drama streams over text streams. So do I. So do I. I would much rather do a drama stream than a text stream. Or at least then there's some entertainment factor. This tech stuff is not very entertaining, is it? It's very annoying.
He's just
all right.
Again, openly admitting that his content is dog shit and that it's pretty much unwatchable because of the tech issues, but yet they persist every single day. And for those of you who didn't catch the pre-stream, this is relevant now. He thinks that maybe he has sorted out the tech issue. I don't know if he has in regards to the camera, but that's what he was saying yesterday. And instead of just saying, that he's going to get rid of the cameras or that he's going to actually do anything with it, he said that he's just going to continue to try on stream pretty much every day to figure it out. And there's nothing he could do about it happening until he figures it out. So we just have to keep going and having tech issues every single day on stream. Sound good? Sounds good to me.
See if it keeps working. If it does, great. If not, I don't know. I have to keep fucking with it, change ports or whatever. So welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, the 13th of March, 2025. We missed Friday the 13th by this much because, man, it would have been a perfect day for this. But yeah, it is what it is, my friends. Today,
shit's so loud.
We have to address drama, all right? And, it sucks. I don't like having to deal with real-life drama like this. I don't.
But that was option two.
Every once in a while, it's cool to just, kind of strike back.
I don't like to deal with drama, guys, but that was option two, and that's one of the ways that I was pitching to make the rest of my money until I literally die. But I don't like it, you guys.
Back at those who messed with you. But in this case, this one is a long time coming. This is something that obviously started way last year, and we kind of have to talk all about that and how we got to this point, all right? But let's just up front take it head on explain to you what's happened and the fact that my content is about to change. I want you guys to know. And then we're going to kind of go through the history of how we got here. Okay.
Obviously, we have to go through the
Officially as of
history.
today, all right. I am going to be doing.
And that's another bit that gets me about DSP, man. He can't just tell you the fucking story as it's happened since yesterday. He has to give you the entire rundown, basically from the beginning of fucking time, 2010, when he worked at the helicopter company, in order to catch you up to speed. It's no wonder the guy can't talk about anything in a reasonable amount of time. You have to go through the whole fucking history, start to finish. It's wild.
Doing Smart Guys solo, starting tonight on the late stream. We're going to see how the show goes. As long as the show still gets some attendance and support, I want to continue it through WrestleMania. And then we'll see what we want to do. You know, WrestleMania is only about a month away, so it would be a few more episodes or whatever, and that's it. And then we'll go from there. All right? Now, you might say, what the hell? What are you talking about?
Oh,
Smart
what?
Guys is a co-op commentary show about pro wrestling with you and PPP from Kino Casino. It's been going good for like over 2 months. You know, you're at 8 episodes. I think tonight was episode 9. You know, why would the show's format change all of a sudden right in the middle of everything? All right. Well, I'm going to give you the answer,
Please,
but the answer
quickly,
won't make sense
more
until we kind of go
rapidly.
through the history. All right. But I'll just say
This is the second time we've talked about how we are going to go through the history without getting to the fucking history.
this up front because I want to make this clear. Absolutely nothing that I'm about to tell you on this show is private information. Okay. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go and be like, oh, well, all this stuff is going on behind the scenes, private. You guys don't know about it. So let me just spill all that shit right now and be a complete fucking dick and violate trust and stuff like that. I'm not going to do that.
Like he did with John Rambo back in the day when he read those direct messages. He's not going to do that, obviously. Sugar Baby with the 10 saying, I listen to you at work all of the time, so thank you, Atlas, for the entertainment of the guy. Well, I appreciate that. That actually means a lot to know that people are getting through work watching some of my content. That's robust and meaningful to me.
All right.
I'm glad I could do that.
I'm just going to tell you basically my
Thank you for the 10, of
perspective on this
course.
whole ride since last summer of what's been going on. Excuse me. And how we got to where we got today. Okay. So basically, why am I doing Smart Guys solo? All right. Well, it's very simple.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Jim Belaya, for the 5 gifted.
Intoxicating innocence.
Truly are a god.
PPP on his show, Kino Casino, has increasingly started up with rhetoric that's pretty toxic, negative, and insulting towards myself and my family. Now, there's a difference between myself
Uh-huh.
and my family. I want you to
Right,
understand that,
right.
okay?
That's why they
So
shouldn't have
Kino
been on
Casino
stream.
essentially has done a lot for me. Back when I appeared on their show first in August, which I actually spearheaded by contacting them behind the scenes, which shocked them. They had no idea that I would ever do that. And then got on their show, had that initial interview, which was very entertaining, made
And that really is out of the ordinary for DSP to go out of his way in order to contact somebody, you know, behind the scenes style, for drama content. I'm kind of curious as to, I guess I could go back and find out what made that happen. I don't even remember at this point, but it is out of the ordinary for the guy. Thank you so much to Penitenson and Sweet Papa Stovepipe for both the gifted 5-member bombs. Very cool. I'm sure everybody appreciates that. Thank you.
lots more content with them and all of
Very
that,
meaningful
right?
to me.
The whole idea
Yeah,
was that something-
common enemy RTU. You're right. It was peak RTU hating hours. You're right. But again, it's still kind of odd that the DSP would go in as hard as he was on RTU. I don't. That's just the way he was feeling. You're right. I'm thinking back on it now.
very different would come from it than all the other content.
He's been
that has
hating on
made,
me for so
you know, over
long.
the years about
Ack.
and that it
Yeah.
would actually like turn into something very different and interesting. All right. And I think it did, at least for a while. Okay. Now, since those guys did so much for me, I let them know, listen, I'm not going to have any bad feelings towards you if you guys use me in your content. If you have
Whoa.
segments on me, ripping,
Sugar Baby with the 10 gifted and plus the Duelist with the 5. You guys are going fucking crazy. Thank you so much. Very cool.
be a new asshole, saying my content sucks, saying I suck. I really don't care. I mean, everyone else does it anyway. You know, I'm okay with you guys. You might as well benefit from it too. Go for it, right? I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to be a dick now just because we did some content together. Now you can't make fun of me. Okay. I mean, that's the whole premise of their entire show. And so you might wonder, you know, oh, why did Phil allow them once in a while to do that? Isn't that kind of like weird that you would let them, you know, insult you and make fun of you on their show, but then you're still doing content with PPP and you're talking about
that
future
is
content and stuff
that
like
is actually
right?
weird. if you work with somebody and they're actively making content, making fun of you and the way that you conduct yourself on a regular basis, only furthering the terrible image that people have of you on the internet, they're not your friends and you should not be working with them. I didn't think that I had to tell DSP that. Thought it was pretty self-explanatory, but regardless of the amount of money that you make off of them, that's clearly not good for you, and he should have taken that into consideration. Real talk. But he's too dense and short-sighted about the money to even think about those things. And thank you, Jimbalaya, again for another gifted 5. All of you are gods, and nobody can kill you now, or at least as the quote goes.
So
how can you
it
kill
was
a
all
god?
well and good, but if you haven't noticed recently, definitely the rhetoric has kicked up, and in particular, where I started to get
quit
wind that this
pocket
was
watching.
happening,
Quit pocket watching.
and it really was upsetting me, was PvP starts bringing up my wife. Now, for those who don't know, my wife Kat has showed up in my content less than 10 times. All right, when she
Okay.
first moved in with me in 2018.
Right.
All right.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We have to go as far back as 2018 in order to tell this story. Why? Just say that PPP fucked your wife and move on, brother. We gotta go how many goddamn years back? 7 years in order to start this story?
And
Fuck's
she was
sake.
in like 3 streams where we did like Q&A and stuff, and that was it. And then she did 1 stream with me that was like a Halloween stream. And everyone made fun of her. I say everyone, it's the detractors, of course, made fun of her for her looks, and it really got to her.
Yeah, her makeup was fucked,
So for many years, she never appeared in my content, okay? And then last year, early on...
And obviously that was going to be the case. Like, I'm not going to... Like, she looked better back in the day, obviously. And maybe she didn't deserve the amount of hate that she got. But being that she's in relation to DSP, not incestuously, but like, she's in a relationship with DSP, related to him in that capacity, she was going to get made fun of. It didn't matter if she was a 10 out of 10 bombshell. If she would have got on stream, they would have found something. And that's why she should have never have come onto the stream to begin with. He allowed that to happen, and that's a failure on his behalf and nobody else's. It's just the way that it was always going to go. It's again, short-sightedness on his behalf.
After years of kind of sitting on the sidelines and wanting to be part of the content, but I'm like, man, these fucking idiots are just going to say something. Finally was like, you know what? Who cares? Let's just do it anyway. And we were trying to plan like what kind of content she could be in last year. What could it be? Could it be just Q&A videos? Could it be actual gameplay? And so we kind of did a combo. We actually had a couple.
He did do both.
Q&A,
Absolutely.
and then 1 or 2 streams where we did this co-op of the Dondoko Island part of Like a Dragon Infinite Well. To be frank, the gameplay didn't really work. All right, it kind of like the game was boring. So after a couple of streams, we just cut it off.
Which she should have known, by the way, given that she did the entire thing. I believe that she beat the game and did that entire mode before DSP even got there. That was the whole thing. He spent how much time grinding out fucking like a guy before she ever showed up, because he wanted to do that mode and she had already done it. That was the premise. So it being terrible was only on, again, only on him.
And then after that, I'm going to tell you something that I've kind of alluded to, but haven't really talked much about. Kat started to experience some health problems. And because of that, her health took a turn for the worse.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been...
She has health problems, therefore her health took a turn for the worse. You don't say. You don't say, Phil.
It made sense for her to start coming on stream with the levels of stress and stuff that she was going through. Okay?
Right.
So that's why she just disappeared from my content. It wasn't that, oh, there's no content or anything we want to do. In fact, I had bought Beyond Two Souls to actually play with her and do a cold co-op playthrough of. All right.
I remember that. Everybody remembers. And they asked for it a lot.
We just said we can't do it. All right. Now, over the course of the year, the good news is...
Right. Okay, before he gets too far away from it, please note that once again, DSP is using Kat as a human fucking shield from online criticism and fallings out that he's having with people on the internet. Just like at the end of the Side Scrollers interview when he's, did you guys ever find the restraining order? Don't stop saying these things, brother. You don't want people to make fun of her. You don't want people to know your personal life and what's going on this, that, and the other. And yet when the time arises, when you've really got your back up against the wall, DSP's first fucking instinct is to hide behind his wife, which is understandable given the size of her, but completely disrespectful and counterintuitive to the conversation that we are currently having right now. The whole point of PPP making fun of her, calling her fat, this, that, and the other, is because she's free and open game because you put her on the internet like that. By continuing to provide information about her, by talking about her and divulging any health information, even if it is as simple as she has a health problem, you've only fueled the fire. You've only continued to allow the cycle to go forward. It's completely counterintuitive. And he has to know this at this point. You don't live like this for this long on the internet doing this content in this situation and not understand that. You can't. It's not possible. Nobody is that dumb, I don't think. Even Jade should get it. Shout out B-Man D-Man for the 2, of course. And he says, it's shitty to use your dying wife as a shield. Exactly. And that's all she's ever going to be for him, is a shield. She shields him from criticism and fallings out. We're going to leave it there. I don't want to be too negative now. We'll move on
Stuff got
positively.
better.
Never mind.
All right.
I agree.
It
I
improved.
agree.
And as you know, I didn't talk about it all year. That's private shit. You know, no one really needs to know about that. But that's why she disappeared from my content and hasn't come back, because we're in a situation where we're already so stressed out about all kinds of stuff going on. And that is one of the many things going on in my private life right now. It's not everything, to be clear, and I'll talk about that in a second. But it's just one of many things. All right. And stupid camera, stop doing AI bullshit.
Stop, stupid camera. Stop doing literally the thing that I fucking paid excess money for you to do. Stop doing that. I hate it.
Basically, after that, we got questioned nonstop. Why is Kat not in your content? Where did she disappear to? And people speculate, oh, you got divorced. She's not there with you anymore. And all this bullshit and nonsense, right? It's all the same detractor crap that they all say. It's all bullshit. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So finally, you know, fast forward to this year and today and all this stuff going on. And all of a sudden, after weeks of PPP escalating this rhetoric on his show, this toxic stuff about me, which again, I don't give a shit. I really don't. I've got thick skin. I don't care what you say about me. Say it, get your rise, get people to toss you money for it. I just don't care. I don't.
But that's already such a weird fucking predicament to be in, and honestly sets the boundaries for what your friendship or working relationship allows. It sets the boundaries at a very weird spot. And this is probably why he's found himself in this position in the first place, because he essentially started this relationship by saying, yes, you can walk all over me. Yes, I will roll over and cuck out to everything you say and never hold my own and never fight back on any of this. That's the way this relationship started. So of course PPP was going to, push it and push it and push it for the content's sake, because he was essentially allowed to from jump. This is why when you meet people, when you start to interact with them, you again have to kind of conduct yourself in a way that is representative of the way that you would like to be treated and kind of set the standard. And DSP doesn't do that because he's a fucking beta cuck, really. Thank you, Some Gator, for the 2. I always thought Jasper was a future pity point too. Well, apparently it was this super secret rabbit that nobody knew about except for PPP. I'm going to have to watch the clip for the full context, but I also, Jasper is definitely a future pity point. Absolutely. And Redbird earlier with the 2 saying, women hide behind men. His father never taught him. I would imagine that the amount of disappointment that Dave actually felt for Phil was enough for him to not teach him almost anything. And that's why he is the way that he is. That's my Theo theory, of course. Shout out Theo, obviously.
But when you start bringing up my family members for literally no reason, besides, oh, maybe this will also get something out of the audience. Maybe this will get a rise out of Phil. Because if you want to know the truth, I think that's what this is all about. I think that PPP wants to get a rise out of me. He wants to get
obviously
freak out and start going full path number 2. The return of the king of hate, the angry man who just wants to rage against everything and burn everything down around him and hurt everyone around him because all I care about is myself and, go crazy. And I totally feel like that's what it is. All right. But basically, when you start bringing up my wife, for absolutely no reason. Again, there's no reason. It's not like
he's done in the past.
Content. She's not. Right. She was in like 3-4 streams last year. She stopped being part of the content. She's not affecting anything. So it's that simple. All right. It is. It's just that simple. There's no reason to ever bring her up at all. But he keeps doing it. Now, of course, you guys wouldn't know this, but I've spoken with him about this many times. Okay? Many times. This isn't the first time, second time. And every time I say, this has to stop, he apologizes. He says, I got too worked up. I got into my rhetoric again. I'm sorry. Okay, fine.
No, but that and again, where he's fucked up here. If you are continuously moving the fucking line backwards, hey, don't say this, and then he says it again, he goes, oh, I'm sorry, and then you're like, all right, I'll let it slide this time, and then he does it again, you're all right, I'll let it slide this time. It's kind of like a kid. If you allow them to get away with these things, it does seem kind of silly to then all of a sudden be like, well, I've told you 9 times, and this time, the 10th time is the line. Why would it be? Why would anything change when you've clearly demonstrated you couldn't give a fuck less other than just saying it in the DMs, I don't know.
And then
he should have just put his foot down the first fucking time, and that should have been the final time. Simple as. He does it one time, you go, hey, not cool. We're not doing that, period. If you want to fucking do it, go somewhere else. That would have been that. But instead, he let it continue.
Pass, and then he does it again. It's like, wait, what are you doing? We had the conversation already. You understood it was wrong. You apologized for it. So if you did that, why are you doing it again?
Because he can get away with it, and it gets a reaction.
So this week, it's this simple. He won't stop. He's been doing it nonstop, like 2 shows in a row. And he basically feels like he just has free reign to say or do whatever he wants.
Because that's what you showed him.
Whatever it is. I really don't give a shit. Okay? But I'm not going to let a man just publicly bring my family into his content because he feels like whatever, whether it's he thinks it's fun.
But he did. You could say you're not going to, but he absolutely fucking did. And you did nothing about it for how many times in a row? I guess he would have to change, add one word. Or 2 words. I'm no longer going to allow him to do that. To say that I'm not going to is just a lie, though, because you did. Thank you, Vaporware 336 for the $22. Our biggest support of the day. Thank you for the 22 saying, the return of the king of hate shit was so corny throughout this. When you realize this guy has the spine made of Christmas crackers and gets his ego bruised by good faith suggestions. Total 220 behavior. Absolutely. Oh, that's why it's the 22, isn't it? 220. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you pointed that out and brought it back into people's memory from hours ago or an hour ago at this point or so, because you're right.
Funny. He thinks it's free speech. He thinks this will get a rise out of me.
And it has gotten a rise out of you, absolutely.
From doing it. I can't stop him from making that level of content. But what I can do is refuse to make content with him because I'm not going to stand for that kind of behavior. All right? If he was married and he had a wife, regardless of how she looked, how she acted, whatever, I would not insult his wife, period. There's just no reason for it, Even if I have a million problems with him, I wouldn't insult his wife. In fact, even when we went as hard as we did on Review Tech USA, I said I really don't want to talk about his family and his wife and that stuff going on. I'd rather you go at the individual. You go at their misdeeds and the things that they're doing wrong publicly. You don't try to go behind the scenes at the low blow jugular shit. I'm not that kind of guy.
Okay, but you were getting into bed with people who are those kind of people, right? Like, this is why you don't associate with people who don't share the same morals, or they don't move the same way that you move. This is why you should be surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded individuals. That way, if things like this happen or you get into these sorts of altercations, you guys kind of have the same, the same beginning base moral understanding of how you're going to move forward. If you don't agree with the way that they operated, you don't like that they come after people's families or they do gay ops or this, that, or the other, then you should have never have worked with them. It really is that simple. If you see the way that these people move on the internet and you don't agree with it, do not involve yourself. Period. That's it. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. It doesn't take a genius to understand. You just don't move with people you don't agree with.
All right. So it was the same thing there. So it's that simple. And that's why I can't do it anymore. I'm not going to be doing a show with this guy who's going to be constantly bringing up my wife in a toxic, negative manner.
Yes, period, sis. Indeed.
Right? So tonight on my late stream.
Yo, who is that? I don't know if you guys saw it. Little derail. That whatever rapper the other day was saying that he uses the finger painting emoji more than any other emoji is wild. I saw that. And you're right, period, sis.
Excuse me.
That's what he was giving.
At 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, Pacific Daylight Time, over on the DSP Reacts channel and on my Kick channel, I will be solo streaming Smart Guys covering SmackDown and Raw from this week. It's going to be wrestling commentary and a lot of interaction with you guys because this is the difference.
Is his name Lil Derail said that? That's so funny. I don't listen to that dude's music, but I saw that clip.
Now it's going to be me and the chat. So it's going to be a little bit different kind of show, more of an interactive dynamic. I'll be shouting out contributions right away. We'll be having that conversation immediately. And we'll see how it goes. Like I said, if it goes well, if people show up and engage and support, I will continue to do the show through WrestleMania, and then we'll see what happens after WrestleMania. If I continue to do the show or not, I'm not sure. All right.
So
I feel like
Smart Guys is essentially turning into the pre-stream, but with wrestling, is what he's saying. That if there's going to be the same style of interaction, if there's the same style of shouting out in the middle of the segments and stories, then it's essentially just pre-stream plus wrestling. Sound good?
Over 2 months of work into this show, and I don't want to just throw the show away simply because we're making a change in format like this. And we're at the hottest time of wrestling right now. Like, there's actually a lot to talk about that happened this week on SmackDown and Raw that I want to address and give you my thoughts. And I think it's great. So hopefully you guys will still show up for the show tonight, despite the fact that PPP will not be on it. Okay? Okay, and we'll go from there. Now, if tonight I do the show solo and it's a disaster and no one shows up,
right,
and no one engages and no one supports and no one likes it, then I'll just cancel it. I mean, I don't want to. I really don't. I want to do the show, but I'm not going to continue to do a show no one wants. You know, there's no point. So let's see what happens.
And spoiler alert, it did make money. I'm not quite sure how much money it did make, but yesterday he got on the pre-stream saying that it made more money because of not having to split it with PPP than any Smart Guys beforehand. Therefore, Smart Guys is going to continue into WrestleMania or whatever. And he doesn't know after that, but definitely until WrestleMania. So my hope, fingers crossed, you guys are saying $300. He made it over 300. Okay, thank you, thank you. My hope is that Smart Guys, the first one was a fluke in order to get him to bite and continue to do the show. And moving forward, nobody fucking tunes in, but he's already committed to doing it till WrestleMania, and it becomes a waste of his time. That is my hope. That is how I hope the LARPers have egged him and poked and prodded him into that direction. But I guess we'll see how it goes. Mr. Gorehowl with the 5, thank you so much. All I wanted to do was extort and rob people, not kill them. A comment from Phil after joining the cartel. Right. I don't agree with killing people, dude. I just wanted to rob them. And these guys, they went over the line, you know? That's him. Absolutely.
Right? Now, what I'd like to do, because not only there's a million questions here about all of this. All right, there is. Let's just briefly talk about what's happened and the change in attitude towards me and all of that since August of last year, because all I can really do is speculate.
Okay.
But at the same time,
so now we've got to go back to August of last year.
All right. First of all, right now, PPP is sitting on his Twitter, very hurriedly and scaredly tweeting. I don't know why.
And that was some of the, and those were the, I showed you tweets beforehand. There were tweets during the pre-stream where he was saying things like, have me on the stream, Phil, tonight. We could hash this out. DSP's running. He's scared of me, blah, blah, blah. Like, those were the kinds of tweets that were being tweeted pretty much at this exact moment while the guy was live.
It's like the guy's terrified.
But no, PPP was never scared. He was actively asking to come on the show so that they could talk about it person to person. And DSP ran. The thing that he said, that other people did to him in the past.
I'm going to say or something. I don't know. I don't get it. It's like he still doesn't get it of who I am today.
Yeah, scaredly asking to come on stream. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Saying a million things. Oh, this and that about all toxic stuff. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not sitting there reading your Twitter. People are talking about it in my chat. I'm never going to read it. I don't care. All right. I don't know what his problem is, but yes, I did watch Raw Arcane. I'm ready for tonight's show. So here's what happened. Here's the history. And here's why I feel it's gone this way. Okay. I'm going to tell you as matter of factly as I can from the knowledge that I have, but I'm not going to reveal any private stuff or anything
put it
like
quickly.
that. I'm going to be fair here. I'm not going to be some kind of a snake in a dick, but here's what I think has happened. Okay. Originally, back in August and then into that early September. All right.
Right.
I think that when I reached out to Kino Casino and then they responded and we did that initial content, which if you remember, it was me appearing on their show for the first interview and hangout session, watching and kind of looking at the toxic lol cow content together. And then it was us doing the interview with Josh Moon, the owner of Kiwi Farms. And then it was the co-op gameplay of Chain Together, right?
Okay.
I feel like we struck a hot iron or whatever the hell.
By the way, if any of you were there during the Chain Together stream, I was on WPIG 1651 for Act the King that night. I don't even remember if we did Act the King. I do regret not joining his stupid fucking lobby when he had it open for 30 seconds. Sometimes I think about that whenever he brings up the game and I'm like, damn, I should have joined. It would have been at least funny for a second. And I didn't. Ack.
You want to say?
Yo, thank you so much, Panko Breadcrumbs, for the 220, saying, and now the guy loses the only friend he has. Again! It's true. It's true. It's almost like everybody that he works with manages to get tired of his bullshit and can't put up with his nonsense anymore because it's not worth their time. It's a shame that everybody in life is like that, and it's not DSP's fault, right?
Whatever you call
Thank
it,
you
I
so
don't
much
know
for the
what they're
220.
saying, but like that was something that had never been done before. Everyone else had always treated me like dirt and never even giving me a chance to speak. And they did the opposite. And because of that, it actually exploded. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was excited about it. Like, holy shit. DSP is actually interesting and entertaining when you give him the opportunity to do these kind of interactions instead of just completely just fucking deriding him, which is all people had done for like a decade, right? Then they went on vacation.
They didn't say that. He wasn't
entertaining. I'm not
entertaining.
gonna fault them for that.
People very frequently made sure that Kino Casino knew that DSP was actually a detriment to their streams. It was the least entertaining aspect. Their numbers looked way worse than when Phil was on than when he wasn't. You could visually see the numbers.
Like that at all.
I don't know what he's talking about.
They went on vacation for a month, which had already been pre-planned and all of that. And I do feel like that sadly kind of stifled that momentum that we initially had, because when you're sitting around for a month and you're like, gee, what content will come next? And there's none. Now, I did my best during that month to maintain. If you remember, that was the month where I interviewed Keemstar. on the Level 1 podcast right here.
Your worst
And that
interview, I
went
remember.
really well. Again, that kind of exploded, right? It went crazy how popular it went, and people loved it. And said,
No, they
more,
didn't.
Phil, more. Give us
Again, DSP's biggest viewer base is detractors, and every single detractor will tell you that that was his worst interview, that absolutely nothing of substance was said, and it was a complete waste of everybody's time, including Keemstar. And it didn't even result in DSP going on LolCal Live, which was, I think, the ultimate play. And it didn't even happen. So it was a giant nothing burger through and through.
more of this kind of content. So then I had Stuttering Craig on the show, and the guy literally exposed himself the most I think anyone has ever exposed himself, completely went mask off, freaking out, saying crazy stuff. I want to donate the money I made off your detractors. Wait, I want to give it to you. Wait, what? No, fuck you, Phil. Like, wait, what? So that was a wild interview. It really was. It was crazy. Never expected it to go that way. That was good content, right? Then
it was good content for detractors, but he is blatantly misrepresenting exactly how that interview went for his own ego. But that's okay. We'll move on.
the interview,
I don't care about the
reacted
history,
to my
really.
documentary by June the King. And then I had the interview with June the King.
We were there. We
Admittedly,
know.
I don't think the interview with June the King went the way anyone wanted. It was pretty darn boring because we all thought that maybe he'd have stuff to say about, researching me and stuff like that, right? And it just ended up being kind of a blah conversation until we actually started talking about other creators, for example, Wings of Redemption. Then finally, there's a little bit of redeeming qualities in that interview and stuff like that, right?
What a
Then after that-
shitty fucking thing to say about somebody too. And it's no wonder that people don't like working with DSP. This is the kind of representation that you can be met with after you give DSP a piece of content. After you go on his stream and you make him money, he will then go on to say that your interview was fucking boring, right? That you offered nothing of substance, and it wasn't only until the latter half when the subject finally changed into something that it wasn't even supposed to be about that it actually got entertaining. No, but no wonder nobody wants to fucking deal with you, because you can't just not say anything when it comes time to it. June the King never did nothing to him. He did nothing but give him his time and his fucking patience and trying to give him as fair a shake as you possibly could for a documentary. And in return, he gets met with that his interview was fucking boring. Sorry, June the King seems like a rather boring individual. That's why he makes fucking documentaries. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but he's a very monotone, calm, I'm not going to say logistical style, but, a common sense style individual. What do you want? It just seems like a shitty thing to do.
When the
Yeah,
casino
June
came
is
back,
boring, but you don't say
we kind of
it.
tried to resume and pick up where we left off, but this is where things fell apart. And I honestly don't think it's anyone's fault who was involved. Allow me to explain. All right? For many, many
Yo, Withholder Crusher saying ban PPP, bring back Derek and Chad is wild. Holy shit. I've never seen that.
many years, every single
Is
person on the
logistical a
internet
Zoomer code
wanted to
word
use
for
me
autism?
as their
Potentially.
easy, low-hanging
Moving
fruit,
forward, it
their
can
easy
be.
payday, their target where, hey, if I have a day where I just make fun of Darkside Phil, I'll make profit because he's the
But Strider, you're right. June was not boring on TBS. That was far more entertaining than what DSP did, which just goes to show you that DSP is the problem. He's a terrible host. He doesn't know how to ask questions. He doesn't know how to make anything entertaining. He doesn't know how to work with a response. He just lets it fall flat and goes, okay.
meme that everyone likes to make fun of, right? And this just persisted for the longest damn time. Well, all of a sudden, now that I was actually getting positive attention, people were listening to what I had to say instead of just deriding me and writing me off. Now was the opportunity to clap back. Take a look at the interview with Josh Moon. It went really well. I said
Was
my
that
side,
him
he said
clapping
his side.
back?
We didn't really come to an agreement or a middle road, but it was still fascinating content, right?
Was it fascinating content aside from the Derek thing, and was this his form of clapping back? Because if I recall correctly, it was pretty much three people telling DSP how it was really irresponsible that he let a pedophile hang out in his chat. That's pretty much all I remember from that interview, actually, because the rest of it was nonsense and a waste of time.
It was really, really good. So the whole idea was, let's keep making
Yeah,
that
you're right. I Can't Unfuck Your Sister is also another memorable aspect of that. You're right. How could I forget?
Content, because Kino Casino is a great middle ground for that kind of content. You could have me on versus these other people who've always been toxic or accusatory towards me, and let's hash it out. Let's actually see what your real problem is with me, and let's figure it out together, right? And that was the whole point. Okay, that's how it was going to go. And of course, occasionally there was going to be other content where maybe I would do some gameplay with those guys. I would show up on their show and there'd be another interview where we talk about other things, right?
Right.
And then systematically what happened was very simple, all right?
Systematically.
Every single person who we reached out to and contacted and said, hey, listen, now is the time. Because over the years, you've been so critical of Phil. So let's do this. Let's do this show. let's have Kino Casino be the neutral place to do this. You know, internet blood sport, right? Let's do it. Let's hash it out. And it could end up like the Josh Moon interview. It could end up like the Stuttering Craig interview. It could be like who knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be exciting content for everybody involved.
He keeps using this term internet blood sport, and I don't think that he really understands the type of people that used to be involved in what was known as internet blood sports, or maybe still is, right? The Medicare types. Andy was there. People like Tonka Saw, fucking Mundane Matt, like them type of people. I don't think that DSP belongs in that running. I don't know that he ever did. And the fact that he doesn't really understand it or have a grasp of it just goes to show you how much he rushes into things and does it and has no fucking clue how to actually capitalize on it or what he's getting himself into. And he does that all of the time. He always talks out of his ass and pretends like he knows everything just to wind up finding out rather abruptly that he has no idea. He never did. He just jumped head first and didn't have a plan.
And all we heard was no, 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 no. Okay? Why did we hear no? Well, all I can do is speculate. But my speculation is pretty simple. These people who over the years have always wanted to come at me have always wanted to come at me because I was the easy win. I was the easy target. Everyone else was already doing it. You already know there's an installed, established group of people who are going to throw you money if you bring me up in a negative or toxic manner.
And that's what DSP would call supporting the content that you like to see. Never get it twisted. That is exactly what that is, and there's no shame in doing it if that's content that you like and want to support. That is literally the exact type of thing that he asks for on his streams on a daily basis.
They're brainwashed to do it. It's literally a cult on the internet.
But it's a cult, right? So, okay.
Since now
enjoying content that you like, it makes you a cult member.
Well, guess
dumbass.
What? I don't want to do it anymore. No. When it's going to be fair, there's going to be an actual interview where Phil can talk and I can talk, and it's not completely one-sided. Fuck that. I want nothing to do with that because that's not what I was ever interested in. I just wanted the easy win. I just wanted to go back and beat the dead horse the 100th time to get some more money. I never really cared about crapping on Phil. I cared about the easy target. And now if that target's not easy anymore, I'm just not going to do it. All right? So I'm not talking, this happened once, this happened twice. This happened like a ton of times where we were trying to get people lined up. We were going to do this work together. Just fail, fail, fail. And there's nothing we can really do about that, right?
And that's exactly what should have happened. Big ups to everybody who refused to even give DSP the time of day. You played your part incredibly well, and you felted him the whole time. He's seething months and months later over this publicly. Congratulations. Thank you for the story. Some gator for the two saying people need to tell DSP no more often. Yeah, and that's been true his entire fucking life, including with his parents. They should have... I can't think of a better example of poor parenting and raising a poor adult than DSP, really.
So in that regard, okay, I can't fault Kino Casino at all. I don't think that it's their fault that stuff that happened like that. I feel like if people had bought in, there might have been some times when I came out looking better, other times when the other person came out looking better, and I would have been fine with that. Like, seriously, that would have been good to me, and it would have been good content, and man, it would have been variety stuff. I still would have been able to do my stuff on my channel, but still brought drama into it time to time. I would have been able to be in their stuff. It just didn't work out like that for whatever reason. Was it because the month vacation? I don't know. But, you know, that's life. That's what happens. Sometimes shit doesn't work out, right? So we did still try. If you do take a look, I tried to do more stuff with them in October. It didn't really click. Tried to do the whole Gunt Busters event where we were going to go after Ethan Ralph, and we all dressed up like the Ghostbusters.
That was stupid and a waste of time. I have to say, what a boring ass stream that
didn't
was.
Really work because at the time, no one really cared about Ethan Ralph, but a lot of stuff was going on with Review Tech. So when I came on the show, we ended up talking more about Review Tech than Ralph, and then it kind of got derailed and it was confusing. And then for Halloween, we did the co-op.
Was it confusing? And that's the kind of thing that DSP will just throw out there. He'll just say that, and I don't know that was the experience. I don't know where he drew that from. The content was the content. Whether you were there for Ethan Ralph or you were felting RTU, I don't think that anybody was confused about the content as they watched it. It seemed pretty self-explanatory. I don't know. He just pulls these kinds of descriptions, and I don't know where they come from. Shout out Adam Corona for the two saying, would you rather interview DSP or co-op with Cat? I'd rather co-op with Cat. An interview with DSP would be a huge waste of time. And again, not going to give him the time of day. But also, co-op with Cat, apparently she's fucking dying, dude. I could be like one of the last people to ever have contact with Cat if that's the case. That's pretty robust and meaningful to somebody. Probably the guy. Imagine I played the last video game with Cat and DSP didn't, his own wife. That would be a felting right there. Come on now. And thank you, Maximus, for the 3 months, saying hard to raise a complete narcissist and not have him turn out rotten, though. Dude's just a natural, mean-spirited piece of shit. That's true. It's true. Maybe there was nothing they could do the whole time. Maybe they had the same mentality he did. They just threw their hands up and said, I don't know, man, and moved on. We will never know. Thank you for the 3 months, of course.
Of zombies, which I thought worked, but the thing is, that's more for my audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, the zombies co-op is more for a DSP gaming audience. It's not for a casino audience. The casino wants the drama. Where was the drama in that? There was none, right? And then the last thing that I really did with them was the election special, which honestly I thought was fun, but I was already doing my own content and I couldn't just drop everything to be on their show. And I did jump on for a little while and I enjoyed what I did when I was doing it, but I just couldn't be there all night. Okay? And that's really where the actual cooperative content kind of ended. You know, we talked, hey, maybe I'll come on the show again. Maybe we'll do something else together, yada, yada, yada. We talked about it, and nothing really happened, all right? And then finally...
lot of history lesson, not a lot of substance. Just want to point that out. I know I'm letting him ramble for context purposes so we can set the stage, but there's really nothing of substance here.
Where we actually did come
You guys were here for all of it. I know you were. I seen your names.
Was the smart guys coming back, the wrestling commentary. What Jasper's doing down there is distracting me. I really feel like that was the best idea because I love pro wrestling. PPP likes pro wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that together was like the perfect combo, and it was going to work. And to be honest, I think it does work. Okay? I do. I think that the show is great. All right?
He very quickly changed his tune, again, relevant now, so I'll tell you about it. The smart guys that he ran last night, or rather Thursday night. The smart guys that he ran Thursday night did so well that he completely changed his tune and said that it was better because PPP wasn't over there yelling and screaming and blubbering and constantly asking for donations and this, that, and the other. And he was more able to get his thoughts out there and communicate with the chat, and therefore it was a better experience. So all of this talk about it working well with PPP was all just to, I guess, try and save face or kind of smooth the tide for whatever that was worth.
Yeah. That's kind of the content history that we
all
have,
cope.
Right?
You're right.
I don't think that it's anyone's particular fault, all right? But then what ended up happening is this year, basically, okay, I really have to be fair here. I pretty much
would hope so.
With PPP directly. That's it. I've had some conversations with Andy about stuff behind the scenes, but not very many. It's mostly me always talking to PPP. We're the ones who are planning, brainstorming, having the discussions about stuff, content, stuff like that. Andy, I don't know to what extent he is involved in the planning of the show, all right? But for the most part, I'm always talking with PPP. So I just want this to come off fairly. I don't want to be like, oh, the casino. Not really. It's really PPP who I talk to when it comes to this stuff.
We love Andy. He's our gaming soulmate.
It's fun because a couple times we've talked, and we're like, man, we should do some gameplay together, and we should do some stuff like that because we're gamers. It just never happens. Like,
we're
I've
gamers.
expressed interest in that.
Wait, guys, we have to collab. We're gamers. Obviously, every gamer is going to be on the Atlas stream from here on out. We have to collab. It's that simple.
Sure.
We love video games.
Gameplay. I think my viewers would like that. Your viewers would like that. It doesn't happen. Okay? I don't know why. It just never came together. I would still, to this day, I think it would be awesome if we did some co-op gameplay. Okay? But it just never happens, right?
All right, there you go. So again, because it's relevant, I'm gonna pull these up for you here. A couple tweets. I know you guys love the tweet segments, okay? You can no longer... There it is. So here is Warski, shortly after PPP had its tirade on Twitter, saying, okay, so we can stop pretending and we don't need to be giving any more charity to DSP. Phew, I felt like I was underwater with this shit. This is his... Guys, this is his gaming soulmate saying this. This is so fucked up. They were gaming lovers even. Come on, Andy. He had nothing but positive things to say about you. And then we also had this, as you can see, I posted much later into the night, 11:29. So this is going to be after the stream. But this just goes to show you how Warski was really thinking, saying that the end game was to make funny content, do a lie detector video, and other wild ideas that they had. Every idea was basically shot down. We went all in to get and see how far we could take it to make jokes content, but it went nowhere. Then PPP made some jokes about him and he couldn't read the room and decided to kick PPP out of Smart Guys, so it was all for naught. Funny thing is, we had a fantastic idea to have a collaboration with LolCow Live with Phil, and he got all mad at us because it was his day off. But then, on our days off, he was asking us for a favor after favor. He also didn't want to work with Keem, making him praise Keem today even more insane. He would even message while we were live or ask us live in chat and make things uncomfortable. It was so tough to keep up the act and be nice to see if this egg would hatch into something useful. So it was all a ruse the whole time. All of the fairness that he just displayed to Andy, and he will continue to display to Andy during this stream, was all for naught because Andy hated him more than PPP even did. PPP could suffer through the content and try and get this bit, you know, further along and try and actually cash in on the grift. Andy couldn't even fucking stomach talking to the guy long enough to keep up with him. And if you watch the Kino Casino clip from last night, he basically says as much. He doesn't even know what DSP's goals are on a regular basis. Apparently, he didn't know that eating was the creme de la creme of content. Goes to show you how much he knows about content creation, obviously. I just thought that was so funny that we took the time out to praise Andy and be fair, and he hated him the most. Anyway, we'll move on positively. Sorry, I don't mean to derail.
About more content for me to be involved in, you know, crossover content with the casino and stuff like that. But sadly, all those ideas that we had last year are pretty dead. You know, there's no one who wants to come on the show and do a interview/internet blood sport with me. Instead, it's got to be, you know, other stuff. And we definitely tossed around a lot of different ideas. Okay, we did.
PPP drop DMs. Okay. I'm gonna have things to look at today.
Pure drama. And if you were on the show yesterday or you watched my podcast yesterday, I told you that I feel there's 3 routes I can take forward as a content creator.
Oh my God.
Road number 1 is be a complete shill sellout. Take every sponsorship
They're still smoking crack.
But say everything is good, give you referral links, ads out the ass, be a complete shill. And I would definitely make bank doing that. Road number 2 is to be a complete drama queen asshole, to regain the King of Hate title, attack everyone on the internet, cause tons and tons of crap for everyone, but in the same time create such a whirlpool, a vortex of drama that undoubtedly everyone would be talking about it. I'd be at odds with everyone. It would be absolutely crazy, lose control, but everyone would be talking about it. Attention out the ass, you know, it would explode.
Oh, and yeah, it would explode. Number 3, Again, just going to show how delusional he is that he thinks he can sell drama content. He is just not entertaining enough to the vast majority of people who watch drama content. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the talent for it. As much as I know a lot of you guys don't care for PPP, I don't like his style. You don't like the way that he yells and screams and hypes things up. That does work on some people. There is entertainment and energy in that, even if it's not your style of content. Yeah, I think you have to acknowledge that. DSP can't even do that. He doesn't appeal really to anybody that isn't mentally deficient. It's just not going to work for him that way.
Which is the option that I've really been trying hard to work and maintain, is to just be me. To not be fake either way, but instead to just be me and maintain the course that I have. But the only way I'm going to actually be successful at doing that is essentially to have to ask for contributions every single stream, because that's the only way that I'm going to hit goals and be successful, because I'm not getting the sponsors and I'm not getting the drama money. Okay? So I'll tell you right now, PPP absolutely thinks the best course of action is the drama route.
Yeah, because that's what sells his show.
What's his whole show about?
Right.
Right?
That's what
drama.
I said.
His entire show, the entirety of it, it's just covering people in a dramatic way. And I get it. And I have no issue with that. Now, listen, I don't have to agree with that content, and I don't have to like that content, but I certainly can respect that hustle. I certainly can respect that life, okay? But it doesn't mean I have to live it. And
this is that fucking flip-flop that I can't stand. How many goddamn years did we talk about how trauma is the worst thing ever, and it's making everybody on the internet toxic, and it's completely changed the landscape of content creation and all of this shit. But now we have to respect the hustle. Now that we know somebody that has enriched our life, now we have to, you know, give them their flowers and say, well, it's okay they do that. I can disagree, but, you know, I'm not gonna do it, and that's all I can say on the matter. Now we're rolling over and cucking out. It's just so detestable. Stand on what you fucking said before and say it like you mean it. That's why nobody fucking listens to DSP or takes any of his opinions into actual consideration when they think. Well, also because he's dumb as shit and you shouldn't let this guy determine what you do, but he doesn't stand for anything. He has no morals. He's a fence sitter, and nobody can fucking respect a fence sitter to this capacity.
Basically, PPP this year wanted to get me heavily involved in all kinds of drama and stuff. All right. But that's as far as I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you anything because that's private shit. All right. But basically, I kind of turned it down, left, right, up, down, in every direction. Not to say that I wasn't willing to play ball or try stuff, but I was convinced. I keep turning this camera on and off. It's annoying me. I was convinced that, sadly, if I did go as
Why
far
is he fucking with
and
this
do these
camera?
things that
It's
these
not even
guys-
on
or I
him.
said these guys, it was basically just, PPP. The stuff that they had these plans for. I was going to have to throw away 17 years of work that I had, put into the blood, the sweat, the tears that I had put into my work.
I was gonna say, when did this guy ever cry for his content? But there was actually multiple streams in which this guy was blubbering like a fucking idiot on stream. So I guess that kind of answered itself. Thank you, Lost and Hollow, for the 2, saying the truth is whatever is convenient at the time. It's got to fit the narrative. As long as it fits the narrative, it doesn't even matter if it's true. You're right, Lost and Hollow. You're right.
To get where I am today, because as I said yesterday, if I go all the way into the drama, 100%, okay, I can't go back. You understand that, right? Like if I 100% become a drama creator, someone who's all about this dramatic content, going at everyone's throat,
Okay.
there's no way that I could continue to also be the chill gamer, right?
But then how did he do it when it came to RTU? How many RTU segments and duty stream segments have we done on the pre-stream to then immediately follow it up by fucking gameplay? It's just not true. These things absolutely can be true at the same time. You can do both of these style of contents. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. In the same way that you could sub out fucking DSPN for a drama segment, it doesn't make a difference. The only difference you're going to see is the people in his chat that are unironically fans of his will not want that content. And the people who do want that content probably won't pay him for it. That's it.
I couldn't do it. It would end. And I would have to 100% change the format and the content. It wouldn't work together. And quite frankly,
And you're right, MC2 Tech Reviews, Andy does it. Andy Worski is capable of doing Kino Casino and then going onto his own streams and streaming him playing video games. Now, I've heard people say that that's boring as shit, and I would imagine that they don't get nearly as many viewers, but he's still capable of doing it. I think that he still has some sort of audience for it. Why isn't that good enough for DSP?
One here, during the fall, when I was during this kind of fluctuating period of doing drama with Kino Casino and still doing my gaming content, many of my viewers, longtime viewers from over the years reached out to me and said, Phil, we just don't like where we see you going. We understand why you're doing it. Look, you're getting extra views. You're getting extra popularity. People are coming over from the casino and they're contributing to your content. They're making you have the biggest rise you've had in over a decade. So
they fell for the grift.
It's a means
they
to an
believed
end.
PPP.
We hope that you just don't lose yourself in all of this. Okay? And now I'm going to be honest with everyone. This is something that I've told no one, actually.
You guys are saying who said this, but there was actually people in his chat and people super chatting at times when he was doing this content that were like, DSP, I don't like your drama content. I only show up for the gaming. Now, I can't confirm that they weren't, LARPers. They're dense regardless because they gave him money. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't prove that they were being genuine, but those people did genuinely exist at some point. I do remember that.
I've had private conversations with Kat, my wife, about it. And, again, when you're going through stuff in life, that's way more dire and serious and fucked up stuff, okay? And then you're going to go to the internet and you're going to do drama content. It's kind of like, what? Like, don't you have enough going on in your real life that you're dealing with, that you're juggling, that you don't need to be also manufacturing this fucking drama on the internet just to make a paycheck? You know what I mean? And we had these discussions like, get it, I'm making more money, but we're already completely stressed out about all of this shit that's going on in our real life. Why do we also need to have this drama shit on the internet? It's like drama in real life, drama on the internet, drama everywhere I turn. You got to have a break from it at some point,
But internet drama isn't real drama because it's on the fucking internet. Like, I know that he lives on the internet and never leaves because he doesn't go outside and he doesn't have friends, doesn't have other hobbies, but like drama on the internet is fun because you can literally just walk away and it makes no difference until people start doing gay ops, in which case, things change. But but for the most part, talking shit on the internet is a fun hobby because you can actually just leave at any time.
And so we talked about it and said,
seems pretty straightforward. I don't know.
Just like years ago when there was a possibility that I would be working with Keemstar and maybe I would be part of Lolcow Live and all of that, had the same conversations. Like, no, this is not the right choice because if we go the drama route, I'll be stuck there forever. I won't ever be able to return. That's like once you jump off the cliff, you can't turn around in midair and climb back up. And it would be a cliff I would be jumping off of. I totally feel it. All right. So I'm sorry. You know, that's just what happened. We made a decision. I can't just be doing this over the top.
We made a decision
constantly. It's not going to work. Every once in a while, it's all right to do some kind of content like that for variety and if it's refreshing or if you know what I'm saying. But you can't just do that constantly.
So you can jump in and out of drama content whenever you want and just work it into your already existing schedule. And you don't have to go all in and you know, balls to the wall on something that you don't want to do. It is possible then. So everything that he just said for the last 36 minutes about how that's not possible, you can just forget it and continue to move on positively forward listening to his nonsense. Sound good? Sounds good to me. This is why it's absolutely imperative that all of his legitimate fans are mentally deficient and are incapable of actual thought. Because the second you listen to DSP for any amount of time consecutively, he immediately starts, you know, contradicting himself and being hypocritical.
Right. You know what? Someone actually just brought up my own line that I forgot about. Once you put on the clown makeup, you can't ever take it off again. So if I jump fully into this drama content and this is who I am and I become the villain of the internet and I'm just, you know, sure, I'd get popularity. Sure, you'd have places like Kino Casino and Lolcow Live and everyone talking about me and covering me. But then that's it. It's like, you're giving up. I've given up at making any kind of stuff that I feel good about or meaningful about.
Then
and
don't
listen,
do it.
Other people probably do feel good about that content.
I can't stand these two streams back to back, actually, because I feel like we wasted an entire like 2 hours talking about everything he said in the last one. Because it's very clear that the options 1 and 2 were never even worth talking about. I can't say it enough. We spent so much of that stream putting up hypotheticals that would never happen so that he could ultimately pick option 3 and never change. And I do have to give a big ups to one Inked Blessing, who I messaged during all that nonsense, telling him about the options. And I hadn't made it to option 3 yet. And he goes, oh, let me guess. Option 3 is just continued begging and doing the same thing. And he's not going to change. And I told him I didn't know. I didn't get there yet. And that was ultimately what happened. So big ups to one Inked Blessing for seeing right through the bullshit. And he didn't even have to watch the stream. Truly a detractor's detractor at heart.
And that's okay if they do. But I'm wired different than them. And it's okay for people who are in different walks of life, of different age ranges, of different experiences, to have different opinions. That's the variety. That's the spice of life, is that there's different people who have these different takes. If everyone was of the same mind, life would be boring. You could have someone over here that's all about drama.
Real quick, because he's asking what the 3 options were. It was shilling, it was drama, and it was continuing to beg daily for money to hit goals. So he was never going to get any sort of opportunity from a company. He's not cut out for drama. Of course, begging was the answer. Doing nothing is always the easiest option.
You can have someone over here that's not, and that's okay. But it just seems to me like on the internet, you've either got to be black or white. You're either all the way or you're not. And I don't get that. I just don't. It actually is pretty much annoying me because I would like every once in a while, if something stupid's going on, like if Review Tech is being an asshole to me again and I'm just kind of bored there, I need to vent, that I could just open up his stream and laugh at him for a podcast, and then we could just go back to normalcy. But the internet doesn't seem to think that. They think, oh, you're either all in or you're not. Man, you said you weren't going to do this content anymore, so how dare you go back and have him do it?
That's what he said. That's what he said.
No, really.
Wait a minute. No, fuck you. That's bullshit. What the fuck do you mean the internet said that? Nobody's ever thought that in their entire fucking life. That's literally his talking point. He just said about the clown makeup thing. He said, whatever. I don't give a fuck anymore. We're moving on positive. Sub-Zero-ish with the 5. Thank you so much. The sour grapes are off the chart. Dude only has one path forward because he's only catering to regards with his content. By the way, Kat agrees. At this point, I don't think she has an opportunity to disagree. So thank you so much for the 5. It's true. He set himself up for failure.
That's just so ignorant of a mindset that you have to be all in. You don't have to be. You could do different things, you know? And that's kind of what I would like to do. I really like making gameplay, chilling with you guys and doing variety content. Like the Lego stream last night is great. I like the wrestling commentary on Smart Guys. I love doing this podcast, and I like gaming. These are all things I like. Will any of those things particularly ever blow up huge and become giant and get me thousands of viewers and make me bajillions of dollars? Probably not.
They could if you were entertaining.
Because I work hard, and the work ethic that I have has maintained for as long as it has. I have the viewer base I have the supporters I have, and that's why I'm still here and I'm still successful. If I were a schlub and I slacked off and I wasn't busting my ass, then I'd be gone. But
But for so long, DSP has relied on detractors and throwing himself pity parties to get himself to get his audience to feel bad for him and therefore support his lifestyle. It's not because he's working hard and always putting out content that people want to see. And if you just listen to the interview that Steve Cambion over at Truth Seekers had with Void outright says that there's times, which that whole interview is fucking stupid too. Void's an idiot. There's times where he's said that he fell into the fucking ploy of felting the detractors just to make DSP feel better, and that's why he sent him money. That is actually his fucking strategy and has been pretty much since he moved to Washington. That's what pays the bills. That's why begging has to be on the menu. That's why when he doesn't beg, he doesn't get any fucking money, because appealing to people's emotions is the only way DSP makes money. It has nothing to do with his content.
That's why I have succeeded while everyone else has had to go, I'm the sellout, I'm the drama guy. I haven't had to do that. Did you notice? It's a little different, I know, and people can't handle it, but it's true. I'm still here. I don't have to be all in on that shit. You
How much
understand?
money did Void
And
send him?
this
I don't
year,
even know.
it really felt like
And if you listen to what Void says, talking about it was his friend's dying wish to send DSP money, that's the most regarded fucking thing possible. I think you should have spit on your friend's fucking. Never mind. We're moving on positively.
I was getting a lot of pressure from PvP to go all in.
Never mind. I was being toxic.
To this extent, I'll do this to some extent. I don't think this is going to work, because I think that this is going to leave me in a bad position. It's going to leave me holding the bag of trying to maintain stuff, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, because I don't want to make drama content 24/7. Okay? And so I think what's happened is over the last
I'd
several
never have a
months,
friend that
since basically
regarded.
none of
Simple
the
as.
ideas
That's not
that
what you call a
PvP came up
friend.
with, I would really roll with, all right? He soured against me. His opinion towards me has definitely soured, and he's very frustrated. He's upset. And now he feels really the only way to move forward is to try to do something drastic. Because if you notice, the rhetoric against me picked up big. All of a sudden, he's still bringing up my wife every stream. It's
Yeah.
like, why would he do that all of a sudden out of nowhere? Because he feels like he's going to force the hand. He's going to push he's going to push that envelope. He's going to make Phil play his hand of cards.
Right. Yeah.
He wanted me to come out today and just explode,
Right.
but I'm not doing that.
But you're still giving him the time of day. You're still doing this piece of content. But DSP has this weird idea that if he doesn't give the exact type of reaction that he thinks somebody is expecting, that his other reaction and you know, the segment that he does wind up doing is actually felting that idiot, and they didn't expect him to do this, and he's like you know, he's not doing what they want him to do. But that's just not the case. Whether he got on a stream and was screaming and crying and acting like a little bitch, or he was very matter-of-factly talking about how he was, you know, a cuck beta bitch that rolled over for PPP 9,000 times and then finally decided to put his foot down. It doesn't matter how he presented it. He's still giving PPP the time of day. He's still putting the Kino Casino's name in his mouth and giving them unnecessary shout-outs that he shouldn't be doing. This is, again, counterproductive to what he should be doing, but he doesn't see that because his mind is so fucking addled and pignatized. He does not live in reality.
Very calmly and matter-of-factly explaining to you what's happened, okay? Now, it sucks because here's the thing. I feel like we work together well, and I feel like Smart Guys is a great show. I do. But at one point, you've got to put your foot down, and you've got to have some kind of self-respect. And I'm just not going to allow the guy to just say and do whatever he wants and think that he has free reign to disrespect my family just because I want to have him as part of Smart Guys. So that's why I made the decision. All right?
Wow.
It's
And
that
he only had to do it
matter.
5 times in order for him to come to that conclusion. And movie sign CCXX with the 5. Are those numbers? I don't even, like, is CC, are those Roman numerals? Do they use Cs? I don't even know. Thank you for the 5, though. This level of cope will immortalize Dave in the psychiatric field once they finally study him. And they have to, dude. If you're doing psych courses and you're not bringing up the guy, I think you're doing your class an injustice because you have to look at this. Come on now.
What he says or does, it really doesn't.
Oh, CCXX is 220. That's really funny. That's really funny. Okay.
Matter what how he kinds to cope, because that's what he's doing. He's coping all over Twitter
I'm not
today,
Roman enough.
posting up a million cope tweets. I don't care. All right? I really don't. It's sad because I really feel like that he is a guy who can be really fun to work with, and he's funny as well, and he brings that hype, and he brings that energy. He's the ultimate pitch guy. He's the Paul Heyman of drama content on the internet, right? Like, that's how I feel. But at what expense? Because I'm not going to become full-time Kino Casino, full-time drama. I'm just not going to do that. I don't want to.
I can't do it. I can't.
Right?
Then why did we
And just to
pose
make
it
this-
as an entirely fucking optional career path yesterday? Again, why did we do that? His audience should feel utterly fucking disrespected by the waste of time that was the pre-stream the day before. Shout out EOJJ for the EOJJ14 for the 2. My dead friend wanted me to donate his last 2 to you. Well, thank you, EOJJ. Don't spit on his grave because that was very based of him.
Perfectly clear again. I know that nothing that I say and do will ever change how he acts or what he says. He very well might go on the casino tomorrow, and the entire show is just going over this podcast and felting me. And if that's it, so be it. You know, who cares? I can't stop that. I've only been going through that for, I don't know, like 13 straight years anyway. So it's not like it's a big deal to me. But I don't have to put up with that behavior and still have him as a part of my content.
It's
I
true.
have control over the content I put out on the internet.
Right?
So
I agree.
Therefore, Smart Guys will be solo moving forward. And by the way, we'll talk about this tonight. I'm curious how the show will do as a solo show. And I'm also curious if ever I should seek out another co-host.
Please.
I don't know if that would work.
We need John Rambo back. John Rambo, if you're in the ether listening, please, you had Phil's number. We need you back for Smart Guys, I guess. This is the only way forward. That would be the most a positive rendition to the DSP storyline that we've had. Right, if John Rambo comes back to finish out Smart Guys one more time,
someone
be
who's
very
passionate
cool.
about wrestling, who'll watch the shows, who'll show up.
Never gonna happen. John Rambo, please don't do that. I lied.
think that Smart Guys works better as a co-show with another person.
I do like that even his own chat was saying John Rambo though,
just as a solo show. Although, admittedly, if the show is me talking with all of you, that's a different dynamic entirely, which we haven't had yet.
Volpez is saying Mersh and Ethan are out for auditioning. What a fucking waste of time that would be. The fact that either of those two idiots actually are even bothering with this is kind of silly, if you ask me. But given their current state, I guess that's the best they got is DSP. Unironically, their best option.
We haven't had that dynamic of, hey, big interaction during Smart Guys. It's been me and PPP, and every once in a while we read something from the chat, right? So there you go. All right. Now, here's the thing. That's it. That's really all I have to say.
Here's the thing. That's it.
I'm not going to sit here and insult PPP. I'm not going to go crazy. And by the way, again, for the record, I've never had a negative interaction with Andy at all. I don't have a negative word to say about Andy either.
Andy
like, every interaction I've had with these guys, outside of the fact that they've been doing this increased toxic rhetoric against me on their show, every interaction's been great. You know.
Yep. Andy had a whole lot of fucking negative to say about DSP though.
So I have absolutely no idea if I'll ever speak with these guys again or not. You know, last night I tried to get an answer out of PPP and he refused to answer me. But all of a sudden today he's tweeting. Don't talk to the guy who directly is confronting you for an answer. Instead, go tweet about it hurriedly and scaredly before Phil goes online with his podcast.
Yep, he was terrified. No. And what about anything that I read to you reeked of being scared or any sort of fear at all? He was very matter-of-factly stating exactly how it was, his thoughts on DSP, unsugar-coated or however you want to say that. As bluntly as he could. That's how he felt on the situation. It is that simple. I don't know where he gets scaredly from.
If that's how you really want to handle it. Or we could have just said, hey, let's just spin it like this and that'll be the end of it. But, he acts how he does. He makes his choices. That's life.
God, I wish he would stop holding up his fucking hand for this stupid camera. This is like the 9th time he's done it, and we still haven't switched over to that camera angle. So I don't know why we're fucking playing with it. Brother, put your hand down.
And I'm moving on from it now. All right, it sucks. Again, I liked doing stuff with them. I enjoyed being on the show. We had Here's the sad part about all of this. Excuse me, because now I'm finally gonna take a sip. My mouth is so dry.
So dry.
Here's the truth about all of this. We had good plans. We had plans. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. It looks like the Pigler salute. It's just an off-putting image to look over at every so often. It's just not a good look. Stop doing it. You look like you have tism.
Or at least two.
Especially because the camera angle isn't fucking changing. If he was actually changing the camera angle, it would be one thing to fuck with. But he's not. So why is he doing it?
Other projects that I feel at least one of them would have actually worked. Not full drama, maybe some drama, but projects where I could be involved from time to time, where things would go well, and it would be cool because you get to see a different side of me, right? As opposed to just me just sitting here playing games, right? You want to see that. That's different. It's fun. But now those projects are dead simply because this guy wants to just push the envelope. For what? For what reason? I mean, in my opinion, that's just bad business. Not even saying if you like me or you don't, or I like them or I don't. We were actually doing stuff together that was working, that was getting attention. Even smart guys, to the extent that it was working, was still working. It wasn't blowing up and making thousands of dollars a show, but we were getting good views. We were getting some money.
He says that they had, you know, projects in the works, that they were going to be making content, but from what I've seen of the Kino Casino clip from last night, when PPP was asked about this by Andy, what did you guys have going on in the back? Nothing. Every idea that PPP or anybody sent to DSP in regards to doing content, he supposedly was shooting down in DMs and not even giving the time of day. Wasn't even entertaining the idea. Didn't want to work with some people. Didn't want to do things because it was on his day off or this, that, or the other. PPP even said that he offered to fly offered to fly Phil and Kat down to Florida during the Super Bowl and pay for a cat sitter just so that DSP could get out of the house and actually go and do something with his wife. And not one goddamn time did DSP even entertain the idea. So why would, again, these people continue to fucking work with you if you're not willing to do anything for them? I think that the Kino Casino said it best when they said that DSP takes and takes and takes and will never give back, because giving back kind of inherently hurts his ego for some reason, when that really shouldn't be the case.
So why burn that bridge? I don't understand it. That doesn't make sense to me, because I'm not burning any bridges here. PPP is the one burning the bridges. He's the one saying the toxic stuff. He's the one bringing up my wife, which he apologizes for, says he knows it's wrong, and it does it again anyway.
Yo, they were going to go to the Hogan bar in Florida? That sounds right up his fucking alley. And it would finally give him an opportunity to spend some sort of meaningful time with his wife outside of the snort for, and he couldn't do that. I just couldn't imagine being a grown man with a significant other and then never doing anything with them. That seems like such a lost opportunity with somebody that you should be loving and caring for and wanting to spend more time with and have, and, you know, share some sort of experiences with. It's sad. It really is sad, but it's DSP, so I can't feel bad for him. It's his own grave that he's dug here.
He's the one ending it, not me. It's through his actions that this is all coming to fruition, not mine. So I don't get it. I don't. It makes me scratch my head. But then again, the older I get, I realize that not everyone is me. Not everyone sees things the way I see. Not everyone has the same perspective as me, and that's okay. Everyone's from a different walk of life. And like I said, different places, different age ranges.
And that's for the best, really.
Correct? So be it. If that's how he wants it, he can have his way, but I'm just not going to waste my time on it. I've got better things to do than to get into an internet blood sport with PPP over nonsense. Even when, because it's bullshit anyway. It's fabrication. It's not real. It's nonsense. I'm not going to do it, you know? People say, he wants to come on Smart Guys tonight to hash it out. No, we're not going to do that.
So who's running? Who is running here then? He wants to say that PPP is scaredly typing on Twitter, but PPP wants to talk to him, says, have me on the show. We can talk about this publicly, and he doesn't want to do it, which is exactly what he was claiming everybody else was fucking doing to him when the time came, right? So absolute fucking hypocrite that is guilty of everything he claims that everybody else is guilty for.
That's what he wants. He wants to create drama content, and he felt like this was his way to force the hand. You don't get it. And this is what no one gets. I think finally, you want to know who I think actually gets it? Keemstar. I don't know why I'm becoming more of a respectful person towards him, but the older I'm getting and the more I'm seeing the long game of this, Keemstar gets it. Like, after that interview with me, I think he understands me now as a person. He's like, nothing I do is going to make Phil do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, nothing I do, no amount of twisting, no amount of fucking with him, no amount of talking shit about him. He's just not that guy that's going to get riled up and then do stuff that I want him to do just because I pissed him off. So he let me alone.
DSP is not going to give you anything. DSP will not do anything that he doesn't want to do himself. He won't do anybody else's idea. He will not entertain. He's not capable of it. Yes, I think Keemstar did finally realize that DSP isn't worth the time and that he's better off rotting on his own channel to all of the detractors' pleasure. I'm glad that Keemstar finally realized. Congratulations, Keem.
And now I'm cool with him. I have no problems with Keemstar right now at all. Zero.
Keemstar left me to fucking die on my own channel, and I have nothing but respect for the guy.
This way. And then finally, when all those ways didn't work, let's do it this way. Finally, just talk enough shit about Phil, he'll explode, and then we'll get the content that way. You're still not going to get the content. I don't want to do the drama content. Okay? I don't want to do it. Are you ready? Gee, do you think I want to do drama content? No, I don't want to do the drama content. That's not me anymore. All right. If someone
But it was an option yesterday. Don't forget.
10 years ago.
It was an entire career path literally the day prior.
And
And
said, Phil, we
everybody
want
in his
to
chat wanted it.
involve you in the drama content. I might have said, yeah.
That's a great point. Den Style News Network, also known as Inked Blessing, no problem with him being Keemstar. So all of the Roman Catholic moral speeches meant nothing. Got it. Absolutely. He stated earlier, if you were at the stream, Bozo, that he was just jealous of Keemstar making money. That was all it was the entire time. All that Roman Catholic bullshit was nonsense. It was just an excuse that it always was. But please forget tomorrow, because it's absolutely vital to the begging narrative.
But instead, for 10 years, the internet beat me up. And then I said, I don't care about this shit anymore. I've moved on. I've evolved. I don't do the kind of commentary anymore that everyone says they want me to go back to. But when I did it back then, everyone said it was wrong. I have to change. All right? I'm married. I'm happy. I'm chill now. I don't get upset about every little thing. I do get upset. And when I do, I lose my cool and everyone laughs and thinks it's entertaining, right? Phil's unhinged again. And I get that. That's why I kind of ham it up half the time. But I'm just not that person anymore. I'm not.
Except he's doing it right now. Like, again, this is literally the reaction that PPP was looking for, and he's getting it in the form of the pre-stream instead of doing it live on Smart Guys for, you know, the actual entertainment value. We're getting a Cope rant session instead of an actual confrontation and discussion live on stream.
I'm not the king of hate.
It's weird that this is the format in which he would want to do this instead of just talking to PPP, unless, of course, he understands that he would never be able to justify his position. That's the only reason that you would want to do this instead, I think. Or, obviously, he understands he would never be able to hold his own in a conversation, but I've said that 9,000 times today, so...
I feel for the better. Others say for the worse. I guarantee you PPP would say, man, you changed for the worse. You're a pussy willow now, right? You're a sissy. You don't do anything. I work 6 days a week full-time. I bust my ass, and for the content that I put out for as little views as it gets, I still make a living. So I would say that's pretty successful, although it's definitely a different kind of grind that a lot of other people don't understand. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Big sip. There you go.
So there you go. And that's it. I don't
Let's
really have much else to say
go.
at all. That's kind of where I'm going to leave it. I have nothing else to say. The only way, all right, the only way that I would ever
Right.
move forward
The only
and
way.
do work again
Uh-huh.
with PPP
Right.
is if he apologizes for insulting my wife and says he will never do it again.
Mhm.
Okay? That's it. That's
We already saw in the tweet earlier that PPP does not believe that fat is an insult and instead just an object observation on what the reality of the situation is. So what is there to apologize for? If you think that you're objectively just stating the way that the real world is existing right now, Cat is fat, then there's nothing to apologize for. There's no wrongdoing there. She is fat. That is a factual statement. It's factually fucking based, stupid.
It's the only circumstance, because that's the only problem I ever had with him anyway. I told him you can say whatever you want about me. It doesn't bother me. But the moment you bring in my family, right? So let's see. Let's see what happens. But he's been doubling down, tripling down, you know, on this rhetoric.
He's doubling down,
So,
tripling down.
I don't
There's a
foresee
reason
it
they call him
happening
triple bypass.
at all. He already literally apologized for the behavior for what he
Yeah,
did
I
on
like
Monday's show.
big ups King Be Cruel in chat for the factually fucking based time.
And then last night he just did it again anyway. So, you know, it doesn't really mean anything. No.
Doesn't
It's
mean
more
shit,
about
dude.
not
Who
what you say,
cares?
but what you do, right? Actions speak louder than words. And right now, his actions are denoting the fact that basically he doesn't want to work with me. If he did, he would respect my wishes, all right, to not go there. Because to be honest, I don't think it benefits him at all anyway. He's not getting anything out of doing it. I don't know if he's trying to look like an internet tough guy. I don't think so.
He's benefiting right now.
So,
Right now.
whatever. I'm just so past it at this point, really. I'm just
We're so past it yet. This is a 52-minute clip so far that we've been watching. 52 minutes, but we've moved past it. I don't even care anymore, you guys. Come on.
so past it. Here, I'm too old for this shit. Like the classic line, right, from Lethal Weapon. I'm just too old for this shit. I don't want to sit around with drama every day. I don't. I can't go full on and become the king of hate again. And as much as people want me to, and they say that will work, and you're probably right, I just couldn't live with myself, and I would just be so tired and bored. And there goes my camera again. I would just be so tired and bored, okay, of doing it. I can't go there because I'm not that guy anymore. You understand? I changed
I'm not
over
him.
the years. I changed. The internet literally 100%
Right.
told me to change. Back in the day, they said, dude, you can't keep doing this commentary. You can't keep doing this content. This is ridiculous.
Because he wasn't funny. Like that. Ultimately, that's what it was. Is because he's not funny and he's not entertaining. And instead, he decided to move into the least entertaining and most miserable content style possible in the form of nonstop begging. I don't understand how he went from A to B like that, given the feedback that he was given. But that's what happened.
You know, you have to at some point mature and make better content. So I literally, over the course of a decade, changed everything I did, from the style of video, the delivery of the video, the commentary on the video, the person who I was, inside and out, what I portrayed on the outside, but who I was on the inside. I evolved and changed and became better. And now you want to tell me in 2025, oh, that was a mistake.
Because he didn't change for the better. He objectively changed for the worst. I mean, at least back in the day, you could argue that, you know, his content made money and you didn't have to hear him beg and he wasn't so pitiful. He was just drunk and stupid and not funny. Now he's drunk and stupid and not funny, but also has some of the worst takes in history, and his morals are non-existent, and he fence-sits everything, and he's a hypocrite, and he's boring as shit to watch, and he begs incessantly. Like, you see how this actually just got worse and worse. And I'm a big fan of Expand Dong, obviously, at Triple P in the chat. I've seen that a couple of times today. It is the Ides of March. This is the snakening. So
can you just erase 13 years of evolution you've had? Can you please go back to who you were, because that's what the internet wants now? That's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. Once the thing has changed, it's changed. If I go to full drama, it's full drama. If I go to full shill, it's full shill. I don't want to go there.
That's not true.
I'm happy with
Stop saying
I have
that.
a great life right now. With
it doesn't have to be that
I very
way.
much want to keep, but not change to be some vindictive jerk who loses everything just because I wanted to make drama on the internet because it made a buck.
But it's making the buck not his end goal every single day when he hops on stream. He's told us out fucking right. The main thing that goes into the fucking streams is that he makes his money. That's why the content is objectively shittier when he doesn't hit the goal before the gameplay, because he can't just enjoy the gameplay till he gets the money. So if that's what matters, if that's going to take precedence over the actual gameplay and the entertainment value of the content, then you should just be making content that makes money and moving on. That's it. There's no argument to be had.
Don't get that. They just don't understand it. You know what I mean? All right. I got to get my camera working again. It literally just worked for 45 to 50 minutes and then turned off again. This camera is still working. I just don't get it. I don't understand what is happening with these cameras. This one now is the one that's malfunctioning constantly. So give me a second. Let me go unplug and replug it in.
And this is the kind of content that you can expect from DSP. This is the better content that he's moved into, since everybody back in the day was telling him about how awful his content was and how it wasn't viable and he was going to have to change and this, that, and the other. You get streams where he just walks away for extended periods of time to go unplug his camera in complete silence.
Try to get it working again.
How robust is that, you guys, for a podcast experience?
At least that's not as bad of a frame as the first one.
Just sitting in silence as he fucks with it too. Nothing.
How long will it work this time? I don't know. All right. So there you go.
All right.
That's what's going on. Jasper, please get out from behind there. Don't be behind the PC. There's enough issues with that PC, buddy.
Jasper, you fucking idiot. Get out of there.
Here.
Come on, man.
So that's what's going on. And listen, I'll end it with this, because now I have a lot of shout outs to do. I have to sit here. I have to shout out things for the rest of the show, essentially. Okay. But my final take on it is this. Okay. I understand that many of you probably came over here to watch me because of Kino Casino, and I appreciate that. I would hope that over the last, 6 to 8 months, you've seen enough of me to now know who I am, what I'm about.
I would hope
the
so.
kind of content that I make.
True.
And if you enjoy that content, welcome, stick around, let's have fun together. But if you were solely here because you felt like you were doing a favor to Kino Casino, right, and this was just, oh, well, they like him, or they're giving him the rub, they're glazing him, so now I got to glaze him. They even say this, like, oh, let's get our pay pigs to go over there and throw him some money. To call your viewers pay pigs, I don't know, man. I don't think of it that way. I never have. Some people do, but I don't think of you guys like that.
But again, it's like, if you don't agree with the way that they talk about their audience, you don't agree with the type of content they do, the things they say about other people, then why are you getting in bed with them, right? It doesn't make sense. You knew that this is how they respond to their pay pigs, right? To their supporters. They call them that. That's the relationship that they have. And yes, Massive X said he doesn't view his fucking whales as pay pigs. Absolutely, dude. Are you kidding me? The way that he fucking treats them, they're probably less than swine to him. Because at least with, you know, with pigs, you treat them with a little bit of dignity because they're animals. And DSP honestly treats his fucking dents sub-animal like.
But I do appreciate those of you who gave me a chance, watched the content, have supported it. Obviously, I would hope this doesn't mean that now we're going to see an exodus of people. I have a viewership that I've been building up on Kick since October.
Of
and we're
LARPers.
getting more consistent viewership over there. You know, I started off with only like 30, 40 viewers. Now we're up to like 60, 70 a stream. And we're still slowly building. I feel like once new.
Which I see, I just saw John Bono over there in the fucking Kick chat. Really, Kick is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you like DSP thinks his numbers are going up and he's progressing as a streamer. But on the other hand, it's literally just troll chat on stream all the time. So
releases start coming out and I keep doing content. We'll get consistency over there. Right?
Nothing but fucking LARPers over in Kick
Phil
chat.
Is done with the casino, which again, I didn't make that decision. Okay. But because this is the case now people are just going to leave in droves. But you know what?
There's John Bono now.
There's nothing I can really do about it. I've said this since day one, that if I got snaked, that I basically would kind of be like, fuck it. It's not worth it. I probably won't bother with it ever again. Right?
What?
Okay.
Goddamn.
Wait, sorry. I just missed that. Was that him?
There's nothing I can really do about it. I've said this since day one, that if I got snaked,
Yes.
that I basically would kind of be like, fuck it. It's not worth it. I probably won't bother with it ever again. Right.
He did say that. I remember saying that when people were telling him that the casino was setting him up for his big fall, they were going to carry him or whatever the fuck they were saying. He was, well, guys, if that's the case, then I'm just never going to work with anybody again. Why would I waste my time? If everybody's going to be mean to me, if everybody's going to bully me on the internet, why would I waste my fucking time?
Okay.
That was actually him.
but
LOL.
Here's the thing. I
Here's the
also
thing,
don't
though.
want to sit here and say, I'm never, ever going to do content with someone else ever again. I think that's probably a real ignorant thing to say and do.
But that is what he said and said that he was going to do. So past DSP was being ignorant. Imagine that. Imagine.
I don't want.
Thank you, EOJJ14 for the 2, saying Phil is in bed with PPP because he wants his PP. True and factual. Thank you for the 2. And Hypnotoad with the 5 saying PPP played a major role in the destruction of Ralph's RTUs and a bunch of low-level groypers. I'm still 50-50 if DSP will feel this or just continue on. I think DSP continues on like normal. I don't think that there's... I don't know that there's a content creator on this fucking planet that could put DSP's channel in the ground. I'm not convinced. DSP... Again, say what you want about him. He perseveres in the worst ways possible. He really does thrive like a cockroach, so we'll see. Thank you for the 5, Hypnotoad.
To be the guy who feels like he's locked up in his castle surrounded by a moat with a bunch of fucking gators inside. And you know what I mean? I very well could do that because I've done it and I've been successful doing it. But at the same time, I don't want to feel like, oh, let's squander all opportunities to ever come to me just because this has happened. And everyone literally told me the entire time that I was working with Kino Casino that eventually this would happen.
This is true. They did. And you didn't heed the warnings because you don't listen to anybody.
Was on the wall, and I kind of felt like it was going to happen eventually anyway, even though PPP repeatedly would say, we can't snake Phil because if we snake Phil, everyone will be upset with us, right? But
wait. So the writing was on the wall the whole time, and he kind of thought that that was the case. But how many times did he get on stream and reassure his legitimate, authentic fans that that's not the case, that PPP is simply just taking the viewpoints of the detractors so that he can have an opportunity to respond to it, and that it's all in good fun, and due to all of the support that he received after the Kino arc, and how they changed his life, that he was indebted to them, and blah, 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 blah. How many times did we have that fucking conversation? But again, now that it fits the narrative, now that he was proven wrong, he saw it the whole time, you guys. He knew that this was going to happen, and he kind of expected it, and so on and so forth. It's just cope. It's always cope.
Now what's happened is I've done so little work with them that now snaking me is probably entertaining to the audience because I haven't been in their content positively, right? So it kind of makes sense to do it now. I don't think that that's going to be a big deal anymore, right?
Right. Sounds good.
So if any of you were here.
What's up with the cameras in the background, by the way? There's 2 camera gifs on his fucking Devoom Pixu or whatever the fuck this is. I don't know why that's important other than unless it's a reference to his shitty tech setup, in which case, like, that's not a funny joke.
on behalf of Kino Casino, you're
Oh,
so
it's in
welcome.
reference to his 220
But I'm
cameras?
not going
Okay,
to obviously
okay.
be upset or not understanding if you leave. Okay? All right. Done. Let's go ahead and do shoutouts,
All right.
and we'll go from there.
Into
All
shoutouts.
right. Sadly, I'm going to probably have to do currency conversion here. Jeez.
Oh,
People doing-
jeez. God. How dare you guys fucking send money that's not out in USD, you fucking ignorant whatevers. I'm not going to pick a slur.
Doing these
Just
super
fill
chats
it
that are like
in.
different currencies, and I got to figure out what they are.
How dare you be from other countries?
Like this guy who did a 50 and it's worth $2, which is hilarious.
LOL. Ack.
Okay. So let's go ahead. Where do we start? Do we start with tips or super chats? Because it's all over the place. Let's start with tips, because there's a lot of tips to shout out, and then we'll scoot over the super chats. Okay?
Does it matter? Does anyone give a shit?
Because a lot of everything, and I will get to everything, I promise you. Okay? Actually, hold on, because my super chats might go away. No, they won't. Never mind. Okay. Okay, we'll start with tips.
Guerrera asking why is Phil saying that Kino snaked him when they told him everything on Phil's own stream. I thought I thought we weren't supposed to care what happened on other streams. That's a good point. Great question. I following Phil's logic, I don't have an answer.
Flatman B did a $2 tip.
Are we doing the August the Duck vids today? No, I'm not. I'm not going to watch August the Duck, and I'm not going to watch the Kino clips either. I'm going to leave that up to you guys, or I'll send you to TBS afterwards, and they'll probably watch them. I prefer to watch my Phil raw, okay, and not comment over commentary as much as possible. I think that's too much, personally.
Well, I'm not going to, here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to insult them. So if you guys say insults in your contributions, I'm just going to skip over it. All right? I'm going to be the bigger man here. I'm not going to sit here and throw insults at people. He says, I had a feeling Triple P,
Probably called him Triple Bypass.
He kept underhand attacking you and trying to make it seem like it's all fun. Who needs enemies with friends like that? Good riddance.
True.
Again, the difference here is I 100% said it was okay to do it to me because, listen, they get a rise out of their audience, right, for it, so they benefit. While they've already given me so much attention and time, and it's benefited me directly, go for it. Get some of that back. I don't care. I've got thick skin. I don't give a shit what you say about me. There's zero reason to bring up my wife. Like,
she was a part of your content, and ultimately they are making fun of Phil's content. I don't know how he doesn't see this line of logic. I don't understand how he doesn't get it, but that is as simple as it needs to be. He brought her on stream. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Simple as. It's the same reason you'll never see an at last feature for anybody who wanted to see the at last or hear from her. It's just not gonna happen. Because it was a dumb idea in the fucking first place.
Literally, it doesn't benefit you. It hurts me. It does nothing. You're just doing it for some kind of bizarre internet flex, likely because you want to burn the bridge to create the drama content that I won't participate in otherwise.
Yes, they want to make content and make money. That is the goal.
RC to $5
Absolutely.
tip.
At last,
the
fact
hottest
confirmed.
woman
Never.
in college.
Never. I'm like Kanye
Right.
West. My biggest fear in life is
Right.
fucking a fat girl. Real talk.
Let's see what they have to say. Oh, by the way, I'm not typing that out. I'm going to put the hottest.
I'm not
woman
like Kanye West in
college.
those other ways. I just want to preface this. I want to clarify.
Jasper Kitty.
I'm not wearing that
Get out
T-shirt,
from
and I'm not
behind
wearing
that
that
PC
chain
right
that
now.
he's getting made.
Jasper.
I'm not doing that.
Come on. I don't know what's up with going behind the streaming PC, which already has issues. I don't want him back there touching the wires. He's going to shut the whole dang thing down. All right.
Vaporware 336 with the 220 saying, did the spoon guy really say he has thick skin? LOL. Yes he did. He's the thickest skinned individual there is. Redbird
let's see,
asking
there's
what
$2
Kanye is even up to these days, being racist online. That's it.
For Flatman
He's
B,
literally
want to
being a
positive,
Nazi.
Much love. Let's try to have a nice day. God bless and peace. Thank you.
His wife has extra thick skin. No, she's got extra thick blubber. Her skin's actually very thin. That's why she
The
leaves all
$2
of the
tip.
streams
Oh, by the way,
early.
one final thing too, because we are doing shout outs now. PPP also is under the impression that when
Yes.
I get involved in this drama that I make bank. That doesn't happen. It doesn't. My viewers don't care about drama. They've told me time and time again, we want less drama. We want more just chilling with you. And he just seems to be of the impression that it's going to benefit. And every time that it happens, it doesn't benefit me. The last couple of times I was on Casino, I actually got zero boost in my content, zero, like no extra views or any kind of contributions based on it. You know, the drama stuff works for them. You know, it absolutely does because that's what they do. It's not what I
Right.
do. So me doing that, making that content, doesn't benefit me or my business. Like today,
But PPP was on the show, therefore his audience should have been there and been willing to provide some sort of support for that type of content. Like, again, how does he not see how this works out? Like, PPP is bringing an aspect of his own content for his audience that shows up to the streams. He's, you know, the word is not supplementing. He's satiating the content fever that they have. That's not the right way to say it either, but you know what I'm saying.
there's a bunch of contributions.
He
By
would
the end
be
of this
making
stream,
out
I
on
will
that. I
likely
don't know.
Probably hit my goal, which I would have done anyway. But instead of having a meaningful podcast where we could have talked about the Ubisoft story I've been trying to talk about for 2 days and we didn't get to, instead of working towards what's our next DSP Tries-It goal, what's going to be the next cool Lego set we're going to build together and all of that, instead we got to do this crap show. I think this is crap. I really do. I don't like doing this.
Because talking about Legos is far more entertaining than talking about the drama of PPP and your fat ass wife.
Okay.
Obviously, people are more interested in Legos.
It's being said you couldn't care less about PPP making fun of your wife. You're only mad because of the detractors making a big deal. What's your take? Originally, when PPP started bringing up my wife on the casino, people would show me clips, and the clips were like he was just literally regurgitating the detractor memes.
Right.
And so it seemed like that's what he was trying.
Which is already incredibly fucking rude and not a thing that you should be putting up with, considering all of the things that the detractors say about DSP are incredibly heartless and cold. Like, you wouldn't say those things to a normal person. It is genuinely mean-spirited and toxic. There's no denying that, I don't think. If a detractor is telling you that they're not toxic, they're lying to you, as far as I'm concerned.
Trying to do. Repeat the detractor meme, and then people get a laugh out of it or whatever. But then, as time moved on, he kept doing it. And I directly said to him, behind the scenes, hey, I'm not cool with you keep bringing her up. It's one thing if you bring me up. It's another if you're bringing her up. Please stop with her. And he outright would apologize for it. But then he keeps doing it. And this week is really the straw that breaks the camel's back. I'm already going through shit this week. Everyone already knows. Outside of all this bullshit today, I was already going through stuff. I already have personal shit going on.
Like a
really
dead rabbit,
me,
apparently.
Right? And then he like
that's the word on the
went
street.
Out of his way to twist the knife this week because he knew I was on edge already. I just don't get it. I don't. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Guys, we are almost through this clip. I see you asking for 1.5 speed or even 2 times. No. Okay. Then I can't understand him. Come on, Phil, say something, though.
I don't think people say, thank you, I'm sorry, and please enough. Do you think Christians behave better than the average Joe?
Oh, I don't give a fuck. Come on now.
And I can't just give that stuff up for personal gain. I would lose who I am.
Sorry.
Because they've become a part of me. They are like, and even though I'm certainly never known in my life, it's the individual and what they take to heart from the teachings that they learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was raised Roman Catholic, and even though I'm certainly no saint, I definitely have some morals and values that were instilled in me that I can't betray because they've become a part of me. They are literally a part of who I am as a person. And I can't just give that stuff up for personal gain. I would lose who I am.
But he has in the past when it comes to, you know, RTU and all of that and all of that shit that he said about Keemstar. He's very clearly said that he doesn't actually have a moral, you know, I want to say obligation. That's not the word. He doesn't have any issue with the morals of Keemstar. He just hated him because he had more money. He literally said that earlier in this very stream. So you can forget all of those things and none of that is true. Quit lying now. It seems like a waste of time.
Just don't understand, right? People who don't have that, maybe. And that's okay, because again, everyone's different. Everyone comes from a different situation, a different walk of life, all right? And I get that. But you also have to respect people who aren't like you, people who aren't the same as you, you know? I received a $2 tip. Phil, I'm sorry this happened. Will you check out WWE 2K25? I don't know, and honestly, I don't really care about that right now.
Get out of here.
That's the last thing on my mind. Ask me another day when we're actually talking about games, perhaps, and I'll give a shit. I really don't give a shit right now about that topic. Thank you.
Dude, and this is what I'm fucking talking about. This is Mr. I want to go path 3. I don't want to do drama content. Once you put on the clown makeup, you have to go full bore, all in or nothing. But somebody asks about the fucking gameplay. Are you going to check out a video game? And he's not interested in the topic right now. He's not even thinking about video games. Get your ass fucking out of here. I don't see how anybody can fucking support this guy, man. Everything he says is dumb. Actually an ungrateful fuck. It's wild.
Not what we're discussing right now.
Absolutely wild the way these things go back to back like this.
Big Boss with
$2
super
Big
chat.
Boss.
Are you still on good terms with Warski? Could he fill in? Now, this was at the very beginning of the show where I said that Smart Guys will be a solo show. So number one, like I already said, I've talked to Andy, you know, directly a few times, okay? And we've had good conversations, and I've had nothing but positivity and, you know, good experiences with him.
Right,
um,
right. That's not what he would say,
and
but
I
go
think that
ahead.
we are like-minded and that we're gamers and we like games a lot and stuff.
Hmm.
But it never really amounted to
Gaming
anything. Like, there's a couple
soulmates
times where we
even?
kind of talked about, hey, let's do some gameplay together or whatever, and then we talk, and then we just kind of fizzles out. We never go anywhere with it. All right. But outside of that, that's it. He doesn't like wrestling. Like the first thing I found out when I started Smart Guys with PPP is that Andy does not like pro wrestling, at least the modern wrestling, like maybe classic wrestling from back in the day. But he just does not like, you know, modern wrestling at all.
No, see, Trodat07 saying DSP craves for Andy's body. No, he craves for PPP's body. He craves for Andy's demeanor and gameplay opinions, obviously. He really wants an amalgamation of the two, as fat as his own wife, but with the gaming it takes of Andy. I think that's his ideal male.
And I think it would be pretty silly if I'm not going to do the show with his co-host of his show to then do the show with the co-host of the show with the guy that I'm not going to do the show with. Right?
Sure.
Like I said, I definitely
Mhm.
would like to see if maybe long-term it works solo, and if it doesn't, maybe bring in a different host, okay? But we'll see, okay? Jalen did a $2 super chat, and he says PPP is, and then he insulted him. I'm not going to read that, but thank you for the $2.
Very mature of you, DSP. Thank you so much.
Towards him today.
Instead, we would just rather misrepresent the entire situation and not allow him to speak for himself on the stream. But we're not going to say insults. That's where we're drawing the line, guys. Reading somebody's tip or super chat exactly how they wrote it is not cool. But lying on their name and misrepresenting everything that's going on is totally fine. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Telltale fan with the 5. Good lord. Phil could have simply just said, I'm not interested in this topic right now, but thank you for the donation. Instead, he's decided to be a jackass. It's true. It's true. He does go out of his way to be unnecessarily toxic to people giving him money, which is always so funny to me.
Bloom Kid with another $2 super chat here. PPP says to bring him on tonight and hash it out.
Oh.
No. Smart Guys is a wrestling commentary show, and it will be wrestling commentary tonight. It will not be drama.
So DSP is the one running then, obviously, in case you needed that stated out right.
Detractors are sad with a $2 super chat. Do it on your own terms. Those guys are backstabbers. Again, you know, you never know because you really don't know.
You do!
Talking directly about, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And then you hear, well, guess what? Tonight, those guys, they really snaked you. Did you hear what they said on the show and do this and that? And it's like, I don't really care. I just want to do my thing, and then I want to do Smart Guys. I don't want to hear about all this drama and bullshit, but it just gets to...
So it's not that you don't know. It's not that you could never know or anything like that. It's that he was too fucking lazy to actually look into anything and listen to the things that they had to say about him. That's as simple as it is. There's no, well, you never know, you guys, about it. There's just not. You can see it coming from a million miles away. You just had to open your eyes.
Okay. And then we have Cesar, who used the VPN to do a 50 whatever R currency is super chat and thinks that I'm going to answer his insanely stupid question. Well, your super chat's worth $2. Okay. So much like I felted the Nigerian super chat for the guy using a VPN to try to get my attention, I'm not answering your question. You can go fuck yourself. So I hope someone clips that and makes a whole documentary about it. Okay. Whatever the R currency is, that's worth $2 instead of the 50 that you tried to super chat to get me to answer a risque question. You can shove it up your ass.
So this is just more blatant, like, I'm not going to call it xenophobia, right? Because he genuinely thinks that this is a VPN strat, but like, this is blatant discrimination against somebody who could genuinely be from a foreign country. Like, he's actually upset that it said 50 and actually equals 2 when that's just how the currency works, brother. What do you want him to do about it? Fix his entire country's currency right now before he tips? Are you dumb?
Kev92 did a €5 super chat. He said, I hope this isn't the end of Smart Guys. Stick it out and make some money to show the picture of you and CM Punk from the old house tour you did. I don't know what you keep bringing this up. I don't know what that means. I actually legit don't know what that means. The picture of myself and CM Punk. I don't have a picture of me and CM Punk. Like, it doesn't exist.
I like him leaning in fucking exponentially in order to see something. Put your glasses on, old man.
Bringing that up, but I don't know what you're referencing. I'm very confused. If this is a meme or something, I don't have a picture of me and CM Punk. Anyway, Braden, 32 months as a member. Thank you, Braden. That's a re-up, though, so that doesn't count towards the stream. Average Hyena Enjoyer, what a weird name, with a $5 Canadian super chat, that's like $3, says, would you ever consider getting...
Wait, why is the 50 Nigerian equaling $2 not cool, but the whatever the fuck Canadian equaling 3 is fine? What? Canadians are the least real people in fucking planet Earth. What are we talking about? We let Canadians slide, but we don't let Nigerians? What the fuck? All right.
Blue
Canadians,
Kool-Aid
it's
and
on
drinking it
site.
and calling it Slurp Juice from the hit video game.
You got
Fortnite
the
Battle
benefit of the
Royale.
gout from the guy, but
I
not
don't
from
foresee
me.
myself drinking Kool-Aid, in my midlife. It doesn't really appeal to me. It's pretty much nothing that I would think about the flavor of. Probably not. Okay. I got a question for God. Why? What a crazy name. Did a $20 super chat. Let's get them on the leaderboard. That's the biggest contribution.
Bill Wilson informing us that Phil bought a CM Punk championship plaque, and that's what that super chat meant. Yeah, I think that he talked about that yesterday, talking about the plaque that he bought. I didn't know that those two things were in relation to each other. Thank you for the information. That guy should have been more clear when he gave money, I guess.
Of the day, by the way. What a name. Abbreviate that. Shame about this breakup. Well, the show, I guess, is broken up. I wasn't dating PPP. I love the show. PPP has made fun of Andy's girlfriend and has been jokingly calling Andy a pedophile with zero clapback. Ironically, PPP's old wrestling show ended when PPP's co-host exposed his girl. So PPP's co-host showed off PPP's girlfriend, and PPP got angry and ended the show. I don't know. To be honest, I also don't care. I know you're trying to get the tea pouring here. You're trying to get the excitement. I really don't care at all. That's why it's funny when people say, well, if PPP comes at you all the time on his show, why don't you just get him back? Right?
Right.
I don't care.
But that's not what he said, though. Do you guys remember all of the segments that we did where he was like, you guys keep telling me that I need to roast PPP, but like there's not an army of idiot detractors posting all of his blunders online 24/7. So how would I ever know what I'm supposed to talk about? And yet when, again, the information is brought to him, like right now, he doesn't care. I couldn't give a shit less. When this is the exact type of thing that you could have figured out and done for the show to razz him back and make for entertaining content, but he just doesn't want to. Also, yes, grown-ass man, talk about some tea. Yes, absolutely. That's what the kids call it, brother. What do you want him to do?
I don't need to get to clap back. I don't give a shit. I don't. All these people take pot shots at me because people seem to get, like, enjoyment out of it and they make money on it. I don't. I get no enjoyment out of it, and I make no money on it when I do it. I would just rather be me and have a good, relaxing show, talking about games, hanging out, right? Anyway, Bloom Kit, 5...
Yeah. More and more DSP is kind of giving fingernail polish. I don't know. That little emoji.
$1 super chat. Kino was a huge part of your resurgence. Do you think you owe it to PPP to hash it out tonight? I think that's fair. No. No. I literally said he will not be in my content, period. Unless he stops bringing up my wife. He then brought up my wife again, doubled down, tripled down, defended himself on Twitter. He tweeted apparently this whole podcast. He's not coming back on my content. I provided the parameters by which we could proceed. He immediately broke the parameters to get a rise, to get attention, to whatever it is.
Right.
Done.
What about all of the other times that DSP set parameters about his wife and then he continuously just decided to not listen to him and be allowed on the show regardless? What about all of those times? We got to bring those up. We got to talk about how this is actually a departure from the normal when it comes to DSP setting lines in the sand.
There's no other interaction needed. It was cause and effect.
I like Dark Side Diva. That's pretty funny.
Another action in response. It's over. Get it? Okay. The crunchiest onion with a 10-pound super chat. To be honest, I think it became obvious what was going on once the Truth Seekers ambush interview happened and PPP's response to the guy about the setup was, well, we'll see you next Tuesday, and then they left. You can take it for however you want. All right, you really can. But, people have been saying, this has been the sign. This has been the sign. This has been the sign. No, this was the sign. No, this has been the sign. And the staking and the staking and the sign, and making a big to-do and song and dance about this ever since the moment that we first had an interaction in August, right?
Yeah.
So,
and they were all true. Every single one of those was an indication that you could have picked up on. If you see enough little indicators, they should start adding up, additively, hence adding up. And you should take notice and do something about it and not just completely ignore it. Kind of like, boiling the frog or whatever they say. If you put a frog in boiling water, he jumps out. But if you slowly turn the heat up, he remains in the pot of water until he's boiled alive. That's DSP in this situation, right? People told him numerous times, hey, the heat is increasing. The water is getting hot. The bubbles are starting to form, DSP. And at every point he said, nah, you guys, the stove's not even on. He's just pretending that it's getting warm so that I have a chance to react as though it was, right? And then it was boiling the whole time. LOL. Joda with the 2 saying August showed that his content is mostly dead air. I have to watch both of the August the Duck videos today and then the Kino segment after the stream from last night. So I've got my work cut out for me. But I will be watching all of it. Thank you, Joda, for the 2 and the information.
Well, I think in reality, if you want to know the truth, what the fuck? What is wrong with my stupid thing? I think that. Here we go. I think that if certain things had aligned, okay, if that momentum that we had in August, okay, if that momentum we had in August had continued, no, PPP is not posting. I'm trying to get a USD converter for another super chat. So if what was going on in August had continued, if they hadn't gone on a vacation in September,
okay,
right, I think that momentum would have continued.
Oh my God.
That's just bad timing. They already were going on a vacation, and there's nothing you can really do about that. No one knew all this was going to come together out of nowhere and was going to happen.
So this guy is genuinely blaming his failed resurgence on the fact that another content creating channel went on vacation and didn't post content. What the fuck, brother? Actually blaming his own inability to make entertaining content on the fact that other people, almost completely unrelated to him, aren't making content is got to be cope of the year.
If
that's insane.
That idea that we had, that Kino Casino would be the neutral ground for me to go up against my opposition like I did with Josh Moon, okay? If that had happened, right? And we had just shows with other people, just think about it.
Yeah, they let him fail, essentially.
Who else could we have gotten on there, right? These people who've been my critics for the biggest time. I'm sure you guys will come up with some names right now. If we could have had those shows, I think that it would have been great, but it didn't happen. And there's nothing we could do. The offers.
There's nothing
we
could do.
The olive branches were extended.
Nothing we could do.
And it didn't happen. So you get to a point where it's like, well, what else can we do? We've done this, we've done that. We'll try some other stuff, and then it all just kind of dies out. So I think eventually it was gonna peter out. All right. What else are you gonna do? It's just the way that things go. You know.
That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same.
Well, here we go. Here come the Kino Casino trolls. Apparently now, the Kino Casino trolls are now going to become my best friends.
We've got Piano-ish in chat saying Triple P never liked you, and he's been blowing smoke up, or he's been blowing smoke. Yep. No, it's gone now.
He gets super sensitive when anyone brings her up, but you know he wants to use everyone else's family.
Oh no.
How the Kino Casino trolls are now going to become my best friends. Bizarrely, how this works. Kino-gotiate has done a $5 super chat and says the following. PPP has a secret girlfriend. He really gets super sensitive when anyone brings her up. But, you know, he wants to use everyone else's family for content. So you guys are something else, man. You guys are absolutely something else.
That's not a troll comment, though, right? That's him being genuine, saying that PPP's a shitter. He likes to bring up other people, but he's sensitive about his own. He's a hypocrite. That's actually them telling the truth and siding with DSP. But he's misconstrued it in his own brain to be a troll. LOL. What an idiot. Jordan with the 2 saying, hey, it's this guy. It is this guy. I don't know if you're talking about me or him, but both. Hell yeah, it's the guy. Big ups, Jordan, for the 2, of course.
I totally believe you, and I totally care. Like, this is just totally a big topic to talk about that's important, that we all must discuss in great detail moving forward. I really...
Oh, he meant the troll of Kino? I'm unsure now. Right? He didn't specify, really.
Anyway, Average Hyena Enjoyer did a $35 Canadian super chat, which is why I had to pull out this converter. That's the equivalent of $24.26 USD, which is the biggest super chat of the day. So...
All right.
That's not 35, it's 24. Okay.
Okay. It's kind of irrelevant because Triple P never brings up his girl while Phil won't shut up about his wife. It's true. PPP, and as far as I know, hasn't brought his girl on stream. Not from what I've seen on the Kino Casino, But DSP has brought Cat on.
For your blue Kool-Aid slurp juice fund. Great.
All right. Shout out Slurp
Okay,
Juice. We're drinking that muddy
more tip
Slurp
came in, it
juice
was
for sure,
$4
for
and
sure.
20 cents.
You guys sipping Ack or Walk? You let me know.
DSP defends his wife and
I'm not
refuses to work
touching
with the person
Tris.
insulting his wife. Here's the detractor videos that will undoubtedly come right after. DSP burns bridge with casino for no reason. PPP, the new John Rambo. Real ones know what's up. Godspeed, brother. I'm rooting for you. There you go.
And I want to say that Brand Dude actually picked the title that DSP broke up with PPP for no reason or whatever. So big ups Brand Dude. I always think it's a funny bit when people actually take the names of like fake detractor titles. What secret animals do I think Phil is keeping? I didn't know he was keeping secret animals until I started the stream this morning. So I don't know. I'm going to need more time to think on it, I guess.
Well, there you have it. Sadly, today we didn't get to talk about anything. I finished my Lego succulent plants last night, and I'd like to begin the discussion about what the next Lego set will be.
I'd like to begin the discussion. It's not even actually like coming to a conclusion and figuring out what we're gonna fucking do for the next reward. We're gonna start the discussion, and that we did. We spent so much fucking time yesterday looking at goddamn Legos on Amazon. Oh my god, what a shit show!
But now we don't have time for it. We actually did the DSP tries it of Girl Scout cookies last night, and now we got to start talking about what the next, reward will be. Is there a new food out, a new thing you guys would like to see me do? But now we don't have time to talk about it because I had to waste this show. You see, to me, this is a waste. I wasted a show, but I had to do it.
He didn't have to do it.
Right?
This really could have been as simple as, hey, tonight's Smart Guys is going to be a solo stream. All right, now today we're going to be talking about Legos. And then when people were asking in chat, he could have just banned them and said, I don't want to talk about that, idiots. And that would have been that. But instead, he decided, as his own boss, as the person who decides his own content on his own streams, he decided to talk about this. Don't let him cry victim and pretend like he didn't want to. He's making hella money off of it right now. You can see it adding up. And you'll notice that they're all talking about this subject specifically. And I doubt that they would have tipped if it were any other topic.
I had to do it because if I don't, then endless drama, endless nonsense. And the thing is, I don't care. I do not care what people say. What people do here, it will not affect me. I'm just going to move forward the same way that I have done the last 15 years, making my content, paying no attention to all the nonsense on the outside. All right?
All right.
Can I make bank off the drama? I haven't even hit my goal. There have been podcasts in the last couple of weeks where I hit my goal before the podcast ended, and it had no drama whatsoever. I didn't even hit my goal. No, I don't benefit from this. That's what I keep telling PPP. I literally don't benefit from this drama. I don't, because my viewers are not drama viewers. The casino viewers are drama viewers, and if the casino viewers happen to come over here and get a whiff of drama, that's a little different. But that's not the case. The regulars who are coming by don't want this. Outright told me back in the fall. Right? Stop.
Okay.
We don't want the daily drama. We don't enjoy it. It's not what we want. We want the old Phil back. We want gameplay. We want chill vibes. We want all the interaction. We want it back. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, I have been successful this year doing that content. Not doing the drama
was
content.
he?
I've been successful doing.
Has he been successful doing non-drama content? I guess in the form of hitting the goals and felting the trolls by eating food, but I don't know that that's necessarily a success. He definitely wasn't going to be buying a new washing machine and dryer and 2 new PCs if the Kino Casino didn't stop by and inject drama content into his bank account the way that they did. No way in fuck. Guy would have continued to have been telling us regularly on his streams about his unbalanced load that he can't seem to figure out because he doesn't know how to run a washing machine. That would have still been the case. But sure. Duke Allister with the 5 saying, if your viewers aren't drama viewers, why are they only asking about drama, Mr. Burnell? You might also notice, if they weren't drama viewers, you might also be wondering why he has 424 viewers on this pre-stream, but on pretty much every other pre-stream, it's sub 300. Why is there a sudden influx in viewership if drama doesn't sell over here? That's a weird question.
That people enjoy. Not every kind of content is for everyone. You understand? Some people don't get that, though. So I got, hold on, 2 more super chats. Kev did another $5 super chat. I'm not trying to troll. I thought you did a house tour. You showed a frame pic of you and CM Punk. I have never met CM Punk. I have literally never met CM Punk. Where did you get this misconception of? Right?
I don't
No.
know. What?
Absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about. I did have ages ago, over a decade ago, when CM Punk was during his streak, if you remember, and he had just ended, like the streak had just ended. He had lost his title.
No,
sold a
wait,
commemorative
CM Punk
plaque.
lost the streak too? Huh? Dude, I bet he also hates fucking Wukong for that. That's bullshit. I can't believe CM Punk lost the streak. They really are like kindred spirits, dude. What is CM Punk gonna do now that he can't wear the vest every day in a row? It's bullshit.
Of celebrating his streak as the WWE champion, which at the time was one of the longest in history. Of course, in recent WWE, you had Roman Reigns, who had the title for like 2 years, so just erase that. It doesn't really matter anymore. But I bought a commemorative plaque of that like 12, 13 years ago. Yeah, I haven't had that in ages. That's been gone for a long time.
It's been gone.
So
I've been got rid of that shit. I don't care about
me
it.
and CM Punk. I don't know what you mean. There's no picture of me and CM Punk anywhere because I've never met him.
Oh, before I forget it again, in regards to the Lego stream, I did want to point out that after sitting through the Amazon, Lego browsing segment, he is looking at like fucking like a Marvel Venom mask at one point. I think it was Jade's idea. Surprise, surprise. And he was talking about how it's super robust and meaningful now because the Legos can go into the background when he finishes them and become a part of the set. But if he gets like Marvel superheroes or whatever, is he not essentially just like putting the busts back in the background in the most roundabout way possible by spending even more money? I mean, he got rid of all of those he hauled those statues all the way across the fucking country, held on to them for ages, probably took a huge financial loss on them, only to then continue to buy shitty fucking Marvel superheroes nonsense to put it in his background. It just seems like a huge waste of fucking money. And again, the most roundabout way to do something he could have done fucking 10 years ago that he already had bought the fucking figures for.
My face is kind of red. It's because of the lighting. Different lighting makes my face look different with the exposure of the camera. Other lighting makes my face look pale. It just depends on the lighting for the day. Average Hyena Enjoyer did a $5 Canadian super chat. That's another $3. So is that a note to the DSP tries it slurp juice? You'll get 50 shields. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Thanks for the super chat. Bloom Kit with a $5 super chat. If you don't hash it out, never bring it up again. It's not a good look to talk about PPP, but not talk it out together.
It's true. It's true.
I'm gonna make this clear. All right.
Bloom Kit being
behind the
base.
scenes, I talked to PPP and said,
except for sending money,
you gotta
of
stop
course.
insulting my wife because if you keep doing it, I can't work with you anymore. All right. He literally ignored that behind the scenes message and instead posted on Twitter all day. Now he wants to come on my show to hash it out. Do you see a pattern here? You see, he just wants to make content. I don't want to make drama content. So I'm not going to buy into that. Or I'm not going to make drama at all. Okay.
This is drama, though. It's just the least entertaining form of it. All right. Okay. All right. Do we even have anything else here? I think there's like 2 minutes left in this clip. I hope he starts talking.
Right. Schedule. Suikoden 1.
Oh, yeah. No, we're done here. We're done here. I'm not talking about the fucking schedule. All right. I think I have one more screenshot from PPP to round this off. I will pull that up for you right now because I know you're all dying to see more tweets. You love the tweet segments. So here is PPP later on in the night. This is after, I believe, this pre-stream is all said and done. PPP says, also, I just want to make it clear, Phil is not a victim and never has been. He makes himself the victim and plays the victim desperately, but his decisions are his own. He chooses to make himself out to be a victim because it's easier than taking accountability. It's never his fault. And I don't know that there's a better way to say it. That really is what the case is. That's what it was the entire time. So DSP is left boyfriendless and potentially going to be left wifeless after he's fattened her up so much that she's now got health problems. I think that's got to be it for today. I'm going to send you somewhere positive, I'm sure. If anybody is interested in seeing the August the Duck videos, I would go and check those out, as I'm not going to show them here. If anybody wants to see the Truth Seekers segment that PPP did, or wants to see any of the casino stuff from last night, please go check out Snort Hogan's got hour-long clips of all of those, I believe, so you can get the full context and see everything that they had to say. I'd recommend going to watch those. But I want to bid you all adieu, and thank you once again for stopping by. And I believe what TBS is on right now. I would imagine most people want to go there. So I think that's well, I gotta make sure. I don't want to speak too confidently. We're still pre-streaming right now, so I'm gonna send you all over to the pre-stream for TBS. Once again, thank you all so much. Hopefully I got a video done and you could expect that at some point, but I'm not sure as of right now. Big ups. Stay safe. Bye.